Chapter 651. On the second floor of the dilapidated wizard tower, Levi held the wizard notes. Don't walk into a nightmare ignorantly. He muttered the warning to himself. The experiment log detailed a group of wizards from the Dreamland steeple. They had moved from the initial joy of discovering a new world to the process of unknowingly stepping into an abyss of despair, where they were unable to extricate themselves. The nightmare world. Was it another unknown and terrifying realm? Levi realized there were too many unknown dangers in the boundless universe. Just like the dark forest, rash contact might not be a good thing. The power of the wizard civilization made the wizards of the School of Dreams lower their guard. In the end, it led to such a tragedy. The entire Dreamland steeple, everyone who had entered the nightmare world, disappeared from the wizard world. They might be dead, or they might be struggling to survive in the nightmare world. However, one could imagine how dangerous it was to enter a world on the same level as the astral world and the underworld without any preparations. Compared to other prime material worlds, the underworld and the astral world were somewhat special. From the looks of it, this nightmare world might be the same. Levi remembered the ashen world he had entered. Those strange creatures in the ashen world were a little like the nightmare creatures in the wizard's research journals. Most of the transcendent creatures in the wizard world generally matched the imagination and understanding of conventional creatures. Whether it was Deathfall or nightmare creatures, their appearance and temperament were random and strange. The 100-legged giant centipede had hundreds of limbs on both sides of its body. The long-haired turtle had its turtle shell covered with female long hair, and the human-faced frog possessed a talking face on its back. That is weird. Why not do something better instead of studying these things all day long? Levi sighed. The Dreamland Steeple was once an 8th-circle wizard organization. It should be considered a giant in the endless sea. Such an organization was gone just like that. Of course, this spirit of exploration and seeking knowledge was not wrong. Without such a pioneer, the wizard world would have grown very little. Levi recorded the contents of the letter into his memory slate. This was precious knowledge that these wizards had exchanged for with their lives. It might come in handy at some point. As for the strange nightmare creatures in the laboratory, he did not take them away. He climbed to the 3rd floor of the wizard tower. This was the wizard's study. No matter what, it is all knowledge. I will take it all away. Levi left the wizard tower. No valuable wizard tools remained inside. They might have disappeared together with their master. From the clues Levi had gathered, the Dreamland steeple had 3 8th-circle wizards at its peak. In the entire endless sea, and even the other realm of the unbelievers, there were a total of more than 50 branches. Every branch had at least one intermediate wizard. These branches were often hidden in the bottomless abysses of the underground and the seabed, as if they did not want to be discovered by the world. Under the leadership of intermediate wizards, all wizards and apprentice wizards devoted their entire lives to studying dreams and newly discovered nightmare worlds. This organization was once the leader of the School of Dreams. After the Dreamland steeple disappeared without a trace, the School of Dreams never rose again. Now, it might have become a rare existence in the wizard world like the School of Insects. There were dozens of wizard towers in the entire underwater relic. Levi visited them carefully one by one. In the end, he obtained some ether stones that were better than nothing, as well as some spellbooks from the School of Dreams. Levi chose some spells that were useful to him, and planned to learn them in the future. Among them, Levi was very interested in the second ring spell, Infiltrate the Dream with the Wind. Through casting spells, he entered the target's dream with a trace of spiritual force. In its deep subconscious, it dug out some memories and thoughts from the target's dream. The School of Dreams called it the Dream Relic. Of course, these dream relics might be useful or useless. They needed to be screened. Moreover, this spell could only be cast on people whose spiritual force was far lower than his own. Otherwise, it would backfire on him. In addition, wizards could also hypnotize their targets by infiltrating dreams with the wind and implanting some psychological suggestions. This could indirectly achieve the goal of taming or purging. Levi smiled. This was interesting. Levi put away the spellbook as a backup. In addition to these spellbooks, Levi also found a map. He spread out the map, which was also a sea map. It was exactly the same as the sea map he had once obtained. There were also words on it. Right at Mirror Lake. Lost Pan's Labyrinth. Levi found many research notes in the wizard tower. Through the knowledge in the notes, he learned that Pan was a powerful existence captured by the daydream wizard of the School of Dreams in the research of the nightmare world. It seemed to be an aboriginal god from a region of the nightmare world. Of course, the gods here only referred to things like belief in totems. It could not be compared to existences like the 7 orthodox gods. Therefore, the wizards called him God Pan. He also used God Pan's Lost Cave as the code name of the Dreamland Steeple. God Pan was suppressed in the headquarters of the Dreamland Steeple. He was firmly sealed with an array and a wizard tool. Chapter 652. The wizards at the headquarters discovered that the hallucinatory potion developed from God Pan's blood was especially effective. When wizards entered the nightmare world, the process differed from when Levi entered the ashen world. Levi entered with his true form. 2 ways existed for wizards to enter the nightmare world. The first involved entering with a true form, which was the method used at the strange dimensional rift where they discovered the nightmare creatures at the beginning. However, the mortality rate of entering the nightmare world this way proved too high. If a true form died, the wizard died completely. Up until now, none of the true forms that entered the nightmare world had returned. When the wizards of the Dreamland Steeple discovered the second path, they sealed the dimensional rift to prevent powerful nightmare creatures from appearing in the real world and causing trouble. The second path involved a creation of the Dreamland Steeple Wizards. With the help of the hallucinatory potion and arrays, a wizard could create a nightmare avatar in the nightmare world. They would wake up somewhere in the nightmare world and explore the surrounding area. The initial strength of this nightmare avatar varied. Generally, the stronger the spiritual power of a wizard, the higher the level of the blood of the nightmare creature used, and the stronger the nightmare avatar became. This allowed them to explore further into the nightmare world. If the avatar died in the nightmare world, the wizard only lost a little spiritual force. The wizard survived in the real world. The resources found in the nightmare world, and even the dream creatures, could be brought back to the real world through the nightmare altar in the dreamscape. Therefore, after the wizards of the Dreamland Steeple captured God Pan and successfully experimented, they popularized the God Pan potion among all the members of the organization. This allowed all members of the Dreamland Steeple to explore the unknown world in their best state and peak strength to find more wealth and resources. Behind this vigorous nightmare exploration journey lay a hidden danger. In the end, the leader of the Dreamland Steeple, the Daydream Wizard, discovered that his true form had also disappeared from the real world. The warning he left behind suggested he had gone to the nightmare world. His life and death remained unknown. However, it was already too late. Almost all the members of the Dreamland Steeple, from wizards to apprentices, had already taken the God Pan potion and entered the nightmare world. Not long after, these members disappeared from the wizard world, no matter where they were located. "That is horrible," Levi whispered. Fortunately, he had not explored it rashly back then. The ancient wizard relic he went to previously was the headquarters of the Dreamland Steeple. A nightmare monster, comparable to a high-level primordial soul wizard, sat sealed inside. He needed to hurry up and find the Lake Naga. He had to leave. Entering the nightmare world for no reason held no appeal for him. Levi quickly got down to business. Although spider sensing provided no dangerous hints, this place remained strange. His intuition state swept across the wizard relic. In the end, he caught the aura of a living creature in a cave at the edge of the relic. It stood at almost the level of a second circle creature. It sensed the arrival of a powerful enemy. When Levi arrived at the cave, a mermaid creature, resembling a human, but covered in black scales, looked at him uneasily. It bared its teeth at Levi, looking very fierce. Behind it sat a smaller species. It is indeed the Lake Naga. To be precise, it is the Black Naga branch of the Lake Nagas. After adulthood, it possesses the strength of a second circle, making it slightly stronger than the Grey Naga. The so-called singing of the Banshee of the lake was just the sound made by the Lake Naga when they courted a mate. Lake Nagas reproduced alone and only had females. However, during the mating period, 2 female Lake Nagas would fight to the death. The winner would retain her female identity, while the loser turned into a male. After the mating period, the male would become female. Therefore, the legends only contained the title of Banshee of the Lake, but no male demon existed in the lake. In front of the terrifying Levi, the Black Naga mother felt fear, yet she still tried her best to block the Black Naga baby. The ugly and adorable Black Naga baby hid behind its mother and shivered. "Forget it. I will not kill you this time. Not only will I not kill you, but I can also give you and your daughter a safer living environment. It seems that your partner has left you. Raising your descendants alone is not easy, is it?" Levi spoke gently. Ever since he obtained Alice's ring, the first thing Levi considered was not killing the goose that lays the golden eggs after discovering transcendent creatures. He wanted to build a perfect small ecosystem in Alice's ring. This aligned with the green concept of sustainable development. Ultimately, Levi still wanted to farm. The Black Naga's intelligence far exceeded that of the Grey Naga. Through nature's heart, Levi sensed the Naga mother's mental state fluctuating. In the end, under Levi's tyranny, the Black Naga lowered its head. Beside Levi stood the mountain giant and the insufferably arrogant mechanical monster. Either one could crush the creature. The Black Naga entered Alice's ring and went to accompany Leviathan and the others. Chapter 653. Levi let his spiritual power wash over the space. He noted the group of transcendent creatures surrounding the Black Naga mother and daughter again. Their expressions seemed to ask, "You came in too." Levi projected his voice into the space. "Gustav, you are in charge of protecting the mother and child from now on. The rest of you, behave yourselves." Levi planned to wait until he had mastered the dream entry spell. He wanted to see if he could enter the Black Naga's dream, and planned a psychological hint to force it to submit completely. Success would make taming low-level transcendent creatures easier in the future. The Scarlet contract slots remained precious. Levi planned to save them for transcendent creatures above the third circle. With the Black Naga secured, Levi left the lost relic buried deep in the trench. Holy Brilliance calendar year 1061, month of harvest. Mist City by Mirror Lake. A blacksmith shop quietly opened. Inside, a half-naked, white-haired old man with a ruddy face tended the forge. He drank beer while working in the firelight. Clinks and clanks echoed from outside the city. Across the way, the tavern hummed with life. The sounds of drinking and rock-paper-scissors games drifted through the air. "Grandpa Keg, are you 71 years old?" Leah stood beside the forge, her face flushed from the firelight. Levi, playing the role of Gerald, exhaled. "Of course I am. Then why are you still so healthy? Are you really a wizard?" Leah asked. Levi took a sip of wine. Hee, as long as you run 10 laps around Mist City and do 1,000 push-ups like me every day, you can do the same. Levi had cultivated alone for too long. He had not spoken to normal people in an age. Every day, he accompanied either the fur clans or various transcendent creatures. After obtaining the Lake Naga, Levi did not immediately leave Mirror Lake. Perhaps it was because of the relic under Mirror Lake, but the ether energy here was poor. Not a single wizard organization existed within a radius of 10,000 miles. Because of this, the area remained free from the disputes of the dark and righteous wizards. It was very peaceful. Here, Levi lived a rare life of inner peace. In addition to cultivating, Levi began to give himself some time to experience the various aspects of life. He always felt that he should do something to further integrate into the lives of mortals. He thought of his old profession in the human world, smithing. Levi was a blacksmith master. His level 5 maximum blacksmithing skill had been gathering dust for a long time. He looked the part of a professional. If Mist City was the novice village in the game, Levi was the blacksmith NPC in that village. Weapons lined his shelves, including sabers, spears, swords, halberds, and everything else. Many of the designs reflected the weapons in his memories of Waxia. In this world, they were all special weapons. The White Wolf Blacksmith Shop is officially open for business. Farming tools, weapons, you name it. Levi called out with a bright smile as he patted Leah's head. From time to time, mortals came to look at the goods. Levi's prices were low. He did not lack money. This was purely for the sake of cultivating his emotions. Hence, the goods sold well throughout the morning. Business is good, old keg. The lady boss sashayed over to call Leah to lunch. I have to earn some money. Otherwise, I will not be able to afford your wine. The lady boss's name was Saria. Her husband had died shortly after Leah was born. It had not been easy for her to run the bistro on her own and raise her daughter. Originally, the lady boss thought that if Levi were a wizard, she would try her best to make Leah an apprentice wizard. Unexpectedly, Levi was just an ordinary person, albeit a little stronger than others. The problem was that no matter how strong an ordinary person was, it was useless in front of a wizard lord. It did not matter if one could lift a cow or kill it with a fireball technique. Therefore, the lady boss could not count on this anymore. She only hoped that she could live a peaceful life with her daughter by Mirror Lake. She did not know that Mirror Lake was considered a rare paradise in the chaotic wizard world. I made a little too much for lunch. Do you want to eat? The lady boss looked at Old Keg, who was busy smithying. Judging from Old Keg's boasting in the tavern, he was probably an old bachelor without a wife. Therefore, the kind lady boss invited Levi to have a meal together. Although he seemed to be in good health, he was still an old man at the end of his life. Perhaps one day, he would close his eyes and sleep forever. There is no need. I have a big appetite. That pot of yours is not even enough for me. Levi waved his hand and let the lady boss take Leah away. He tidied up the blacksmith shop and returned to his residence. He opened the proficiency panel. Levi. Forging, level 5, maximum, can be fused, special effect, fine craftsmanship, wind axe. Alchemy, level 5, 13,124/30,000, can be fused. I did not expect this forging to have a chance to fuse. This was something Levi had only discovered this morning after performing his blacksmithing work. Perhaps it was because his current forging skills were superior to before, causing his forging skills to change. Chapter 654. Fuse. Levi felt his heart skip a beat. The forging and alchemy skills on the proficiency panel disappeared. In their place sat a brand new skill. Levi, weapon refinement, level 5, 13,124 out of 30,000, weapon heart. Weapon heart, you have a unique talent in alchemy, forging, weapon making, and other weapon refinement paths. Weapon refinement. Levi felt a flicker of surprise. He had indeed obtained the Book of Starforge Runes before. It was a book regarding weapon making. However, he had only learned the rune language. He had not learned the orthodox way of weapon making. Unexpectedly, in this mortal city, he fused the forging and alchemy skills he had obtained in the human world into a single weapon refinement skill. Weapon refinement encompassed everything, including alchemy, forging, and weapon making. To put it bluntly, alchemy is a variant of weapon making. Forging is also a prerequisite for alchemy and weapon making. I now have such a rich knowledge of forging, alchemy, and even more difficult refinement arrays. It is normal for me to learn weapon making by analogy. The combination of alchemy and forging was a pleasant surprise. There are many functions on the interface. I still need to develop them. Levi sighed. He finished another round of meditation. A slight increase in his spiritual power greeted him. Spiritual force, 92. Spell power, 2,730. I am getting closer and closer. I am still 8 points away. I should be able to reach 100 points before I turn 75. In the future, I might need to find a safe place and enter a relatively long seclusion. I will strive to successfully gasify my spiritual force in one go. After this period of mortalization, the mental strength in his mind felt much calmer than before. He had a feeling that with the earth and fire gasification technique, and the Lake Fairy Potion, he should be able to step into the third circle steadily. But there is a problem. The Lake Fairy Potion is a third circle potion. I am only a second circle pharmacist now. My spiritual force cannot refine a third circle potion. No solution exists. Levi pondered the dilemma. Most pharmacists should first buy potions to let their wizard cultivation break through to the third circle pharmacist realm before refining the third circle potion. Someone like me who wants to refine a third circle potion with a second circle cultivation is probably dreaming. If it really does not work, I will have to look for the lush forest witch or Huffman. I know 2 third circle pharmacists who are relatively trustworthy and have a good relationship with me. Levi calmed down and continued to cultivate. Time flew by like a white steed. Holy Brilliance calendar year 1062, month of vitality. The 26th year of the Great Expedition. Levi had completely integrated into the life of Mist City. A little girl, Leah, the lady boss's daughter, was always by his side. Gradually, Old Keg's forging skills became well known in Mist City. Levi continued to live a simple and boring life. With little Leah by his side, his boring routine gained some interest. On this day, another wizard passed by in the sky. The residents of Mist City looked at the wizards flying away with envy and longing. Grandpa Keg, why can wizards fly? They do not have wings either. Levi looked calmly at the wizards who were passing by. Not long after, another wizard flew over. It seemed as if he was chasing after the first one. Shortly after, the sound of battle echoed in the distance. When will it stop? Levi thought of Riptide City. A long time had passed since he had contacted Huffman. He did not dare to go to Riptide City to check on the situation there, nor did he know how Huffman and Grimm were doing. He wondered how Miss Marlene and the others were doing in the Giant Tree Secret Realm. Had the Dusk Holy Temple in the human world developed? How were the Tower Master Herman and his lover far away? After mortalization, Levi sometimes thought of these fleeting travelers in his life. He would not forget these people who had helped him before. 93 points of spiritual force. Keep up the good work. Levi put away the crystal ball. Leah, come back for dinner. Old Keg is taking a nap. The tavern lady boss called out to Leah, who was currently pestering Levi for a legendary story. I am leaving, Grandpa Keg. I will look for you when you wake up. Leah waved and turned to leave. Once upon a time, I could not get used to other children calling me uncle. Now I am a grandfather. Alas, the journey of a wizard is really numbing. Levi returned to his home in the small city. A figure landed on Mirror Lake outside Mist City. It was a witch in a green robe. Her face was pale, as if she had just experienced a fierce battle. As she moved forward, her face shifted until she finally turned into a witch, who looked like a peasant woman. I have finally shaken off that damned dark wizard. I will find a place to live in seclusion for a while. I will leave after I recover from my injuries. The elemental power in this place is thin, and wizards rarely come here. It is the most suitable place. Coupled with my secret technique, it should be very difficult for my enemies to discover me after I change my appearance. The witch's name was Melina. She came to the realm of Azure Cloud from the distant realm of all things. Chapter 655. The realm of all things functioned as a small realm of the unbelievers. The spiritualism steeple dominated the landscape. It housed wizards from the school of spiritualism. The realm of all things remained too small. It proved difficult to find transcendent creatures suitable for contracting as spiritual beasts. Melina served as a third circle wizard of the spiritualism steeple. Water and wind affinity coursed through her. After advancing to the first circle, she contracted a descendant of a 6-winged sea dragon. A fifth circle wizard, her father, gifted it to her. Now, her spiritual beast reached a bottleneck, equivalent to a third circle transcendent creature. Her strength stuck fast at the third circle, unable to advance. This drawback plagued the school of spiritualism. Advancing to a third circle wizard usually brought pride, provided one avoided unnecessary trouble. Melina remained dissatisfied. Her father served as a fifth circle wizard and a teacher in the Tower of Spiritualism. He contracted a fifth circle creature named the Flame Dragon Centipede. She wanted to follow in his footsteps. When her father selected the 6-winged sea dragon for Melina, he exercised great care. As a mixed blood dragon, the creature possessed potential exceeding the third circle. During his travels in the realm of Azure Cloud, he had witnessed its advanced form, the fifth circle transcendent creature, the 10-winged sky sea dragon king. That creature stood at the peak of mixed blood dragons. Her father, only a fourth circle wizard at the time, kept his distance. The sight left a deep impression on him. To help her spiritual beast advance, Melina traveled to the Endless Sea. Shortly after their arrival, war broke out between the dark and righteous wizards. She remained in the Endless Sea. With her strength, she felt no concern. She turned her mind toward finding clues about the Dragon King in the Endless Sea. Once she located the Dragon King, she would attempt to obtain a drop of its origin blood. She could refine the Ascension Potion to shatter the bloodline shackles and unlock potential for evolution. Before she could succeed, dark wizards hunting in the Endless Sea targeted her. A third circle senior wizard from the Ocean School of Thought led them. He headed the third circle dark wizard organization, Blackwater Tower. He cultivated a special poison spell and mastered the venom body. The battle resulted in her spiritual beast suffering from poison. Its strength plummeted, necessitating urgent recuperation. Her own strength relied on the spiritual beast, so she fled constantly. She finally shook off the pursuers after a series of struggles. Hiding in a mortal town offered a chance for seclusion. She would heal her spiritual beast there. The small city ahead looked suitable. She disguised herself as an ordinary peasant woman and blended into the crowd. 2 wizards hid in the quiet little city. Levi worked day after day in the blacksmith shop. He experienced a different state of mind in the mortal world. Melina stayed in a mansion at the end of Levi's street. That night, Levi cultivated. His ears twitched. Water splashed in Mirror Lake. The sound originated far from Mist City. Without his intuition, he would have missed it. Perhaps some changes occurred to the wizard relic. Levi thought of the wizard relic under Mirror Lake. He determined to investigate. If Mirror Lake suffered any disturbance, he would leave Mist City. Before leaving, He intended to ask the lady boss about Leah's potential to become a wizard. If she agreed, he would send her and the lady boss to the giant tree secret realm. Leah possessed talent and a good personality. Marlene would likely take a liking to the little girl. Marlene remained a second circle wizard, and advancing to a third circle wizard proved difficult. Her lifespan spanned less than 100 years. 100 years felt neither long nor short for wizards. Without other opportunities, he should find an apprentice for his teacher to provide companionship. Levi reached the surface of the lake quickly. The source of the sound was not the relic. A huge sea snake with 3 pairs of wings played with the water in the lake. Levi possessed expertise in transcendent creatures. He identified the creature immediately as a 6-winged sea dragon, a third circle mixed blood dragon clan member. The 6-winged sea dragon bore various scars and abscesses. It suffered from poison. How could a third circle transcendent creature exist in Mirror Lake? Perhaps it hid in the bottomless abyss. Levi searched his surroundings with intuition. No one else remained. Since I discovered you, consider yourself lucky. Submit to me, and I can heal you. Levi spoke to the 6-winged sea dragon. This third circle dragon clan member would enrich his extraordinary bloodline library. The 6-winged sea dragon across the water looked at Levi with suspicion. Upon hearing Levi's demand, it spat out a violent water pillar to attack. Layers of defensive spells activated around Levi, extinguishing the attack of the third circle transcendent creature, without needing his golden snake scales. Chapter 656. Levi watched the injured beast fail to break through his defense. He spoke calmly. You do not want to submit, but you insist on attacking. You struck first. I am merely defending myself. Raja, Bogang, Tyrant. His 3 combatants materialized behind him. Raja hovered in the sky, wrapped in the power of wind and lightning. He looked down at the 6-winged sea dragon with disdain. He opened his mouth, and a ball of lightning shot out. It illuminated the lake and bombarded the dragon. The beast roared in pain. Bogang, the mountain giant, unleashed a roar and cast a third circle spell at the dragon. The 6-winged sea dragon found itself surrounded and overwhelmed. Levi remained seated, observing the assault. A sudden chill prickled his skin. Spider sensing flared. A dull thud echoed. Levi vanished in a burst of motion. He dissipated into a thick mist of blood that hung over the lake. A spell tore through the fog, dispersing it slightly, before the blood mist condensed back into his human form. Levi stood with a pale face. He turned to face the figure that had materialized behind him. An angry witch glared at him. Her eyes promised 10,000 deaths. Why did you hurt it? She asked coldly. Is this your pet? Levi asked. His aura swelled. That is right, she replied, flashing her membership card. Melina, third circle wizard of the spiritualism steeple. I apologize. This is a misunderstanding. I believed the beast was unowned. Levi scanned the card. Understanding dawned. The 6-winged sea dragon was not a stray. It belonged to someone. The issue was that he had no way of knowing. He had scanned the area with his perception before acting. No wizards had registered. Come here, Levi commanded. Raja and the others ceased their 3-on-1 assault and retreated behind him. Levi held out his own membership card to prove his status. The witch studied it. Knowing she could not defeat him, she suppressed her fury. Forget it, she muttered. She flew silently to the side of the injured dragon and applied medicine. She looked worried and remained silent. The atmosphere grew awkward. I have some healing potions, Levi offered. No need. Levi shrugged. He watched Melina as she worked. She hailed from a high-level wizard organization. He worried she might hold a grudge and seek revenge through her order. He considered his position. Was it safer to silence her? If she were a dark wizard, he would not hesitate. However, she was a law-abiding citizen. He could not bring himself to act. Besides, he likely could not counter the tracking methods of such a powerful organization. He could easily invite disaster. Levi considered his options. She hailed from the spiritualism steeple. She must possess a potion formula capable of helping Leviathan break its bloodline shackles. This was an opportunity. Meeting someone from the spiritualism steeple was rare. He had to seize the moment. After a long silence, Levi spoke. Ordinary potions cannot neutralize the poison in this sea dragon. If you trust me, I have a method to remove it. You wanted to capture my spiritual beast from the start. How could I dare to trust you? Melina asked while holding her breath. This is a misunderstanding. I am a transcendent creature biologist. When I encounter new species, I cannot help but want to study them. Melina remained silent. Levi wanted the potion formula, so he did not leave. He stood quietly in the distance, keeping watch. Why have you not left yet? Melina asked after a while, having recovered some composure. I am waiting for you to let me heal it. Dream on. Levi studied the beast. The poison was deep and complex. He knew that without a specialized pharmacist to analyze the venom composition and synthesize an antidote, ordinary medicine would fail. He was an expert in poisons and a poison man himself. He welcomed the chance to consume more toxins to strengthen his scarlet poison body. He had authority in this matter. He knew Melina would eventually beg him. The next morning, the sky brightened. Melina was sweating profusely as she watched the 6-winged sea dragon grow weaker. This was her spiritual beast, her companion since she was young. She looked at Levi, who had remained sitting cross-legged all night to protect her. Her expression wavered, and her heart struggled. In the end, she spoke reluctantly. You can try. Levi opened his eyes. Because this treatment carries risks for me, I need to sign an agreement to ensure we do not harm each other. In addition, I am interested in the formula for the medicine that the School of Spiritualism uses to break through the bloodline shackles of spiritual beasts, Levi stated directly. Melina's chest rose and fell. Fury radiated from her. In the end, she relented. Sure, if you had not hurt it and forced it to fight, its poison would not have spread so quickly. It was the one who attacked me first. After the exchange, Levi tossed the contract slate over. Melina read it. Other than the terms he had just mentioned, Levi included no other excessive demands. She signed it. After the contract took effect, Levi asked Bogang and Raja to protect him from any sneak attacks. He turned into a ball of blood fog and entered the body of the six-winged sea dragon. This, Melina gasped. She had not expected Levi to heal in such a manner. Half a day later, a scarlet mist, red with a hint of black, emerged from the body of the dragon. It gathered on the surface of the lake and formed Levi's figure. In his palm rested a squirming, twisting mass of pitch-black liquid. This is the first time I have encountered such poison. I have completely expelled the toxin from your spiritual beast's body at the source. You only need to treat its physical injuries now. Levi produced a container and secured the squirming black liquid. He planned to study it slowly. In the future, he would craft it into a secret medicine to increase the power of his poison body. Melina, who shared a life bond with her spiritual beast, blushed slightly. She felt the poison vanish. Now bring me the formula, Levi said shamelessly. He always felt that he had taken advantage of others, but he knew that if he did not, he would not be Levi. Chapter 657. Melina observed Levi. She reluctantly withdrew a memory slate. Levi examined the etched information. The slate detailed a potion designed to advance a spiritual beast. The Ascension Potion. This special brew utilized origin blood essence from high-level transcendent creatures. The quality depended on the blood essence used. Thank you. This was truly a misunderstanding. Levi offered an apologetic nod. Melina felt the sincerity in his voice. The tension left her shoulders. She chanted an incantation, and the spiritual beast vanished into her spiritual space. Forget it. Without your help, I do not know when the Hydra poison would have cleared. Melina sighed. You are the first wizard from the School of Spiritualism I have met in the Endless Sea. Perhaps we have gotten to know each other through conflict. Levi offered a sunny smile. His teeth flashed in the light. Levi considered his network. He knew individuals from various factions. The Tower Master of the Ocean School of Thought focused on alchemy. The lush forest which followed the Life School of Thought. The Golden Lion Jostar family belonged to the Earth School of Thought. Huffman practiced in the School of Ice. Adding Melina broadened his network significantly. The spiritual beast serves as the foundation of our school. Injuring it is equivalent to injuring me. Melina spoke with a sharp tone. Levi offered a sheepish grin. Communication with witches remained a challenge for Levi. He ended the conversation awkwardly and retreated. Melina remained focused on her beast. Levi returned home clutching the formula for the Ascension Potion. He gathered the materials. Some were prohibitively expensive. 3 days later, he returned to Melina's door. Beautiful lady, do you possess the ingredients for the Ascension Potion, aside from the origin blood essence? I am happy to pay market price. Levi gestured toward her. I prepared 3 sets. I can sell you one. Melina's wariness remained, but her anger had dissipated. 1 set is enough. Levi figured his pharmacy skills would suffice for a second circle potion. 15,000 ether stones per set. Deal. A pleasure doing business with you, Miss Melina. Levi refined the potion. 1 day later, a fresh Ascension Potion sat ready. He visited Mirror Lake and summoned Leviathan from Alice's ring. Young man, you are fortunate to be with me. Otherwise, you might never have reached the second circle in your lifetime. Levi patted the creature's head. Leviathan nodded and exhaled a mouthful of mist. The mist transformed into a rainbow under the sunlight. Following the right master mattered. Come here. I am injecting the medicine. It is up to you to succeed. The Ascension Potion carried a risk of failure. The advancement was not 100% guaranteed. Leviathan held still for the injection. It returned to Alice's ring and swayed in the water, acting intoxicated. Levi kept his focus on Leviathan. He kept other transcendent creatures away to prevent distractions. Advancement required a transition period. Levi recorded the changes daily to build a reference for future creatures. You must succeed. I cannot live without you, Leviathan. Levi encouraged the beast. Leviathan was a senior transcendent creature. Future beasts would not hold the same importance. Time drifted by while he waited. Levi maintained a peaceful mindset. Mirror Lake remained tranquil, save for the occasional wizard flying overhead. Holy Brilliance calendar year 1063, month of flowers. The 27th year of the Great Expedition. Frontline battles raged. Victories and defeats alternated. The claws of the 4 evil gods of chaos and the Dark Wizard Emperor infiltrated the 5 worlds further. The Lord of Chaos of the Astral World watched the events in silence. Legendary wizards unleashed their abilities, rivaling evil gods in power. It is shameful for the Dark Wizards, led by the Dark Wizard Emperor, Asta, to betray the wizard camp. They have forgotten the efforts Sauron made for the wizard civilization. Driving the reverse of civilization is extremely stupid. After the war concludes, the Parliament will settle accounts with all the Dark Wizards who participated. We will spare none of them. The Grand Council Chairman, the Blazing Sun God Wizard Edmund, broadcast his message, hoping the stubborn Dark Wizards would surrender. Chapter 658. The Endless Sea hummed with news of victory in the war between the Dark and Righteous Wizards. Black Sun Adam failed the 9th circle level up ritual. he did not become a ninth circle wizard. His success would have broken the balance of power, leaving the already exhausted Star Tower helpless. Upon learning this, the Star Tower intensified its attacks on the Black Sun steeple. Failure to advance meant damage to his spiritual force and his soul. The current Black Sun atom was at his weakest. The opportunity to eliminate the Dark Wizard leader of the Endless Sea lay right before them. In Riptide City, Blue Dragon Lady stabilized her position as City Lord. Her methods remained unyielding. She displayed the attitude of a woman who stood on equal footing with any man. She roped in the higher-ups who were close to Thunder Spear, or replaced them if they refused to bend. Thunder Spear, having lost that battle, returned to the Thunder Dragon family to secretly accumulate new strength. The other small abyss well was destroyed by a legendary wizard. However, countless powerful demons had invaded the wizard world during this period, hiding among the population. Moreover, no one knew if new abyss wells existed in undiscovered corners. The situation in the outside world changed day by day. Looking at the world, the scenery of Mirror Lake remained the best. A light breeze stirred the water, and it sparkled in the sun. Many fish swam at the bottom of the lake. Levi raised his wine glass and clinked it against Melina's. She took a sip and swallowed with difficulty. Levi tilted his head. Does it not taste good? Melina lowered her eyes. I have never had any before. Levi sighed. I am so envious of a member of a wizard family like you. Melina looked indignant. What is there to be envious of? I am envious of you for having such rich experiences. Levi smiled. It is not the same. You were born at my finish line. During this period, Levi increased his efforts to get close to Melina to obtain more knowledge about the school of spiritualism. Melina appeared like a second-generation witch from the Ivory Tower. She possessed basic caution and vigilance. However, compared to Levi, who had been through thick and thin in the human world, she seemed naive. Their relationship improved greatly. Every wizard from the school of spiritualism was an expert in transcendent creatures. Levi learned a lot about them from Melina. The breeze brushed Levi's face. His spiritual force had reached 94 points. He felt a slight transformation within his mind. Suddenly, a pulse of energy rippled through Alice's ring. Levi scanned the internal space with his spiritual force. A slender giant whale, more than 20 meters long, reached the surface of the internal lake, clicking happily. The whale song echoed melodiously in Alice's space. Leviathan reached the second circle. A wave of thrill washed over Levi. He offered his goodbyes to Melina, left the boat, and returned home. Melina watched him go, sitting alone in the boat, lost in thought. Back home, Levi checked Leviathan's condition. The beast remained in good health with no negative statuses. Leviathan's attributes were much stronger than before. It even possessed a second circle spell ability. Levi recorded the data. He drew Leviathan's blood sample and tested it. Ancient Dragon Whale Bloodline 20%. Dragon King Whale Bloodline 87%. Success. The bloodline contained in the blood fungus was actually the bloodline of a peak transcendent creature like the ancient dragon whale. The ancient dragon whale possessed the strength of a fourth circle transcendent creature in its prime. If it lived long enough, some old ancient dragon whales could reach the fifth circle level. Leviathan possessed 20% of that bloodline. According to Levi's previous research on bloodline density and the growth limit of this mixed blood dragon clan, Leviathan might advance to the third circle in the future. The chances were slim, but possible. Levi patted Leviathan's head. Good job. He drew a large bucket of blood. It should be enough for me to cultivate for a period of time. I will strive to cultivate the black whale breathing technique as soon as possible. The secret medicines of the dragon demon, Death Ember, and Maya breathing technique needed attention. Levi muttered to himself. He felt no hurry. Taking his time was fine. It was a victory to fuse all the breathing techniques of the 6 dimensions at the third circle wizard stage. The breathing techniques were too complicated now. There were eagles, cows, and more. Collecting them was troublesome. When Levi transformed all the breathing techniques into Dragon Clan type breathing techniques, he could try to change the formula for the secret medicine to the Dragon Clan path in the future. This allowed him to collect secret medicines more specifically and reduce the difficulty of collecting them. Moreover, having too many bloodlines did not help. The most ideal state remained a shift to the path of the dragon race. In the future, he would hold 2 bloodlines in his body. One would be the Dragon Clan bloodline he created himself, and the other his human bloodline. Otherwise, Levi estimated that his outcome would be no better than the 100 beast berserk witches. He would become a complete monster. Calling him a wizard would be a stretch. Chapter 659. His appearance would suffer greatly as well. A month later, Levi took out a bottle of viscous, black, asphalt-like substance from the special container. This was the poison that he had extracted from Melina's sea dragon earlier. According to Melina, this poison came from a third circle dark wizard from the ocean school of thought. The third circle wizard of the Black Water Tower, the 100 poison wizard, Clay. Although Clay hailed from the ocean school of thought, he cultivated all kinds of poisonous spells. He combined these poisons with the spells of the ocean school of thought and created the so-called black water spell. He even used the body refining wizard method to temper his body and cultivate the venom body. The Black Water Tower functioned as a subordinate organization of the Black Sun Steeple. What Levi did not know was that after the Flame King Alhid family was destroyed, the Black Sun Steeple sent the Black Water Tower to continue the battle on the Yellow Earth continent. Melina had met with an undeserved calamity and was targeted by Clay. He studied the poisonous substance that seemed to have a life of its own. He had once carefully observed this venom in the mist form of his scarlet poison body. These venoms were made up of countless tiny poisonous microorganisms with vitality. These poisonous microorganisms functioned like poisonous zergs capable of invading at the microscopic level. Once poisoned, if the venom could not be quickly contained and removed, it would spread rapidly in the host's body. The six-winged sea dragon possessed a strong physique. If an ordinary wizard did not take the antidote immediately, or kill these poisonous microorganisms, they would die quickly. Clay's venom is not bad. It gave me some new inspiration. Clay was very strong. Melina, who was also a third circle cultivator, was not his match at all. Although Melina was not a senior third circle wizard, she was a disciple of a big family. Her trump cards and the six-winged sea dragon added to her extraordinary strength. However, she was still chased by Clay all over the Yellow Earth continent, and could not fight back at all. Clay can be considered a wizard who dual cultivates body tempering and wizardry. He is considered rare among wizards. His true strength should be above average among third circle seniors. In addition, he has also mastered 2 innate spells. There are still crouching tigers and hidden dragons in the wizard world. Although I have killed 2 third circle wizards, I cannot let my guard down. A powerhouse like Clay can overturn me at any time. Levi admonished himself. He took out a small amount of the asphalt venom. He wanted to see if he could absorb this poisonous microorganism and turn it into a part of his scarlet poison body. Levi injected a little poisonous microorganism into his body. He constantly observed the movements of these poisonous microorganisms. Once they showed signs of breaking free from his control, he would immediately transform into the blood fog body and separate them. As the black substance entered Levi's body at the microscopic level, aberrations occurred. Monsters that looked like tadpoles with exaggerated, bloody mouths swam along Levi's blood and tissues. Levi understood that these xenomorph tadpoles were devouring his vitality and interfering with the circulation of his organs. However, because of Levi's powerful physique and immune system, these damages were negligible. If he allowed it to develop, his body would eventually fill with countless aberration tadpoles. He would be consumed from the inside out by highly toxic microorganisms. Interesting. What a powerful poison. This is much stronger than the half-baked poison technique I cultivated myself. Clay is a force to be reckoned with. His entire body turned into a ball of blood fog. The poisonous microorganisms were separated and gathered together. These microorganisms were much fewer than when Levi injected them. Most of them were killed by Levi's immune system. Unless I master the technique to control these poisonous microorganisms, there is no way to rely on the scarlet poison body to forcefully fuse them. Levi could not help but shake his head after experimenting. To a certain extent, this could be considered a long-distance battle between him and the 100 poison wizard. Looking at it now, in terms of poison techniques, Clay remained stronger. Levi temporarily put away these poisonous microorganisms for future research. Holy Brilliance Calendar Year 1065, Month of Beginning. In a small blacksmith shop outside Mist City, Levi worked on the forging beside the fire, sweating profusely. He looked older than he had a few years ago, but he remained full of energy. Melina watched all of this with interest. You are an interesting guy to do such hard work. For me, blacksmithing is a relaxing thing. Why do you not become younger? Melina gazed at Levi's aged figure. Most witches preferred to maintain their beauty, so they stayed young. Until the moment before death, they would not show their old and decayed faces. Men get more attractive the older they get, don't you think? Levi laughed as he forged. I do not think so. Melina shrugged. In the past few years, she and the six-winged sea dragon had almost recovered from their injuries. She planned to leave the Yellow Earth continent and continue searching for the 10-winged heavenly sea dragon king. Although she really wanted to take revenge on the 100 poison wizard, after thinking about it, she decided to forget it. She did not have the strength to do so, so she could only accept her fate. Chapter 660. In this chaotic world, getting the organization to come to the Endless Sea to avenge her was impossible. Such an expectation was unrealistic. People like Levi led a relaxed life. Apart from cultivating, finding time for hobbies brought its own joy. She reflected on her entire life. Her family had arranged every path, leaving no room for her own choices. In Mist City, these thoughts lingered. Grandpa Keg, this is the new brew. My mother wants you to try it. Leah jogged over with a large glass of wine. Levi sniffed the air. The fragrance of malt drifted toward him. I see the wind blowing through the waves of malt. He praised the brew with a sincere heart and drained the glass in one gulp. Little Leah had grown much since Levi first came to Mirror Lake. She was a young woman now. The lady boss remained largely unchanged, though time left subtle traces on her body and added charm. Levi had seen many beautiful witches in the wizard world, yet he found such mortal beauty the most genuine. As the saying went, truth held the greatest importance. Unknowingly, 3 years of life in seclusion by Mirror Lake had passed. He sighed at the swift passage of time. Are you planning to stay here for the rest of your life? Melina asked. Maybe. Levi looked at her. Trouble clouded her expression. I plan to leave tomorrow. Melina stared into the distance. Where are you going? You cannot return to the spiritualism steeple now, can you? Levi asked. Life felt dull without Melina's conversation. I came to the Endless Sea for a mission. Although the situation outside is chaotic, I must continue. Staying in one place for too long hinders me, especially while my cultivation remains stagnant. This place is quiet, but it does not suit cultivation. Melina spoke with regret. Raised in a family where everyone respected her as the daughter of a fifth circle wizard, she rarely found interesting conversation. Here in this mortal town, amidst the bustling market atmosphere, and the people running for their lives, she witnessed scenery entirely unlike the wizard world. She surmised this was why Levi chose to stay. Your mission takes priority. Be careful. Levi sat at the entrance of the blacksmith shop, crossing his legs during his break to gaze at the clouds. Thank you. If the opportunity arises, visit the spiritualism steeple after the war. Definitely. Melina departed after saying goodbye. She gifted Levi her notes on transcendent creatures gathered over the years. In exchange, Levi shared his own knowledge with her. I seem to have made another friend. I suppose we count as friends. Levi muttered internally while watching her leave. 75 years old, he had cultivated for more than 60 years. He had encountered countless people, from knights to wizards, yet few qualified as friends. I am old. I am actually starting to feel sad. This does not suit me. Time to cultivate. Levi stood, patted his backside, and ran home. The next day, Melina left Riptide City. Levi remained the only wizard in the small city. Time moved slowly. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. The month of flowers, 1067 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, had arrived. Levi awoke from his meditation. The spiritual force stagnated in his mind, and he exhaled deeply. He placed his hand on the Klein crystal. Spiritual force, 100. Spell power, 3000. My spiritual force and spell power have reached perfection. I have reached the limit of a second circle senior wizard. This is 2 years later than I expected, as the elemental power here is not rich. Levi held no regrets. After 5 years of life in Mirror Lake, his spiritual force felt sublimated. His state of mind and spiritual energy remained even more stable than the calm Mirror Lake. His path as a knight progressed steadily as well. Not long ago, the black whale breathing technique reached level 13. Levi, black whale breathing technique, level 13, 1 divided by 400,000. Special effect, carrying mountain back, level 1, sea swallowing whale. In short, the level 13 black whale breathing technique increased his power, but not significantly. His current path as a knight faced a predicament. The Red Lotus, King Kong, and black whale breathing techniques, already at level 13, were stalled by the dragon demon breathing technique. Had this not been the case, Levi would have merged the 4 strength dimension breathing techniques into one. He eagerly anticipated the complete version of the strength breathing technique once all 4 combined. Similarly, the endurance type breathing technique, the level 13 silver mountain dragon, was stifled by the level 12 Maya technique. Where are the transcendent creatures? Perhaps it is time to leave. Levi stroked his beard and muttered. With his spiritual force at the maximum, his mortal heart refinement reached completion. Since the path of a knight faced temporary hurdles, he would advance the wizard path to the 3rd circle first. After reaching the 3rd circle, he would gradually resolve these shortcomings. Algerta, Tiga, pack your things. Prepare to move. Master, are we moving again? Algerta, accustomed to life in Mirror Lake, asked. Chapter 661. Levi set down his tools. Yeah, it is time to leave. Algerta nodded. All right, we will pack up immediately. Master, where are we going this time? This time, I am going home. Memories of the Black Fire Island surfaced. It had been many years since he went back. After tidying up, Levi cleared the house and departed. He gave the weapons he had not sold in his blacksmith shop to those in need, then headed to the small tavern. The building sat silent. Closed, he muttered. He projected his intuition through the entire city. The lady boss and little Leah were nowhere to be found. Levi walked to the old man sitting beside the tavern. Neat, where is the lady boss? I am waiting for a beer. Neat shouted in response. What did you say? Levi shook his head. Just bask in the sun. It is none of your business. He conducted a careful search, finally locating a faint, lingering scent. He questioned nearby mortals, and learned that someone had seen the lady boss and Leah leaving with a mysterious man in black the previous night. Levi asked for a direction, and the information matched the intermittent traces of his perception. He walked forward with a calm expression. He had expected to catch up to the party with his speed, but after flying for a while, he could not locate Leah. The lady boss and Leah had likely been taken away by a wizard, given how quickly they had departed. The man in black must be a wizard. Perhaps Leah's talent was discovered by a passing wizard, Levi reasoned. He decided to press on, but if he failed to find them, he would let it go. Everyone had their own fortuitous encounters. There was no need for Levi to force Leah to become the disciple of Marlene. She might not even want to become a wizard. On the southern side of the Yellow Earth continent sat the Black Water Tower residence. This newly formed organization had thrived for the past 2 years. It suppressed the righteous wizard alliance formed by the 2 veteran Third Circle wizard organizations, Golden Lion and Wham, on its own. The leader of the Black Water Tower, the 100 Poison Wizard, Clay, fueled the power of this organization. Clay was a dark wizard who had made countless righteous wizards tremble in fear in the Yellow Earth continent over the years. With the support of the Black Sun Steeple, the Black Water Tower expanded rapidly, and soon unified the central region of the continent. The organization possessed a total of 3 Third Circle wizards, consisting of 2 ordinary Third Circle wizards and 1 senior Third Circle wizard. On the way to the Black Water Tower, an iron-winged griffin soared through the sky. The iron-winged griffin was a second circle transcendent creature. It looked like a lion with 4 furry claws, but in terms of blood relations, it was closer to a raptor or prey. This rare second circle transcendent bird possessed powerful long-distance flying ability and extraordinary combat strength. Griffins were famous transcendent creatures in the wizard world, often appearing in the legends of bards as famous as dragons. Above the iron-winged griffins were silver-winged griffins, comparable to third circle creatures, and golden-winged griffin kings, comparable to fourth circle creatures. Many wizards felt proud to tame a griffin as a mount, viewing it as a powerful symbol. On the back of this iron-winged griffin, a handsome dark wizard wore a happy expression. This was Lint, a third circle wizard. He had once been a low-profile rogue cultivator, but now he held fame in the Yellow Earth continent as one of the 3 third circle wizards of the Black Water Tower, and the right-hand man of the 100 Poison Wizard. I accidentally found a seedling with dual elemental affinity when I went out this time. Not bad. It will be useful to nurture it, Lint remarked, his mood bright. On the back of the griffin were 2 figures, one big and one small. It was the lady boss and Leah. Lint had taken the lady boss away because he heard she was a widow. He found her attractive and decided to take her back to satisfy his cravings. I did not expect that legendary wizards would do such a thing and bully the weak, the lady boss said, her heart feeling like dead ashes. Originally, she had wanted Leah to step into the wizard world, but if the wizard world was filled with such scum, she might as well not go. You can say whatever you want. I will not be angry. The more you act like this, the more excited I am, Lit said with a smile. You should be glad. If it were not for me, you and your daughter would have died of old age in the mortal world. How many people want to become wizards? Lit pinched the face of the lady boss and teased her. Leah remained unconscious. Shameless, the lady boss said, unable to struggle. She looked at Lit with disdain. Do not judge a wizard by the morality of mortals. What wizards pursue is only knowledge and the unattainable truth. Morality is just an excuse for the weak to get trapped and protect themselves, Lit said calmly, showing no anger. The lady boss sank into complete despair. How could she be at ease with Leah joining such a wizard organization? No wonder there were rumors that wizards were synonymous with evil and selfishness. It appeared that was indeed the case. At that moment, a large hand reached out from the void beside the lady boss and Leah. It easily tore apart the binding force of the water current. The lady boss and Leah vanished from the back of the griffin. Chapter 662. The lady boss opened her eyes. Ferocious and terrifying monsters loomed above her head. They sized up the mother and daughter with curious gazes. Terror seized the lady boss, and she slumped into unconsciousness. The moment Levi attacked, the hermit rune lost its effect. Lit stood at the front. He possessed extensive combat experience. As the attack landed, his third circle protective force field and third circle innate defensive spells ignited in rapid succession. Ripples flowed, layering atop one another to form an impenetrable barrier. He clearly favored a stacked armor style. Lit pulled away from Levi and peered at him from a distance. He began weaving a third circle attack spell. Raja, Bogang, Levi shouted. 2 behemoths manifested behind him. Raja let out an excited dragon roar and launched himself into the sky. He charged toward Lint, cloaked in the power of wind and lightning. The mountain giant Bogang stepped forward, shielding Levi from the enemy attack. 2 third circle pets. Who are you? Lint's expression contorted. The person standing before him possessed immense power. He wielded incredible invisibility skills and a third circle transcendent creature for a guardian. Yet, his mental signature registered only as a second circle wizard. Trafficking women and children, you are truly a vile villain, Levi said with a dark smile. After so long without a battle, his strength grew daily, yet he remained stagnant in spirit. Levi flexed his muscles. After so much time in hiding, he felt like a rusting machine. Facing this third circle wizard with sharp combat awareness, his long-lost blood began to boil. He anticipated a worthy fight. Return those 2 people to me, and I might let you live. Otherwise, you should know the consequences of angering the Black Water Tower, Lint threatened. Lint hesitated. He clearly feared Levi and wished to avoid a fight, so he invoked the name of his organization to intimidate his opponent. Black Water Tower. I feel relieved, Levi replied. I was worried about wronging a good person. Various defensive fields rippled around Levi. He chanted, pointing toward the sky. Metal power materialized behind him, condensing into blades that emitted a cold, golden light. Second circle spell, Sword Blade Storm. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Hundreds of metal flying swords tore through the air, charging toward Lint. Piece of cake. You forced my hand, Lint shouted. He realized the battle was inevitable and ceased his hesitation. Third circle spell, Deep Water Cannonball. A cylindrical wizard tool materialized in his hand, emitting a dark blue light. A terrifying third circle spell rushed toward Levi, crossing the distance in the blink of an eye. The water cannon dispersed the sword blade storm. The aftershock engulfed Levi. His protective force field shattered layer by layer, yet his defenses held. What? Lint gasped. He could not fathom how this second circle wizard withstood a third circle spell. Danger flared in his mind. Amidst the lightning and thunder, an ice blue sword collided with Lint's third circle protective force field and shattered it. The remaining force pierced his chest, sending flesh and blood flying. Lint swallowed a potion, gritting his teeth against the pain. He struggled to identify Levi's spell. It made no sense for a second circle wizard to breach a third circle defensive field. Levi watched his injured enemy with a pleased expression. Glacial Sword Finger. Not bad, he murmured. Levi had lived in seclusion in Mirror Lake for 5 years. He had evolved his Glacial Finger into a new third circle spell, Glacial Sword Finger. He planned to use this spell as his key to advancing to the third circle. The spell boasted a fast casting speed and concentrated power. Its penetrative strength remained high, placing its attack output firmly among the top tier of third circle spells. It deserved a grade A rating. It might lack utility against large transcendent creatures. However, this third circle spell proved devastating in wizard duels. Lint's third circle defensive field collapsed under the assault. The mountain giant Bogang and Tyrant Isle acted as meat shields, while Raja provided support from afar. Before Levi could unleash his full strength, Lint faltered, gradually overwhelmed by the barrage. "If you are a friend of those two mortals, just take them away," Lint pleaded, breathless from exhaustion. "Why do you have to kill me? If you kill me, the Black Water Tower will not let you off." He realized he could not even defeat the second circle wizard's pet. His opponent must be a disciple of a grand wizard family sent out for training. He had kicked an iron plate this time. He was cursed with bad luck. Levi ignored the plea and continued to barrage him with the glacial sword from a distance. He enjoyed the rhythm of the duel. Since the beginning of his journey, he had relied on the path of a knight to crush enemies in close combat. This time, he wanted to defeat a third circle wizard using only spells. He had no other motive than to prove that he, Levi, was a true wizard. In the end, Lint's defensive force field shattered beyond repair. He had exhausted every method, yet this enemy remained too powerful. Perhaps only the Tower Master could contend with him. The great black sky curtain manifested, suppressing Lint. Levi approached Lint. He had intended to kill him. However, considering he was a member of the Black Water Tower, he might possess crucial information about the 100 Poison Wizard. With a thought, a scarlet mist emerged from his body and rushed into Lint. What are you doing?" Lint screamed in terror. The next moment, the scarlet power occupied Lint's body and mind. His vision turned blood red. A scarlet dragon, wrapped in a bloody storm and red fog, overturned the clouds in this world, high and mighty. Lint's eyes glazed over. On his forehead, the mark of a scarlet dragon flickered into existence. "It is a good choice to contract a third circle wizard as a helper for the time being," Levi muttered to himself. His mind returned to Clay's poison technique. If he could subdue Lint, he could begin his research there. Knowing his enemy and himself, he would never be defeated in 100 battles. Levi discovered undetectable tracking marks on Lint's body. They were Clay's work. Having killed and robbed many, Levi possessed various methods to counter these conventional tracking marks. He turned into a blood fog, infiltrated Lint's body, and easily erased the marks. Tracking marks came in two types. One targeted the physical body, while the other bound the soul, such as Rex's soul imprint. Levi could infiltrate the body through blood fog to remove the former. As for the latter, he had no way to erase it. He could only wait for the soul imprint to appear after killing the enemy, and feed it to his saint scorpions. Levi glanced at the griffin on the other side, and allowed a smile to spread across his face. The secret medicine for the Maya breathing technique is resolved. Without guns or cannons, the enemy provides everything he needs. Chapter 663. The iron-winged griffin was a second circle transcendent creature. It felt flustered. Above it, a pterosaur circled, its wide wingspan pulsing with the power of wind and lightning. Griffins possessed great intelligence, which made them favored mounts for powerful wizards. The tactful griffin submitted to Levi, desperate to avoid a beating. Besides, its master had already been subdued by this man. "I will have a flying mount in the future," Levi muttered. Lint had spent years acquiring this griffin. It was the most valuable possession he carried. Levi sat on the griffin. The beast flew with steady grace. It moved fast, comparable to some low-level wizard airships. Levi threw Lint into Alice's ring and retrieved the storage bags. He counted the loot. His gains were impressive. 70,000 ether stones, a third circle wizard tool, some spellbooks, and casting materials from the Ocean School of Thought. Not bad. About 1/6 of Rex, Levi muttered to himself. The ether stones were a nice bonus. That wizard tool was the very same cannon Lint used during their battle. Mysterious, complicated runes stood solidified upon its surface. Levi lacked an appraisal, so the precise nature of the device remained a mystery. He guessed it was a hand cannon common in the wizard world. It carried extraordinary power. He planned to sell it when the opportunity arose. This third circle wizard tool looked standard. It was far inferior to the great black sky curtain, so Levi could not be bothered to use it. The weight of the funds in his pocket eased Levi's mind. The griffin continued its steady, rapid flight. On its furry back, the lady boss stirred and woke. Levi had maintained a small protective shield around the mother and daughter to prevent the rushing wind from blowing Leah away. The lady boss looked at the smiling old man sitting before her. "Old Keg," she whispered. "Are you really a wizard?" Disbelief clouded her eyes. "I already told you I am a wizard," Levi said with a helpless shrug. "You simply did not believe me." "But how can a wizard live in seclusion in this small city?" she asked. "You chatted with mortals, drank, smithied, and farmed." She recalled Levi's actions over the years. "Wizards are humans too," Levi said. "As long as they do something that brings them happiness, it is fine." "Where is that person from earlier?" the lady boss asked. "This seems to be his mount." "I killed him," Levi said. "Naturally, I claimed his mount." The lady boss felt a sudden jolt of fear. The seemingly harmless, gentle old Keg spoke of killing a man with such calm detachment. It suggested he had ended many lives, and the act no longer weighed upon his conscience. "Will you punish us like him?" she asked. Once bitten, twice shy. After Lint's kidnapping, she held no hope for the moral compass of any wizard. As Lint claimed, morality was merely an excuse for the weak to protect themselves. In this world, only strength held any true meaning. Wizards dominated the vast sea. They maintained their own circles and rarely interacted with mortals. To some wizards, mortals busy with their livelihoods were nothing more than ants, working diligently on the roadside for food and reproduction. It was rare for wizards to give mortals a second thought, regardless of how high their cultivation climbed. "You have two choices," Levi said. "The first is that I send you back to Mist City. The two of you will continue to live peacefully as mortals. The other path is, if Leah desires to become a witch, I can find a reliable wizard to serve as her teacher. From that moment on, she will become an apprentice wizard and enter the magnificent, dangerous wizard world. It depends on your choice." "I choose the second option," the lady boss said. "Oh," Levi smiled. "You just witnessed the ruthlessness and cruelty of wizards. I assumed you were completely disappointed in them." "I am disappointed in wizards, but so what? I must still live. I remember when I was young, very few wizards flew over Mist City. I certainly never saw wizards chasing and fighting in the sky. Now, wizards pass through the sky in a hurry, fighting and killing each other on a regular basis. We live in a small city, trapped in fear all day long. I can feel that the wizarding world has encountered some great change. The world is becoming chaotic. We are too lowly enough that wizards decide our fate at will. That is why I want Leah to give this a try. If it is possible, she should have the power to fight for her destiny, rather than doing nothing. Not all wizards are like that. You lived peacefully in this small city for so long, rarely suffering from attacks by transcendent creatures, because a group of wizards watches over the area. They consider the overall situation and protect wizard civilization. Wizards are also humans," Levi continued. "No one is born a wizard." The lady boss nodded. "Do you still need to make a trip to Mist City?" Levi asked. "If not, I will head straight to our destination." "There is no need." "Old Keg, Wizard Lord." Realizing that calling him Old Keg might be disrespectful, the lady boss changed her words. She spoke with a flustered expression. Chapter 664. There is no need to be so reserved. I am really an easygoing person. Levi smiled. "Grandpa Keg?" Drowsily, Leah opened her eyes and stared at Levi. He talked with her mother. "Leah, call him Wizard Lord." "You cannot call him that in the future," the lady boss said. "Grandpa Keg is fine." "I am used to hearing it too," Levi said. The lady boss did not know what to say for a moment. She remained silent. After revealing his identity as a wizard, estrangement hung between them. Levi recalled how Wang Duyu, the richest man in Zihong City, laid his cards on the table. As Leah laughed, the griffin disappeared over the horizon, and in the middle of the yellow earth continent, in the secret room of the Black Water Tower, a pool of flowing black liquid rolled on the ground. From time to time, poisonous spiders, scorpions, poisonous snakes, and other poisonous creatures turned into a pool of pus and were swallowed by the black liquid. Then, the black liquid finally converged into an old man in black. This black-clothed old man was none other than the 100-poison wizard, Clay, who stood like the sun in the midday sky and shook the yellow earth continent. He was known as the most poisonous creature in the outer sea region. In order to cultivate his poisonous spells, Clay had gone through untold hardships to collect all the poisonous substances in the world. With these poisonous substances, he used the black water spell to fuse them into his body and cultivated a unique venom body. His venom body was not ordinary. It changed its shape at will like a pool of liquid. Even if half of it was cut off, the other half could be reborn. In addition, the venom body was extremely powerful and invulnerable. This was the strength of the 100-poison wizard. Although he was a wizard of the ocean school of thought, he relied on this venom body to possess stronger strength, physique, and defense than ordinary body-refining wizards. Relying on his venom body and his third circle spells, he considered himself the strongest person below the fourth circle wizard. This advantage made the Golden Lion Jostar family and the Wham family panic. To him, destroying these two clans and unifying the Yellow Earth continent was only a matter of time. He would not die inexplicably on the Yellow Earth continent like that trash Lehman. Previously, the spiritual beast of the school of spiritualisms, which was invaded by my parasitic venom, and must have died suddenly. It is a pity. I wanted to capture and make her my wife. Clay spoke with regret. Also, the tracking mark I left on Lint's body has been erased. It looks like this guy is doomed. Fortunately, I did not count on him from the beginning. He knows almost nothing about my secrets. Clay swallowed the poisonous bugs and squinted. A dangerous aura filled the room. To erase the mark on Lint's body so easily, the other party's strength must be unfathomable. Clay had no intention of avenging Lint. If he went, there was a high chance that he would be doomed. The entire Black Water Tower was just Clay's tool. As long as he was here, the Black Water Tower would be there. According to the information from the headquarters, there seems to be a lost Pan's Labyrinth in the Yellow Earth continent. I have to get my subordinates to search for it quickly. We have to gain an advantage before the Star Tower sets foot in the new dimension. If we lose one step, we will lose every step. What Clay remained unaware of was that someone had already set foot in the stronghold of the Dreamland Steeple branch in the Yellow Earth continent and taken away all the research materials of the Nightmare World. And this place was at the peaceful Mirror Lake. Holy Brilliance calendar year 1067, month of vitality. Levi arrived at the giant tree secret realm. He used the communication method left by the lush forest witch to send a message and put away the griffin. Every time he came, he changed to a new mount. This was too high profile. Although the people in the giant tree secret realm were generally trustworthy, it was better to be careful. Not long after, the spatial rift in the giant tree secret realm slowly opened. This kind of secret realm that can be actively opened and closed is really convenient. In such a chaotic era, it is most suitable to live in seclusion. Levi sighed. He also had a secret realm key, but it could only be opened once every 200 years, so it had been collecting dust in his storage bag. Grandpa Keg, that is amazing. Leah's mouth hung open with excitement. The lady boss watched the wizard's methods with envy. A bloodline modification wizard appeared at the door. Levi showed his ID. Hello, Sir Levi. It has been a long time, the wizard said. Long time no see. I have something to discuss with the lush forest witch. All right, please follow me. Entering the lush secret realm with towering trees, Levi breathed deeply. In a herb garden in the secret realm, Levi saw Marlene tending to the flowers and plants. Teacher, Levi said with a smile. Marlene looked at the old Levi and froze. Little, old Levi, ha ha ha, Marlene said with a laugh. Ha ha, indeed. Unknowingly, I have become an old man too. Levi sighed. Let us go back to the treehouse and sit down. Marlene soared into the air and led the way. Levi followed closely behind Leah and the lady boss. Hearing that the second circle wizard Levi of the Grey Tower was back, Winnie, Marco, Mr. Tim, and Manla also arrived. Levi watched everyone and relaxed. Chapter 665. After being away for so long, a seed of worry took root in his chest. Inside the treehouse, Leah and the lady boss stood obediently beside Levi. Standing before a group of wizard lords, they remained as reserved as helpless kittens. Levi stroked Leah's head. Teacher, this is a wizard seedling that I accidentally discovered. She has a dual elemental affinity. I thought that such a good talent could not be wasted, so I brought her back. I hope everyone can take her in. Leah blushed and lowered her head, afraid to speak. She felt familiar only with Levi, and remained distant from the other wizards. Winnie expressed her surprise. She actually has double affinity. Double affinity counted as a top talent in the Outer Sea region. Marlene looked at Leah, who hid behind Levi. She wondered why this strange witch stared at her. In this day and age, it is indeed rare to see a double affinity seedling that has not been taken away by a wizard. I think this little girl is quite cute. Levi, you are so considerate. Marlene watched the child. It looks like the little girl is very afraid of me. The lady boss sensed the moment to intervene and patted Leah on the head. Leah, do not be rude. Call teacher. Leah gripped Levi's robe. Hello, teacher. My name is Leah. I am 12.5 years old. I like to sing and dance. All right. You are in the prime of learning and seeking knowledge. From now on, you will learn the spells of the Ocean School of Thought from me. This way, you can protect yourself and your mother in the future. Marlene glanced at the lady boss. Follow Winnie to report there later. In the future, you can do some chores in exchange for resources. In here, as long as you do not slack off, you will have a better life than outside. The lady boss lacked wizard talent. Otherwise, she could have become an apprentice wizard. Levi had solved Leah's problem. Marlene turned to Levi. Levi, are you about to advance to the third circle? I am still far from it, but I believe I can advance to the third circle. Winnie looked at Levi, whose hair had turned white. Will you still leave after you come back this time? After some time, I want to stay in the giant tree secret realm for a while. He needed to ask the lush forest witch about refining third circle potions. That is good. Do not give yourself too much pressure. Relax when you need to. Rest well and do not think about taking revenge for the Grey Tower. Morpheus has the support of the Black-Eyed Crow. It is best not to provoke him even if you advance to the third circle. Although a Grey Tower has been disbanded, everyone is living well. There is no need for revenge. Marlene had known Levi for a long time. Although Levi kept many things to himself, Marlene always possessed a sensitive nature. I understand, teacher. The past is the past. The most important thing now is for everyone to live well. By the way, teacher, how far are you from the second circle senior realm? Marlene paused. I have 62 points of spiritual force now. I am still missing 8 points. Levi felt a wave of emotion. When he was still an apprentice wizard, his teacher had already advanced to the second circle. Now that he stood on the precipice of the third circle, his teacher remained an ordinary second circle wizard. He realized the terrifying nature of his cultivation speed. He sighed internally and pulled out a portion of the excess meditation potion he had previously used for his second circle cultivation. He spoke with a grave tone. Teacher, use the potion for yourself. Do not tell the others. If he could help his teacher advance to the third circle, she could live for another 200 years. Even if she failed, Levi would have no regrets if he did his best before she left. Marlene stared at the precious potion Levi handed her. Levi, this. You have to be careful when you are outside. Do not do anything illegal. Second circle meditation supplementary potions were all very precious. Although she was a second circle pharmacist, she lacked the corresponding potion formula. Even with the formula, her financial resources would barely cover the cultivation time provided by such a potion. She suspected Levi gathered these through illicit means, which sparked her concern. Teacher, do not worry. I am still the naive and kind Levi from before. The source of these potions is definitely legal. However, the second circle meditation supplementary potion is extremely precious. You should not reveal your wealth, teacher. He had signed a confidentiality agreement with the military. Otherwise, he would have shared the formula directly. Marlene sighed. Sigh. If only the Tower Master was here. He would be happy to see you now. It is fine. When I am strong enough one day, I will go to the Myriad Machine Plane to find the Tower Master, and bring this guy who abandoned the Grey Tower back. Levi thought of the Tower Master who had eloped with his lover, and felt a twinge of depression. In the following days, Levi stayed in the Giant Tree secret realm. He chatted with his friends from the Grey Tower all night, and held a bonfire ball. The next day, he walked to the tower of the Lush Forest Witch. He approached the guard downstairs. Please report that Levi requests an audience. After passing the test, Levi stood before the Lush Forest Witch's hairy monster, with the humanoid girl's head. Chapter 666. Before the monster could utter the words Big Brother, he turned and fled. Levi was haunted by memories of an anime from his past life, which made the nickname Big Brother particularly unappealing. Levi entered the study of the Lush Forest Witch, where the beautiful green elf awaited. I heard that you brought a wizard with double affinity. Yes, I did. If you find such a seedling during your travels in the future, you can leave them to us if you do not want to take them in as a disciple. The Lush Forest Witch seemed pleased. She was naturally more than happy to see such a thing happen. I will, Lord. I am here to ask for your guidance. Of course, I will pay the corresponding price. If it is not something troublesome, just ask away. Levi asked, I want to know how a second circle pharmacist can refine a third circle potion. The Lush Forest Witch explained, there are only two possibilities. The first is to break through to become a third circle wizard before refining it. There is no need to say more about this. The other is relatively rare. It requires a potion that can temporarily increase the upper limit of one's spiritual force. It is generally called the epiphyllum potion. After taking the potion, your mental strength will break through the limit of the second circle in a short period of time. During this period of breaking through the maximum, you just have to successfully refine the potion. However, the ingredients for the epiphyllum potion are relatively difficult to find, and one cannot consume too much. Generally, it is not recommended to consume it more than 3 times. Otherwise, it might affect the subsequent advancement of one's realm. Generally speaking, only ancient wizards would take the epiphyllum potion to forcefully refine third circle potions. In the modern era, under the management of the Panplane Wizard Council, as long as it is a potion certified by the Pharmacist Association, they can basically take it without worry. The Lush Forest Witch guessed why Levi asked this. It was most likely because he wanted to refine a potion that could break through to the third circle. Levi smiled. I understand. Lord, do you have the formula for the epiphyllum potion? I can buy it with ether stones. He still wanted to give it a try first. It would be more convenient to be prepared, and it could also increase his pharmacy level. I do have it here, but are you sure you want to buy it? Yes, I am sure. Fine. The Lush Forest Witch did not expect Levi to be so obsessed with concocting potions himself. In the end, Levi spent 30,000 ether stones to buy the formula for the epiphyllum potion from the Lush Forest Witch. Similar to the Ascension potion, the epiphyllum potion was also a special potion. There was no realm difference. The quality of the potion depended on the different ingredients. Levi inspected the formula. The ingredients for the epiphyllum potion that could be used by second circle wizards were all present in his herb warehouse, save for a few missing items. He possessed the inheritance of Rex. The materials inside were so abundant that even the Lush Forest Witch could not compare to them. After achieving his goal, he rested in the Giant Tree secret realm for a few days. Levi bade farewell to Marlene and the others. Before leaving, Leah showed reluctance to part with Grandpa Keg. Levi told her to cultivate well. If she could advance to the first circle before the age of 30, he would reward her. After leaving the secret realm, Levi turned his gaze toward Blackfire Island. I am back. 3 days later, Levi arrived at Blackfire Island. The island remained unchanged since he left. In the cave abode, Levi found the second circle wizard Kalam, who was currently cultivating. Senior. Kalam jumped up, rushing out with an eager expression. During his time on Blackfire Island, his cultivation had improved significantly. Did anything happen to Blackfire Island while I was away? Levi asked. No, with me guarding it, there has been no problem. Where is Joanne? He was summoned by the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard to search for relics. Levi questioned Kalam regarding the situation in Area 9. Currently, among the 3 forces in Area 9, Whalesong Island was growing stronger. It had defeated the Tower of Ocean Currents led by Lady Whitewater. Now, they could only retreat to the Tower of Ocean Currents and mount a final resistance. Not only that, but Morpheus had also attacked the alliance of rogue cultivators under the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard and forced them to surrender control and submit to Whalesong Island. However, as a third circle wizard, the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard naturally remained unconvinced. Both sides fought several times, with victories on both sides. Now, the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard had formed a loose alliance with the Tower of Ocean Currents to deal with the pressure from Whalesong Island. The reason why Morpheus acted so fearlessly was the mastermind behind the scenes in Area 9, the Black-Eyed Crow Modi. Since the battle has not reached Blackfire Island, I will not get involved for the time being. With my current strength, I am still far from being able to deal with the Black-Eyed Crow. After the third circle, the gap between each ring is like a natural chasm. Unless I advance to the third transformation of the bloodline, I cannot match a fourth circle wizard. While they are busy fighting, I can seize the time to advance to the third circle so that my strength can reach a higher level. In this chaotic world, I must protect myself. Levi asked Kalam to run errands for him. This wizard proved reliable. Levi asked him to guard Blackfire Island, and he had fulfilled that duty faithfully until now. Kalam, a servant who had served 2 masters, knew that there was no future in following the extreme fire ancestral wizard. After all, the extreme fire ancestral wizard possessed many second circle wizards and cared little for Kulam. Chapter 667. If he followed Levi, he would be a founding partner. In the future, when Levi advanced to the 3rd circle, he would likely receive some benefits. In this way, Levi could cultivate peacefully. He arrived at the deepest part of Blackfire Island. This was the location with the densest underground fire. Scorching, hot air filled the tunnels, yet his body felt no discomfort. He felt comfortable instead, thanks to the existence of Red Lotus. His current fire element resistance matched a fire element giant of the same level, provided the spell was not a burning faction spell, with a higher number of rings than his 1st circle. To Levi, combustion spells of the same level would only cause limited damage. Holy Brilliance Calendar Year 1068, Month of Germinal. Year 31 of the Great Expedition. Kulam, the errand boy, finally gathered all the ingredients for the Epiphyllum potion. Levi rewarded Kulam with some ether stones. He began to refine the Epiphyllum potion. Levi's pharmacy skill already stood at the maximum of level 10, which meant he was a 2nd circle senior. However, because his spiritual force failed to meet the standard, he could not break through this restriction. The refinement of the Epiphyllum potion proceeded successfully. After using all the materials, Levi refined a total of 4 portions. However, this potion could only be used 3 times at most. The increase in spiritual force obtained each time was only a temporary surge. Therefore, Levi only had 3 chances to refine the Lake Fairy potion. He needed to complete the prerequisite steps of the Lake Fairy potion before taking the Epiphyllum potion and forcibly refining the target substance. It is time to do this one time, Levi whispered, encouraging himself. On Blackfire Island, he began the refinement of the Lake Fairy potion. Currently, the defense of the entire Blackfire Island stood impregnable. Levi's 2nd circle maze, killing array, and defensive array were set up inside. Gustav, Raja, Mountain Giant, Lint, and Tyrant Isle guarded various places on Blackfire Island. Without the Black-Eyed Crow, the configuration of Whalesong Island could not compare to Levi's luxurious lineup. A small Blackfire Island proved comparable to a 3rd circle wizard organization. However, the members here were not human. Under such safety and protection, Levi began to refine the potion wholeheartedly. A month later, in the pharmacy room, Levi focused completely. Beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. Beside him, a jar filled with wasted medicinal ingredients sat on the table. A month ago, his first attempt at refining the Lake Fairy potion had failed. This marked the 2nd time. If he did not succeed now, Levi would only have one last chance. If he failed 3 times, he could only ask the Lush Forest Witch or Huffman to refine it for him. Fortunately, he had enough ingredients for the Lake Fairy potion. He could withstand a few failures. In the end, after the process was completed step by step, the time for the crucial potion fusion segment arrived. Levi drank the Epiphyllum potion. In an instant, his mind began to churn. At that moment, his spiritual force broke the limit of 100 points, and even showed signs of gasification. At this moment, Levi barely possessed the mental strength of a 3rd circle wizard. He quickly chanted an incantation and began to assemble the medicine. As the light circulated, the potions in the crucible began to boil and sublimate. Hazy demoness songs, demon whispers, and undead roars echoed throughout the room. 3 different strange sounds vibrated, disturbing his mind. If not for Levi's strong willpower and the fact that he had gone through the experience of mortalization, he would have struggled to withstand these disturbances. Finally, at the bottom of the crucible, a wisp of medicinal concoction condensed into a mini black figure. The small figure closed its eyes tightly, looking strange. The potion figurine suddenly stood up and spun around the bottom of the crucible like a dancer in a music box. It is done. This potion looks a little strange. Levi looked at the potion, yet he felt certain that he had successfully refined it. This was the Lake Fairy potion recorded in the formula. It was normal for things belonging to wizards to be strange. Levi was already used to it. The potion is done. The next step is the long gasification process. When I reach the last step of gasification, I will take the Lake Fairy potion and succeed in one go, Levi muttered to himself. On Blackfire Island, Levi began to cultivate the earth and fire gasification technique. He breathed in the scorching, hot air and held the stone heart in his palm. At some point, Levi opened his eyes and realized that a new skill had appeared on his proficiency panel. Levi possessed the underground fire god tempering technique at level 1, with 1 out of 1,000 points. I did not expect this gasification technique to be on the proficiency panel. If that is the case, this will be easy. I will cultivate until my liver explodes, Levi said, pleasantly surprised. However, this earth and fire gasification technique appeared as the underground fire god tempering technique on the proficiency panel. Just like that, Levi began the gasification process on Blackfire Island. According to the information he had gathered, the gasification process would take at least half a year, 3 to 5 years, or even 10 years. The more talented he was, the faster he could gasify. Of course, this was not absolute. Some people's gasification process moved very slowly, but slow work produced fine work. After successful gasification, the quality of his spiritual force would be higher than that of ordinary wizards. It was equivalent to laying the foundation for the liquefaction of his spiritual force in advance. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, half a year had passed. The Black Fire Island was peacefully hibernating on this vast sea, just like its master. In the underground fire, the earth elemental power in the stone heart in Levi's hand visibly thinned. Chapter 668. The underground fire god tempering technique reached level 2 over the past 6 months. Levi estimated that once the technique reached level 3, his spiritual force would complete the gasification process. The gasification speed seemed relatively slow. No matter. Good things take time. Levi maintained a patient outlook. After half a year, the process appeared to be just the beginning. Within his mind, a wisp of spiritual aura, fine as a strand of hair and white as jade, circulated. Billions of materialized spiritual particles formed this magical phenomenon. It might take 3 years to completely gasify all the spiritual force. Levi calculated his current progress. He hoped no one would disturb him for the next 3 years, allowing him to advance to the third circle in one go. The path of cultivation ignored the passage of time. Years flew by in the blink of an eye. It was the month of flowers in the year 1070 of the Holy Brilliance calendar, the 34th year of the Great Expedition. Flames of war engulfed the endless sea, offering no hope for peace. Previously, news surfaced regarding Black Sun Atom's failed advancement. The Star Tower sent forces to attack the Black Sun steeple, only to discover Black Sun Atom remained full of vigor. He had not advanced to the 9th circle at all. There was no failure, nor was he recuperating in seclusion. The previous reports served only as a smokescreen. The high-level wizards sent to attack the Black Sun steeple suffered severe injuries, with 1 dead and 1 wounded. The 100-beast berserk which collected another portion of the miracle fruit. Her strength increased steadily, almost reaching the limit of power below the 9th circle. Such an increase in strength came with a price. The 100-beast berserk which lost control more than once, launching direct attacks against her own allies. This forced the Dark Wizards, who had finally obtained an advantage, to see all their progress reset. From then on, the 100-beast berserk which abandoned the idea of fusion, and began to nurture her team of 100 wizards and beasts. The outside world remained in a state of constant uproar. Levi, on the other hand, cultivated his underground fire god tempering technique, bit by bit. By now, the stone heart in his hand had completely turned into a pile of ashes, dissipating without a trace. On his proficiency panel, the underground fire god tempering technique reached the maximum level of 3. Levi, underground fire god tempering technique, level 3, maximum. At the same time, Levi's mind underwent a tremendous change. A dense white fog floated in Levi's mind. It felt gentle and quiet. This fog consisted of Levi's gasified spiritual force. Billions of spiritual particles formed this white mist. It has not succeeded yet. I must allow my spiritual force to form the unending ring-shaped vortex. Only then can I truly succeed in gasification. Levi quickly swallowed the lake fairy potion. He crushed the small, spinning black figure with his teeth and swallowed it. Like a starving man devouring a feast, the medicine melted in his mouth and turned into a warm current that surged into Levi's limbs and bones. The white fog formed by the spiritual force in Levi's mind surged, beginning to form the eye of a typhoon. It spun faster and faster, finally forming a stable ring of clouds. It is already the 3rd circle. He paused. It is not over yet. Something seemed to be brewing in the center of the ring. An illusory building, resembling a mirage, began to appear. It took the shape of a white tower with a total of 3 floors. Levi's expression changed from surprise to ecstasy. This is the true prototype of a wizard tower, he whispered. The Divine Ring Tower. Chapter 669. The Wizard Tower served as the symbol of a wizard. Broadly, the term referred to the residence of a wizard. But in a narrow sense, the Wizard Tower was essentially a self-contained wizard cultivation ecosystem. The wizard towers of some high-level wizards were often small worlds. High-level wizards functioned as the masters of these worlds. They set the rules and ruled everything within the structure. The first step for high-level wizards to build such a tower involved constructing a prototype in their minds. This prototype was the Divine Ring Tower in Levi's mind. The Divine Ring Tower shared similarities with the Purple Mansion found in cultural symbols of his previous life. The Purple Mansion served as the place where immortals lived and acted as the stage of cultivation. It was the hidden location of the immortal within the body. Similarly, if the Divine Ring Tower needed to retain a wizard, it required an immortal's Purple Mansion in its body. This led to the birth of the spiritual wizard tower in his mind. Giving birth to the prototype of the Divine Ring Tower at the 3rd circle wizard stage had once been an impossible dream for Levi. In the history of wizard civilization, most wizards only began to give birth to the Divine Ring Tower after reaching high levels. Only some children of the elements, or those with great luck, could start building the tower at the intermediate wizard stage. Considering his proficiency cheat, Levi appeared to be a person with great luck. At this moment, in Levi's mind, the jade-white exquisite small tower emitted a dazzling light. The tower remained completely illusory because Levi's current realm was too low. His spiritual force lacked the strength to materialize the complete Divine Ring Tower. After all, the Divine Ring Tower in his mind resembled a premature baby. Next to the small tower sat the magic ring, also called the spiritual force ring, the soul ring, or the Sauron ring. As the ancestor of wizards, the basic settings of many wizards were named after Sauron. If one looked closely, the magic ring resembled the Milky Way. It consisted of boundless spiritual energy astral particles, where every single one served as a star. The jade-white small tower sat at the center of it all. The Divine Ring Tower had endless uses. Its lowest function involved relying on the enhancement and adjustment of the Divine Tower to make Levi's mental power spellcasting smoother. It increased Levi's casting tempo and casting speed. Levi did not need to use a magic wand to cast spells, although he had never relied on one from the beginning. In addition, the existence of the Divine Ring Tower could better protect Levi's mental strength and soul. After the Divine Tower was consolidated, it would become Levi's place of entrustment. With the protection of the Divine Ring Tower, some attacks that directly affected the spiritual force or soul would be greatly weakened. The most important function of the Divine Ring Tower involved building Levi's Wizard Tower in the real world. After Levi built the Wizard Tower according to specific steps and methods, the Divine Ring Tower would become the control center. Levi knew everything about the Wizard Tower with a single thought. He served as the Tower Master and the god of all wizards under the Wizard Tower system. Sorcerers who owned a Wizard Tower were also known as Divine Tower Sorcerers. The strength of Divine Tower wizards usually surpassed that of ordinary wizards. Their spellcasting and attacks often received enhancement from their Wizard Tower. In other words, each of their attacks slightly amplified the power of the wizards, who relied on the Divine Tower to cultivate. Powerful Divine Tower wizards projected their own Divine Towers with powerful dimensional door spells to some small, ownerless plane near the wizard world. They built the Wizard Tower in another plane and used it as a foundation to lead the wizards under their command to spread out and conquer the plane, becoming the Plane Lord. Usually, only high-level wizards or even grand wizards could come into contact with such domains. Levi's current realm remained far from that level. Even if it were the smallest plane, he could not conquer it with his current strength as a third circle wizard. Levi muttered to himself, "A Plane Lord sounds great." His dream involved finding a quiet plane and building his own wizard tower. He would allocate land to farm, nurture transcendent creatures, build the Dusk Holy Temple, and silently cultivate his experience. If he had a few good friends who were also Plane Lords, they could visit each other, play chess, and drink tea. That would be perfect. Levi still liked to distance himself from worldly affairs because of his small farmer mentality. However, he had to end his unrealistic fantasy and return to reality. With the Divine Ring Tower, Levi's starting point stood higher than many third circle wizards. He opened the proficiency panel. Levi, Meditation Art, Level 8, 1 out of 100,000, Ether Dominance. Pharmacy, Level 11, 234 out of 300,000. Level 8 of the Ether Meditation Art meant he had officially stepped into the third circle ordinary realm. His pharmaceutical skills, which had been stuck for a long time, had also broken through to level 11 and reached the third circle pharmacist realm. What a rich harvest. Levi felt a sense of satisfaction. The mirror reflected his old and frail self. He whispered, "Breaking through to the third circle is later than I imagined. I am already 80 years old." A new realm brought a new atmosphere. He had broken through to the third circle. There was no need to remain this way anymore. The age spots and wrinkles on Levi's face all faded. Chapter 670. Pretending to be old served as a survival tactic in the mortal world. With no need to play the part of a mortal, he returned to his preferred form, a young man. The reflection in the mirror showed a well-defined and handsome young man. School kid vibes emanated from him. His body, well-proportioned and powerful, held no weakness. This was no exaggeration. He was quite handsome. The great black sky curtain danced around him like a black snake. Spiritual force reached 101 points. Each breakthrough brought not only an increase of 1 point to his spiritual force, but also an improvement in the quality of his existing spiritual force. Therefore, after the third circle, the upper limit of spell power represented by a single point of spiritual force became 40 points. Spell power reached 4,000 points. This allowed him to use the great black sky curtain more smoothly than before, and spell power was no longer so scarce. After the third circle, the main spells mastered required updates and iteration. Levi opened the interface. He prepared to study the direction of learning spells after the third circle according to his current system. Beyond the third circle Glacial Sword Finger, the proficiency panel displayed 9 second ring spells. These included the Earth Spirit Shield, King Kong Rock Body, and Crimson Copper Armor. The list continued with the 5 Fireballs Technique, Spider and Scorpion Song, Thunderbird, Sword Blade Storm, Glacier Descent, and finally, the Dream Infiltration Wind. There were 9 types in total. Of these 9 second ring spells, the Dream Infiltration Wind was the only one not yet cultivated to the limit. The Dream Infiltration Wind served as an auxiliary spell. Although merely a second circle spell, even a 4th or 5th circle wizard could continue to use it. The Earth Spirit Shield stood among the 3 defensive spells as Levi's second circle defensive field. Upon advancing to the third circle, it continued to serve a defensive function. When Levi obtained a better third circle spell, he could replace it. Although the King Kong Rock Body and the Crimson Copper Armor remained second circle spells, they had reached their limit. Coupled with the special effect of Levi's ether dominance, they remained viable at the third circle stage. For a third circle wizard, the difficulty of obtaining spells increased significantly. Most third circle wizards continued to rely primarily on second ring spells. Third circle spells were all trump cards. The Thunderbird and 5 Fireballs technique could both be cultivated into advanced third circle spells, yet Levi lacked the corresponding spell model Crystal Ball. Finding or creating a third circle defensive spell to serve as a defensive field took priority. There was no need for haste in other areas. After the third circle, the core of cultivation shifted to innate spells. Solidifying spells on the magic ring became the most important task. Innate spells held great power and allowed for instant casting. Ordinary spells could not compare. Two important criteria differentiated ordinary third circle wizards from third circle seniors. The first concerned the standard of spiritual force. 101 to 140 indicated an ordinary third circle spiritual force. 141 to 200 signified a third circle senior. The second criterion involved the number of innate spells mastered. Mastery of a single innate spell merely qualified one as an ordinary third circle wizard, even if spiritual force reached the senior standard. Failure to solidify a second third circle innate spell resulted in the label of fake senior. Lehman served as an example. The public rarely recognized this type of third circle senior. Mastering a second innate spell elevated one to the rank of a third circle senior wizard. The number of mastered third circle spells no longer served as a metric to distinguish between ordinary third circle wizards and their senior counterparts. This differed from the standards of previous low-level wizards. Mastering a single innate spell outweighed the value of learning 5 third circle spells. Naturally, the more third circle spells a wizard mastered, the better. Still, everyone possessed limited energy. Maximizing strength within a limited period occupied the focus of every wizard. Therefore, after the third circle, wizards spent most of their time devising ways to solidify third circle spells on the magic ring, forming innate spells, and then cultivating those innate spells. Some wizards cultivated only a single powerful innate spell throughout their entire lives, limiting them to that one move. Third circle senior wizards who mastered 3 innate spells earned the title of 3-talent wizards. Such wizards remained rare in the third circle. Theoretically, mastering 2 innate spells and raising spiritual force to the third circle maximum allowed one to advance to the fourth circle. While powerful, innate spells proved difficult to master, placing high demands on a spellcaster's talent. Many wizards found themselves forced to advance to the fourth circle after mastering only 2 innate spells due to time constraints and other factors. Only those with great perseverance and talent remained patient, mastering 3 innate spells before advancing to the fourth circle. Levi intended to master 3 innate spells before advancing. Within the entire intermediate wizard stage, 3 innate spell slots existed in each ring. In theory, a fifth circle wizard could master 9 innate spells, earning the title of 9-talent wizards. Chapter 671. Advancing without 1 in each circle meant Levi would fall short by 3 innate spells compared to a perfected 9-talent wizard. Such a deficit would surely prove disadvantageous in battle. 1 innate spell alone could match the output of multiple ordinary spells. Furthermore, the power of an innate spell grew continuously as a wizard advanced. Spells mastered during the third circle would remain relevant even at the 9th circle. Without his proficiency cheat, Levi might have rushed to advance to the fourth circle with only 2 innate spells like many other wizards. Since he possessed a cheat, he had to strive for perfection. There could be no regrets. These thoughts guided his attitude. The choice of innate spells required the same deliberation as the third circle defensive field. No rush existed. Since this choice could not be altered, Levi remained patient. He would choose carefully in the future. He stood up and stretched, his muscles loosening after years of seclusion. He remained isolated from the world and lacked knowledge of current events. His spiritual force swept across the entire island. Finding nothing abnormal, he sighed in relief. Blackfire Island truly was a sanctuary. Levi stepped outside the cave abode. Kulam had left a message during his absence. It seemed something major had transpired, prompting the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard to summon all second circle wizards. Scouts reported that Whalesong Island prepared to launch a final assault on the Tower of Ocean Currents. Lady Whitewater requested the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard to gather all experts above the second circle to meet at the Tower of Ocean Currents and devise a defense against their aggressive enemies. Levi scanned the message, his heart calm. Morpheus, that old fool. In his current state of mind, Levi no longer harbored extreme hatred for Whalesong Island. However, unresolved grudges and unsettled scores clouded his focus. Whalesong Island had nearly ended his life. From the age of 10 to 80, he had not achieved anything spectacular, nor had he taken revenge. No, he had to take revenge against Morpheus. He could not give up. He had regretted not killing the wild boar knight himself due to cowardice in the past. Such a tragedy would not repeat itself. Even with the support of the black-eyed crow, this old dog might not have long to live. Sensing Levi, the transcendent creatures scattered across Blackfire Island rushed toward him. Come, follow me to meet an old friend. Levi felt cold, his expression calm. The army of transcendent creatures vanished into Alice, his ring. He mounted his griffin and soared toward the Tower of Ocean Currents. Area 9, Ocean Current Island. A storm brewed. Dark clouds pressed down upon the city, threatening to crush it. On the sea, waves surged, and cold winds roared in anger. Busy figures erected various arrays, making final preparations for the coming battle. Tower of Ocean Currents. At the pinnacle of the tower, 2 third circle wizards stood proudly. One wore a tight white robe, her figure graceful and flirtatious, her golden curly hair charming. The other was an old man in a gray robe with deep, inscrutable eyes. Lady Whitewater and the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard. They stood as the only two third-circle wizards within the righteous wizard camp of Area 9. Extreme fire, the coming battle concerns the life and death of our Area 9, Lady Whitewater said. You will not disappoint me, will you? Her expression remained proud and aloof, reminiscent of an independent white narcissus. Do not worry, the extreme fire ancestral wizard replied. At a time like this, I will do my best. I look forward to the performance of White Narcissus, one of the 24 flowers. He grinned, calm and confident. He possessed his own trump cards to have survived until now as a rogue cultivator. Like the Violet Witch and the Rose Witch, Lady Whitewater belonged to the 24 flowers, a dual elemental affinity wizard. Her presence alone allowed Area 9 to withstand the attacks from Whalesong Island. The strength of the 24 flowers varied. The strongest among them possessed the strength of a fifth circle wizard, trailing only slightly behind the flower witches before they reached an advanced level. The weakest, Violet, was only a second circle senior. As the reputation of the flower witch rose, so did that of the 24 flowers. Each beauty possessed unique characteristics, individual temperaments, and belonged to various sections. They remained mysterious, elegant, and powerfully confident. Lady Whitewater alone commanded many admirers within the Tower of Ocean Currents. Not long after, Ocean Current Island entered a state of maximum martial law. 2 third-circle wizards and over a dozen second-circle wizards gathered. Nearly all the high-end combat power in Area 9 stood ready. 50 official wizards and their apprentice counterparts gathered here. An army of about 1,000 wizards guarded the location. A decisive battle loomed. After some time, the sea in front of Ocean Current Island began to roll. A massive sea beast in the shape of a toad floated among the waves. On the head of the toad stood a white-haired elder in a whale-patterned robe, clutching a staff. His gaze swept across the area, and he smiled. It seems that Whalesong Island indeed has spies within the Tower of Ocean Currents. The two of you are well prepared. Chapter 672. Hey, it takes one to know one. I know that there are spies from Whalesong Island in the Tower of Ocean Currents. Didn't you come prepared? Lady Whitewater sneered, her gaze fixed on the water. Humph, that is right. Morpheus sneered back, his voice thick with arrogance. I will give you another chance. Join Lord Black-Eyed Crow, and you will obtain a chance to be a human again. Our Wizard Liberation Alliance is not like the Wizard Council, where we fight and kill for no reason. As long as you sincerely join us, everyone can abandon the past and become the same person. If you do not know how to appreciate kindness, do not blame me for being impolite. Morpheus stood tall. He was a veteran third-circle wizard. Only a short while ago, with the help of the Black-Eyed Crow, he successfully mastered the second innate spell and advanced to a third-circle senior wizard. In addition to the 2 innate spells, he had mastered a total of 4 third-circle spells. He also gripped the third-circle wizard tool bestowed by the Black-Eyed Crow. His strength sat well above average among the third-circle wizards. Of course, this alone did not explain his confidence. Be it Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard or Lady Whitewater, neither were ordinary people. As the maid of the Flower Witch, Lady Whitewater did not lack third-circle spells and wizard tools. She arrived here because she brought help. She broke into a smile. Friends, come out. On the sea behind Morpheus, wind and cloud surged. 2 figures appeared atop the huge waves. One stood 2 stories tall. Pitch-black scales covered his body, and a long tail lashed behind him. An ink-black tongue flickered from his mouth. Evil Dragon Wizard, Delgo. Madame by Shrey gasped, her eyes widening in shock as the figure loomed over them. Whitewater, who is this? Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard asked telepathically. His heart hammered against his ribs. The Evil Dragon Wizard is a dragon descendant. He was once a member of the Dragon Descendant Priory of the Endless Sea Branch. Because of his lewd nature, he tried to violate the Blue Dragon Lady, who had not yet risen to power. After the Blue Dragon Lady advanced to the 5th circle and became a high-ranking member of the Dragon Descendant Priory, she threw him into Abyss City's prison. Unexpectedly, this terrifying, abnormal fellow escaped. He seems to have sided with the Black-Eyed Crow. Lady Whitewater lowered her voice, her expression solemn. Dilgo is a 3rd circle Dragon Descendant wizard. Although he only mastered 1 innate spell, his Dragon Descendant identity makes his true strength equal to a senior wizard who has mastered 2 innate spells. We face a fierce battle. Extreme Fire, get ready. Damn it, even the Dragon Descendant wizards are here. Did the Dragon Descendant Priory not declare permanent neutrality? Are they going to ignore Dilgo? Extreme Fire cursed silently. Beside the Dragon Descendant stood another powerhouse, a bald wizard in a black robe. He appeared young. Judging from his spiritual force fluctuation, he did not reach the 3rd circle level, yet he stood on par with Morpheus and the others. Lady Whitewater stared at the stranger. He was unfamiliar, but she understood he possessed an extraordinary background. This is Lady Whitewater, one of the 24 flowers. She is truly beautiful. The Evil Dragon Wizard looked down at Lady Whitewater, a wretched smile twisting his lips. Lady Whitewater. Whitewater, could it be what I am thinking? Watch your mouth, or you will die a horrible death. Lady Whitewater spat out, her voice cold. Dilgo, I will leave this woman to you. I will deal with that old man. Morpheus, you hold the line, the bald wizard directed with confidence. Sure, let me see how powerful your diamond dragon fruit is. The Evil Dragon Wizard looked at the bald wizard meaningfully. This bald wizard was a miracle wizard. As a miracle wizard, he possessed skills to survive until now. Everyone wanted to kill the miracle wizard and take his miracle fruit. They are stubborn. They plan to die on Ocean Current Island today. Then I will have to trouble you too. I will hold the fort. With you two taking action, I do not think I need to do anything, Morpheus said with a smile. As a cunning old fox, he waited for the two to test the other party's strength. Let them lead the charge. Morpheus sneered in his heart. On the other side, the extreme fire ancestral wizard and Lady Whitewater steeled themselves, facing a great enemy. Their respective protective force fields lit up, flickering with the light of runes. I have already survived the terrifying nightmare world. There will be no problem with such a small scene. Extreme fire ancestral wizard breathed deeply, steeling himself. The miracle wizard could no longer hold back his urge to attack. Ever since he obtained the diamond dragon fruit, he rarely lost. In front of his indestructible diamond body, all enemies were like chickens and dogs, unable to withstand a single blow. He shouted, and the runes on the surface of his body flickered. Waves of seven-colored power circulated in his body. A diamond-like luster appeared on his skin. His robe tore apart as his body expanded, revealing a firm chest. The evil dragon wizard activated his third circle defensive field. With a thought, he triggered his innate spell. Black floodwater swirled around him, as if countless undead and water ghosts stretched out pale claws in the floodwater, wailing into the wind. Chapter 673. The evil dragon wizard cultivated the innate spells of the ocean school of thought. He relied on his dragon descendant talent to convert the enemies he killed into servants. These servants hid in the black floodwater, waiting for an opportunity to strike a fatal blow to the enemy. Lady Whitewater waved her hand. An incomparably holy waterfall made of pure white water soared into the sky. It tore through the air and attacked the evil dragon wizard. The extreme fire ancestral wizard took out an ancient oil lamp. Inside the oil lamp, a flame burned like a small bean and emitted a weak light. As the extreme fire ancestral wizard chanted, the flames grew larger. They burned fiercely and turned into a skeleton giant made of flames. The giant waved its flame whip and fought the bald wizard's diamond body. The battle of the second circle began. Kalam fought with all his might. His enemy was a second circle wizard from Whalesong Island, and the opponent's strength could not be underestimated. In an instant, the entire tower of ocean currents fell into chaos. The sounds of battle and the booming of spells joined together. The light of an array soared into the sky, and the shockwave of the alchemy cannon swept in all directions. Some transcendent creatures cultivated by wizards also joined the battle. The largest third circle wizard war in Area 9 was currently happening. On the edge of the war, Morpheus watched coldly from the sidelines. He looked for a suitable opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Lady Whitewater, or the extreme fire ancestral wizard. In the distant deep sea, a mighty army advanced in the direction of ocean-flowing island. These troops were of all shapes and sizes. They came from the Sea Clan, and many powerful sea beasts moved among them. In front of the army, a burly giant sat in a luxurious carriage with a cold expression. His body was covered in dark blue scales. He opened his mouth full of sharp teeth and revealed a sinister smile. This time, Morpheus, let us see who can save you. This Sea Clan giant was the Sea Clan expert who had attacked Whalesong Island during the last sea beast tide and almost wiped out that organization. Baron Deep Sea, Baghdad. After such a long period of hibernation, he had returned to take revenge. This time, Morpheus was doomed. At the end of the Sea Clan team, a huge dragon king whale mixed in and swam forward with the army. Levi, who hid his aura in the dragon king whale's mouth, looked puzzled. Why did the Sea Clan appear again? Levi sensed an expert at the center of the Sea Clan army. The individual emitted a sense of danger and made the spiders constantly warn him. According to his knowledge of the Sea Clan, it was the Sea Clan Baron. It was very likely that he was the lord of all the Sea Clan in Area 9. Interesting. It is getting confusing, Levi muttered to himself. The more chaotic it was, the better. This way, Levi would be able to take advantage of the situation and get rid of Morpheus. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Levi had a plan in mind. This time, not only did he want to kill Morpheus, but he also wanted to use his scarlet contract to contract that Sea Clan Baron. Once he subdued this Sea Clan Baron, Levi would be able to subdue an entire sea beast army and Sea Clan. In this way, Levi would have a hidden trump card in the Endless Sea. No one knew the situation of the Endless Sea better than these Sea Clan. These guys would become Levi's eyes and ears. It was extremely convenient to collect resources and information. As for Lint, Levi did not intend to keep him. He knew very little about the 100 Poison Wizard, and Lint was useless to Levi. For safety reasons, he could just kill him directly. With that thought in mind, Levi quietly followed him. On the battlefield, Morpheus found the right moment and prepared to attack. With a thought, streams of seawater surrounded the sky and converged, forming a giant whale that was about 100 feet long. The giant whale emitted a terrifying energy and charged towards the extreme fire ancestral wizard, who was fighting the bald wizard. The extreme fire ancestral wizard cursed. Morpheus, this old thing, did not have any wizard ethics. It was naturally more and more difficult for him to deal with two third circle powerhouses alone. Although that miracle wizard was not a third circle wizard, his diamond body could actually resist a third circle spell for a moment. With this unparalleled defense and powerful strength, the extreme fire ancestral wizard could not take down the other party for a while. He cast an anxious look at Lady Whitewater. She was a member of a high-level wizard organization, so she must have some trump cards. The key to this battle still lay with Lady Whitewater. In the battle between Lady Whitewater and the evil dragon wizard, she barely had the upper hand. Her powerful third circle wizard tool surrounded her and protected her. Streaks of white light formed by innate spells tore through the wind and waves, shattering the defensive field of the evil dragon wizard. His dragon scales cracked and blood flowed. However, this fellow laughed more and more arrogantly. He groaned and looked like he was enjoying himself. "Continue whipping me, do not stop, Lady Whitewater." This made Lady Whitewater's face turn red and cold. She wished she could immediately kill this lecherous evil dragon descendant. Just as Morpheus was casting an innate spell in the distance, the sea suddenly exploded. A dark blue figure hidden in the seawater shot towards Morpheus like a cannonball. He punched in the air, and the wind from his fist tore a passage on the surface of the sea, directly bombarding Morpheus's defensive field. With a crack, the force field shattered. Morpheus was scared out of his wits. He suddenly remembered the fear of being dominated by the Sea Clan Baron. Chapter 674. Hell, another one. Morpheus cursed silently. "Are you finished? There are so many human wizards. Will you not let me go?" The hideous and terrifying figure loomed over him. "Morpheus, how have you been?" Baron Deep Sea chuckled. The fist crashed into the air again. Morpheus' force field flared with light. At the same moment, the second defensive field formed by the innate spell flickered into existence. 2 layers of defense held against the heavy impact. "Not bad, Morpheus. Your strength has improved again," Baron Deepsea said. A cold smile stretched across his face. "Why are you chasing after me?" Morpheus asked. "That is incorrect. Everyone here will die today. It is just that you will die first," Baron Deepsea replied. His tone dripped with insolence. Morpheus activated his innate spell. Light erupted with terrifying might. Baron Deepsea possessed immense strength and invulnerability, yet he could not take that blow head-on. The Sea Clan army attacked at the right time. The pressure mounted against him. "Gentlemen, let us end this quickly. Come here and help me kill this Sea Clan," Morpheus shouted. The battlefield descended into chaos. Lady Whitewater and the extreme fire ancestral wizard paused. The sudden appearance of the Sea Clan offered a moment of relief, yet they worried. After the Sea Clan finished with Morpheus, they would inevitably turn their attention to them. The flames of war shifted from a battle between 2 sides to a chaotic fight between 3 sides. Both the dark and righteous wizards suffered heavy losses. Baron Deep Sea arrived to exploit the internal strife among the wizards and defeat all the human wizards in Area 9 in one fell swoop. Such opportunities were rare. "Everyone, I suggest that we join forces to kill this Sea Clan first. At this time, we should unite against the outside world." Seeing the suppression from Baron Deep Sea, Morpheus searched for an opening. He wanted to cooperate. Lady Whitewater hesitated. She considered the request. "No, that old ghost Morpheus does not have good intentions. There is a high chance that he invited this Sea Clan." "Whitewater, do not fall for it," the extreme fire ancestral wizard said. Lady Whitewater gasped. That coincidence seemed impossible. The Sea Clan must be a trick designed by Morpheus. She refused to agree. Morpheus struggled with the bitterness in his heart. Although he had just advanced to a 3rd circle senior, he had mastered 2 innate spells. However, Baron Deepsea had remained in the Sea Clan Baron realm for hundreds of years and possessed the bloodline of the Sea Clan Emperor. His brute force exceeded most body-refining wizards. Coupled with the siege of so many Sea Clans, Morpheus neared collapse. "Damn it, I must retreat first. As long as I am alive, there is hope." Morpheus grabbed his spherical 3rd circle wizard tool. The tool flashed with light. A bang echoed through the air. He activated the wizard tool at high speed, causing it to self-destruct. Terrifying shockwaves swept out. All nearby Sea Clans vanished. Even the sea beasts belonging to Morpheus were blasted into minced meat. Baron Deep Sea stood at the center of the explosion. His scales blew off. His flesh hung in tatters. He transformed into a blood giant. He endured the pain and watched Morpheus flee into the distance. His eyes turned cold. "I will take revenge for today in the future." Morpheus abandoned his 2 teammates. Baron Deep Sea's sudden appearance disrupted his plan. Morpheus fled, aiming to disappear without a trace. Raging flames erupted on the surface of the sea ahead of him. They rose high. The seawater turned into white fog that rushed into the sky. A majestic monster with 3 heads and 6 arms, clad in golden armor, and wrapped in hellfire, stood between the heavens and earth. The insufferably arrogant 9 swords slashed down. Morpheus ran for his life, unaware of his surroundings. He shattered into ashes. Levi avenged himself. He stared at the silver coin that appeared in his hand. "Unyielding silver seat, Owens," he chanted. A grey swordsman in rusty armor materialized behind him and stood side by side with him. "You have finally summoned me. Tell me, who is my target?" Owens scanned the battlefield. His expression brimmed with excitement. He drew his sword. Levi had occupied his time breaking through in seclusion and long forgotten about Owens. The swordsman had grown bored in Windmill Village. Now he stepped out for a breather. "Attack him." Levi pointed at the mangled Baron Deep Sea. He spoke with calm. Morpheus' trump card had almost been exhausted by the Baron. Killing Morpheus required little effort. So many people occupied the scene. Levi truly feared the ugly Sea Clan expert. Chapter 675. On the surface of the sea, the waves roared angrily. Baron Deep Sea spat out a mouthful of burnt blood. He reached into his chest and pulled out a trident that measured about 20 feet in length. The sight was bizarre. He opened a wide mouth full of sharp teeth and fixed his gaze on Levi with a terrifying smile. "You have guts." He vanished instantly. Levi's spider sensing flashed wildly, and he activated his intuition state. The next moment, a trident pierced the void before his chest, striking forward with impossible speed. There was no time to dodge. Bang! Before the trident could strike Levi, a boundless blood fog exploded and filled the sea. Baron Deepsea's face froze as he stared at the trident floating in the air. The blood fog dissipated, gathering above his head to form a giant that stood 20 feet tall, burning with flames. The giant waved a flaming greatsword. Grey destruction cross slash. Boom! A terrifying force struck Baron Deepsea, who blocked it with his trident. The impact smashed him into the bottom of the sea. With a whoosh, Baron Deepsea emerged, only for a flash of silver light to tear the world apart like lightning. Silver sword, 8 spinning slash. Unyielding silver seat Owen's sword slashed at the chest of Baron Deepsea. Crack. Flesh and blood flew everywhere. However, terrifying muscles clamped tightly onto the sword of Owens. Baron Deepsea sneered with an arrogant expression, striking Owens in the chest. Like a cannonball, Owens flew hundreds of meters. If Levi had not used the great black sky curtain to drag him back, the man would have vanished into the distance. Owens's figure began to fade. He existed as a construct of Levi's, rebuilt with the vitality of silver life coins. The single strike from Baron Deepsea stunned Owens. Foreigner, your strength is enough to be called an expert in Windmill Village. Owens stood his ground. Death in a foreign world held no consequence for him. He grew extremely excited, brandishing his greatsword once more. As the weapon spun, his entire body became a spinning top, a windmill. A tornado wrapped in seawater swept across the surface of the sea. Silver sword, windmill slash. Every strike of Owens's had a name. It resembled the Black Tiger Fort, as both styles focused on powerful moves rather than basic attacks. Levi had experienced this when he fought Owens before. The man acted like a young brute, shouting moves and fighting all day long. At the same time, the Sea Clan experts serving under Baron Deepsea, Blade King Vandro, and Ghost Claw Butcher Jin, led their subordinates in an attack on Levi. Raja, Bo Gang, take them down. Levi had no interest in fighting such small fry. As soon as the two behemoths appeared, the world changed color. Many Sea Clan experts began to retreat, scattering like birds and beasts. Few expected this person to command 3 circle entities, 2 of them at that. With the 2 generals under his command, Levi engaged in a true battle with the Sea Clan Baron. The Sea Clan Baron panted, unable to control his bloodthirsty and excited expression. In his eyes existed only Levi, the enemy who made his blood boil once more. Owens, instantly killed by Baron Deepsea, returned to the village. Before he vanished, Owens shouted, "Foreigner, do not run. I will come back again. Or come to the entrance of Windmill Village and fight me quickly." The man claimed to be the strongest person in Windmill Village, but he was purely bragging. Levi had wasted 1 silver coin. Owens proved useful. Before his death, he worsened the injuries of the Sea Clan Baron and completely infuriated the powerhouse. Levi and Baghdad stared at one another for a heartbeat before they disappeared. Their physical bodies moved with blur-inducing speed. The explosive velocity they achieved within a short period surpassed the escape techniques of many wizards. Boom! On the surface of the sea, 2 figures appeared. Levi had already stowed Frostmourne. Golden scales covered his entire body, and layers of a defensive field protected him. Golden revolving divine palm. The enemy stood too strong. Wizard abilities remained sheathed. Levi had just advanced to the 3rd circle wizard realm, and possessed no innate spells. His strength, restricted to his current wizard path, remained average. He could manage ordinary 3rd circle wizards. Facing a Sea Clan Baron capable of battering Morpheus, the path of a knight remained the only option. He had not used his full strength in a long time, and craved an opportunity to test it. Comparing physical strength against the Sea Clan would reveal who stood superior. Elbow, leg, palm. The 2 colossuses fought on the surface of the sea. Wherever they passed, huge waves parted and water splashed everywhere. Sea Clan members who unintentionally drifted into the battle died tragically on the spot. The rumbling sound of flesh colliding echoed like thunder. Ha ha ha. Interesting. It has been a long time since I met a human wizard who can fight me in close combat. The wild laughter of Baron Deepsea echoed across the sea. Levi remained silent. He and Baron Deepsea stood naked, facing each other with grave expressions. Intense close combat shredded ordinary clothes and even special robes. The importance of possessing a pair of indestructible underpants dawned on him. Chapter 676. Levi transformed the blood fog into a suit of blood-colored armor that enveloped his body. He avoided running around naked in the light of day. Lady Whitewater unleashed her true trump card. A massive, man-eating flower bloomed in the sea. The bloom spanned 100 feet, and it snapped shut, sealing the evil dragon wizard inside. The evil dragon wizard stared, his expression twisted with terror. The 3rd innate spell. You actually mastered the 3rd innate spell. He had assumed Lady Whitewater mastered only 2 innate spells. He never expected her to be a rare 3-talent wizard. Such strength ranked at the top of the 3rd circle. Lady Whitewater turned pale. The effort of using the 3rd innate spell drained her energy significantly. This was the Gluttony Flower, a 3rd innate spell she had mastered only recently. The flower sealed enemies and refined them completely. Countless pale liquids, thick with corrosive potency, gushed out like a sudden tide. The liquid drowned the evil dragon wizard. I originally wanted to give this to Morpheus, but since you took the initiative to seek death, I will not be stingy. Lady Whitewater wore a cold, arrogant expression. Killing intent filled her eyes. Dilgo had humiliated her, but she remained determined. Any other witch might have crumbled under such pressure. Dilgo struggled inside the terrifying corrosive liquid. He tried to break through the barrier of the gluttony flower, but he failed. Lady Whitewater injected spell power into the flower. She strengthened the seal and increased the pressure of the gushing liquid. Corrosion claimed him quickly. Only scales and bones remained. She watched the remains coldly. You are asking for trouble. She glanced toward the battlefield of the extreme fire ancestral wizard. The bald wizard had sensed danger and fled. He had vanished without a trace. The extreme fire ancestral wizard stood there, his face covered in sweat. His spiritual force reached its limit. As expected of Lady Whitewater, even powerful dragon descendant wizards are no match for you. The extreme fire ancestral wizard offered a hurried smile. Lady Whitewater signaled for the other second circle wizards to clean up the battlefield. Morpheus was dead. One of his helpers had perished, and the other had fled. Extreme fire, follow me. We need to see what is happening. That unknown wizard seems to be fighting the Sea Clan. Lady Whitewater gestured to the distance. She needed backup. If she brought the extreme fire ancestral wizard, they could cover each other. Going alone carried too much risk when she could not determine if the stranger was a friend or a foe. The extreme fire ancestral wizard nodded, uncorked a potion, and drained it to recover his spiritual force and physical strength. He rode a beam of light into the air. They arrived at the intense battlefield moments later. Two giant, muscular monsters battled. The heavens and the earth served as their arena, the sea as their backdrop. Their fists collided with thunderous force. This is a body-refining wizard. The extreme fire ancestral wizard spoke under his breath. It is possible, but it feels like another power. Lady Whitewater muttered to herself. She recalled her master, the Flower Witch. In her early years, her master had utilized the power of a legendary knight. That feeling resembled the person in front of her. Levi's current knight realm surpassed that of a legendary knight by a wide margin. Lady Whitewater, who knew the Flower Knight well, struggled to associate Levi's power with that of a knight. She assumed the stranger practiced some form of body-refining wizardry. Unlike ordinary wizards, body-refining wizards utilized many unorthodox methods. The most mainstream and fastest methods involved bloodline modification. However, the strength of such wizards remained average. Many strange body-refining paths existed. These paths remained obscure. Few people learned them. Body refining was not the proper path for a wizard. No body-refining wizards existed among the current legendary wizards and great wizards. This served as proof. Paths and factions that could not ascend to the rank of grand wizards and legendary wizards counted as unorthodox. The venom body refinement technique of the 100 Poison Wizard was one of them. Even Lady Whitewater, who possessed great experience and knowledge, could not explain Levi's current state. She assumed it was an unknown body refining path. Whitewater, should we attack? The extreme fire ancestral wizard asked. There is no need for that for the time being. This body refining wizard is very powerful. He likely does not need our help. I fear that if we help him, he might not appreciate it. Moreover, we do not know if the other party is a dark wizard. It is not appropriate to help the Sea Clan or him. Let us wait and see, Lady Whitewater said. The extreme fire ancestral wizard nodded in agreement. They departed the area and headed for Ocean Current Island to prevent other enemies from ambushing them. Levi and Baron Deep Sea continued their battle. The clash reached its climax. His 9 swords form had dissipated. The Sea Clan expert possessed a body more terrifying than a third circle defensive spell, yet he bled profusely. Baron Deep Sea had lost his mind. He felt unprecedented pressure under Levi's onslaught. Levi threw a punch. It contained the power of the golden revolving slash. His fist penetrated the body of Baron Deep Sea and emerged from his back. The Baron Deep Sea hugged Levi. He tore his golden scales apart with terrifying claws. He ripped through Levi's flesh and blood. Then, he kicked Levi away. Chapter 677. Under the restorative effect of the Death Ember power, Levi's body began to knit itself back together. We do not seem to have any grudges, the Baron wheezed, his breath coming in ragged gasps. The Sea Clan expert clearly did not want to fight anymore. This was the first time he had encountered a wizard below the 4th circle, who could defeat him in a head-on collision. Submit to me or die, Levi commanded. He did not waste words. Levi had relied on his powerful endurance and physique to gain the upper hand, and he would not stop now. You, the Baron growled. That is right, Levi said. Arrogant, the Baron snapped. Baron Deep Sea opened his mouth and took a deep breath. With him as the center, endless seawater rolled over, surging into his abyss-like mouth. His body began to swell, expanding rapidly like a balloon. A 10-story tall seawater giant soon stood upon the sea, roaring at the sky. The creature resembled a shark, its mouth filled with saw-like teeth, and fins protruding from its back. This was his trump card. Forcing me to expend my royal bloodline, your death is already a foregone conclusion, the Baron bellowed. The Sea Clan possessed 4 emperors. One of them was the emperor of the Shark Clan, the Giant Tooth Emperor. Baron Deep Sea belonged to the Shark Clan, and he carried a faint trace of royal bloodline. His father had been the illegitimate son of the current Giant Tooth Emperor. The royal bloodline within him remained very weak. Every time he activated it, the power would decrease, and his strength would wane. Therefore, he rarely used it. To be forced into using it, because of a human third circle wizard, was an undeniable humiliation. The sea giant carried the force of 10,000 caddies of seawater. The wind from his fist swept over, bringing with it a massive wave. Levi took a deep breath. Giant whale, he roared. His sea-swallowing whale body began to expand again. He wanted to test the limits of the giant whale form. A massive amount of energy flowed into the giant whale, and Levi expanded crazily, until he reached 50 feet in height before he stopped. The giant whale form boosted his strength by more than twice, nearing 3 times his normal capacity. At the same time, Red Lotus blood burned fiercely. The flames on Levi's body became even more threatening than before. The strength rune flashed. His power surged to an unprecedented peak. He shot forward, colliding with the sea giant. The water and fire song played across the sea. White smoke rose into the air. After an indeterminate period of time, Levi stopped, gasping for breath. He poured a large amount of food into his mouth to replenish his reserves. Below him, the sea giant had been torn apart, and a broken body floated on the surface. Dead, Levi murmured. No, he is not dead. There is still a trace of life left. He summoned Bogang and Raja. He killed Lint instantly after he cancelled his Scarlet contract. Then, he used the Scarlet contract on the Sea Clan expert again. Not long after, the mark of the Scarlet Dragon appeared between the expert's eyebrows and gradually disappeared. As expected, he is not dead. The Scarlet contract cannot contract dead things, Levi said, breathing a sigh of relief. Levi temporarily sent the severely injured and unconscious Sea Clan expert into the Ring of Alice. He instructed Raja and Bogang to watch him closely. If the creature displayed any ulterior motives, they were to kill him immediately. Levi surveyed the situation. The remaining Sea Clan and sea beasts had long fled this sea area and were nowhere to be found. It does not matter, Levi noted. After that Sea Clan expert recovers his strength, these Sea Clans can still gather again. Levi cleaned up the battlefield and departed. Now that Morpheus was dead and his revenge had been satisfied, his mind felt clear. I believe the death of Morpheus will alarm the black-eyed crow behind him. I have to be careful, Levi thought. He headed toward Blackfire Island. The battle with the experts of the Sea Clan had exhausted too much of his stamina. He had even burned his Red Lotus blood, leaving him feeling weak. There is always someone better than you. There is no shortage of experts in this world, Levi reflected. This battle had taught him a lesson. Even with the cultivation base of a third circle wizard and the realm of a first order blood knight, he was not invincible against a fourth circle opponent. Previously, he had easily killed third circles because of the surprise effect of the Hermit rune. A head-on battle proved far more tiring. Levi did not know that Baron Deep Sea stood as a peak-level Sea Clan Baron. He was not far from becoming a fourth circle duke. Therefore, Morpheus, who had just mastered 2 innate spells, had been no match for the Baron. After Levi left the battlefield, Lady Whitewater and the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard arrived at the scene with lingering fear. That person just now actually defeated that Sea Clan, Lady Whitewater said. His strength should be close to the fourth circle. The younger generation will surpass us, the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard sighed. Both Lady Whitewater and the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard knew that neither of them might be a match for that Sea Clan expert. However, from the looks of it, that person should not be a dark wizard, Lady Whitewater continued. It is very likely that he is also a hidden nomadic wizard. If there is a chance, we can invite him to our alliance. That way, we will be more confident in dealing with the crazy revenge of the black-eyed crow in the future. The Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard shook his head. According to my observation, this person should not join our alliance. After sensing our existence, he did not take the initiative to come and greet us. Instead, he quickly left the battlefield. Clearly, he is very wary of us. Chapter 678. Lady Whitewater looked into the distance with a long gaze. She turned to the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard and murmured, "That makes sense, but if there is a chance, I still want to try." A month passed in the blink of an eye. On Blackfire Island, Levi recovered. His physical condition reached its peak once more. He tallied the spoils of war from the battle. He counted the loot from Morpheus, the dark wizards killed by Bogang and Raja, and the items taken from the Sea Clan. Levi seized a total of 150,000 ether stones. That amounted to only 1/3 of the wealth he had taken from Rex. The weakness of the Outer Sea region's third circle organization became evident. The long-term war had consumed many ether stones. Other wizard tools, spellbooks, and casting materials added to his wealth. It was definitely profitable. Dark wizards remained Levi's biggest source of income. Legal earnings never matched the speed of killing and arson. Levi held nearly 400,000 ether stones. He planned to return to Riptide City soon. He wanted to survey the situation and consider buying spell models to study. Levi sat cross-legged in his cave abode. A tall Sea Clan member with hideous wounds stood before him. Levi's healing potion and the innate resilience of the Sea Clan had knit the wounds together. The creature's strength had returned. Levi interrogated the creature and learned his name was Baghdad. This was indeed the fierce warrior who nearly destroyed Whalesong Island during the sea beast tide. Levi gestured for the Sea Clan member to approach. Baghdad, return to the sea. Continue to lead the Sea Clan. Wait for my orders. Baghdad bowed. Yes, master. If there is nothing else, I will leave now. Levi nodded. All right, you may leave. Baghdad exited the cave, dove into the sea, and vanished. Levi tasked Baghdad with gathering the Sea Clan in Area 9. He also arranged for more sea beasts and scouts to keep an eye on Whalesong Island and Ocean Current Island. He did not lack third circle helpers. He lacked an organization to gather information and clues. The Sea Clan provided an ideal solution. He contemplated the future. Now I see what the black-eyed crow will do. Morpheus is dead, and he has lost a general. I wonder if he will grow desperate. He considered the others. The two from Ocean Current Island, Lady Whitewater, and the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard, are no ordinary people. Perhaps a fourth circle wizard stands behind them. Otherwise, how could they resist the black-eyed crow? Levi had not greeted the two third circle wizards from the Tower of Ocean Currents. However, his perception from afar revealed that Lady Whitewater possessed vast spiritual force. Both stood at the third circle, but her spiritual force far exceeded his own. She neared the 200 maximum. Perhaps Lady Whitewater had already mastered a fourth circle spell. Lady Whitewater appeared to be one of the maids of the Flower Knights. He had already seen 3 of the 24 flowers. The maids of the Flower Knights possessed immense beauty. Violet's tranquility, Rose's passionate moves, White Narcissus's coldness. He clicked his tongue in appreciation. If he married the Flower Knight and obtained the 24 flowers, he would make a killing. He wondered which wizard would benefit from a proud daughter of heaven like the Flower Knight. Levi's imagination ran wild. It could not be him. He stood as only a third circle wizard. The difference in strength and status between him and the Flower Knight was too great. He had just escaped the low-level wizards of the Endless Sea, and she already stood at the top. They existed on different levels. Levi felt no interest in such matters. He harbored no improper thoughts about the Flower Knight. He understood his position well. It is better to cultivate my experience honestly. The proficiency panel is my only family. It is my only reliance in this chaotic world. Levi calmed himself and continued to cultivate. Once his third circle wizard realm stabilized, he planned to leave Area 9. No path for improvement remained here. He needed a wider stage. He had not yet determined his next destination. That would depend on the future of the war. Holy Brilliance Calendar, Year 1070, Month of Northern Wind. Area 10. A sea surrounded by black fog hid an island that emitted a deathly aura. A lone wizard tower stood upon the island. A wizard in a black robe stepped out of the tower with a gloomy gaze. I just went into seclusion and Morpheus, that bastard, died. I even bestowed him with a wizard tool and sent reinforcements. He was incompetent and ruined everything. His death warrants no pity. This wizard was the fourth circle wizard, the black-eyed crow Modi. A fourth circle wizard commanded significant status in the Black Sun Steeple. Black Sun Adam sent Modi to the Outer Sea region. His task involved organizing the Dark Wizards in Area 8, Area 9, and Area 10 to wage war against the Righteous Wizards. Dark Wizards had already conquered Area 10. In Area 8, only small wizard organizations stubbornly resisted and fought guerrilla warfare. Only Area 9 remained. The Black-Eyed Crow originally thought that Area 9 proved the easiest to conquer. After all, he had killed Rick, the supervisor of Area 9. However, he did not expect Morpheus to waste such an advantageous position to this extent. Chapter 679. A figure flew over and knelt before the Black-Eyed Crow. It was the bald wizard who had escaped. The Black-Eyed Crow asked coldly if the Dark Wizards in Area 8 were ready. The bald wizard nodded. They were ready, he confirmed. The Black-Eyed Crow declared he would take action personally. He wanted to see how difficult Area 9 truly was. With those words, he transformed into a black crow and rushed into the sky, vanishing into the clouds. The bald wizard heaved a sigh of relief as the expert departed. He grumbled to the empty air. If it were not for the Sea Clan and that human wizard who had suddenly appeared, the operation would have succeeded. Morpheus was to blame. He was useless. He abandoned them and escaped alone. He deserved to die. However, with the Black-Eyed Crow personally taking action, Area 9 would finally stabilize. Holy Brilliance Calendar, Year 1071, Month of Germinal. It marked the 35th year of the Great Expedition. On Blackfire Island, Levi woke from his seclusion. A member of the Sea Clan had just arrived to report. A fourth circle expert had killed his way to Ocean Current Island. Ocean Current City was breached. The wizard tower lay in ruins. Lady Whitewater and the Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard had fled with heavy injuries. They were nowhere to be found. Other wizards suffered heavy casualties and ran for their lives. The entire Area 9 had fallen. This fourth circle expert was the Black-Eyed Crow, Modi, recently emerged from seclusion. Nothing remained of Area 9. He had assumed a fourth circle righteous wizard protected the area. It seemed he had been overthinking. A sense of urgency gripped Levi. The Dark Wizards held complete control over Area 9. Blackfire Island would no longer be safe. The Dark Wizards could track the island using clues left on the sea map. A fierce battle would be unavoidable if they discovered him here. Levi did not fear the others in Area 9. He only worried about the Black-Eyed Crow, Modi. He stood no chance against a fourth circle wizard. Levi could not even break through such a defensive field. The weakest fourth circle wizard, who had just stepped into this realm, had already mastered 2 innate spells. It was time to leave Area 9. Levi sighed inwardly. A few days later, Kulam ran back to Blackfire Island. He slumped before Levi. Area 9 was gone. Levi asked what he intended to do. Kulam pleaded. He wanted to follow Levi. The Extreme Fire Ancestral Wizard remained missing, and the Nomadic Wizard Alliance in Area 9 had completely collapsed. The other second circle wizards were dead or running. He was willing to do Levi's bidding, if only Levi would take him in. Sincerity marked his expression. Levi tossed a contract slate forward. He told Kulam to sign it. He required only loyal subordinates. Kulam was nimble. Taking him in was not a bad idea. His subordinates from the Fur clan often lacked the convenience of human wizards. Kulam studied the contract. The terms were harsh. He hesitated for a moment, then signed his name. Judging by the time he had spent with Senior Levi, the man was worth following. To Levi, the contract slate offered less security than his Scarlet contract. However, Kulam's strength remained average. Levi did not fear he would cause trouble. Levi quickly packed his belongings on Blackfire Island. He transplanted his medicinal herbs into Alice's ring, where he had cultivated dozens of acres of fields. Then, he removed all the arrays. He would likely never return. He refused to waste these arrays for others to find. The puppets, the living dead, and Levi's transcendent creatures all moved into the ring. Kulam stared at the display in shock. The size of Levi's storage space defied belief. He could even store those behemoths. It was unfathomable. Levi erased every trace of his life on Blackfire Island. He destroyed the cave abode, integrating it into the magma and underground fire. Levi told him to get ready. Kulam prepared to enter Alice's ring. A voice called out, begging Levi to wait. A first circle wizard rushed over, panting. The light revealed the figure of ruin hunter Joanne. Kulam asked why he was not with the extreme fire ancestral wizard. Joanne explained that the extreme fire ancestral wizard wanted to temporarily leave Area 9 to avoid danger. He had told Joanne to find a place to hide until his return. As a first circle wizard, Joanne knew Blackfire Island remained the only safe place on the sea. He begged Levi to bring him along, offering his services as a ruin hunter to search for relics. He wore a bitter smile. Levi felt amused. He produced the contract slate once more. He told Joanne to sign it if he wanted to come along. Joanne possessed talent. Bringing him along caused no harm. With Alice's ring, adding more servants presented no problem. For these people, the choice meant betting their lives on Levi. If Levi faced danger, those inside Alice's ring would share his fate. Levi took one last look at the sea in Area 9. Chapter 680. Let's hope the war is over by the time we return, Levi muttered to himself, his gaze lingering on the distant horizon. Area 9 was where Levi had first entered the wizard world. He had met Marlene and the others there, advanced to a legendary wizard, and become an official wizard. He had spent a significant portion of his life in that place. Now that he was leaving, a lingering sense of reluctance and emotion weighed on his chest. Let's go, he whispered to the empty air. He did not linger further. He settled on the back of the griffin and departed from Blackfire Island. The island sat quietly in the sea, slowly shrinking into the distance. Time flew by, and a year passed. On this day, a wizard in a black robe materialized in the sky above Blackfire Island. The empty island lay below. The fire elemental power here is not bad. It can be used as the base of the Black Crow Tower in the future, the man stated. At this point, Area 9 had completely fallen and become a subsidiary area of the Black Sun Steeple. Holy Brilliance calendar year 1073, month of beginning. Yellow Earth continent. Rogue Rift. This place remained plagued by wind and disasters all year round, and very few people ventured there. Levi finished cultivating the Maya breathing technique in a hidden cave within one of the canyons. Another level 13 breathing technique, he mused. Next, I can begin the great fusion between Maya and the Silver Mountain Dragon. I wonder what this dragon and eagle will become. 2 years had passed since Levi left Blackfire Island and fled to the ends of the earth. He did not rush to Riptide City. Instead, he made his way to the Yellow Earth continent. On the way, an excellent place to live in seclusion and cultivate came to mind. It was the Rogue Rift, plagued by wind disasters. Considering that his Maya breathing technique was almost at the maximum of level 13, he came here without hesitation and began to cultivate the Maya breathing technique in peace. 2 years passed in a hurry. In the past 2 years, his cultivation of the meditation art remained average. Without the third circle meditation supplementary potion, combined with the difficulty of the third circle, cultivation became increasingly arduous. Even Levi's current elemental affinity talent had only increased by 2 points of spiritual force in 2 years. On average, it increased by 1 point per year. This meant that reaching the limit of 200 points might take 100 years in the absence of other bonuses. Stepping into the fourth circle before the age of 200 was not bad at all. Of course, this speed was not slow. To other wizards, it could even be described as very fast. It was just that Levi had grown accustomed to the rocket-like speed before the third circle. Now that it had slowed down, he felt slightly unused to it. In addition, in the past 2 years, the Divine Ring Tower in Levi's mind had been constantly solidifying. However, the changes were too small. Still, it was better than nothing. The current Divine Ring Tower remained an incomplete product. Other than increasing Levi's casting speed, the other effects remained hidden. Haste makes waste. Levi felt delighted that the Divine Ring Tower had emerged in advance. He believed that as his spiritual force grew, the effects of the Divine Tower would display bit by bit. At the very least, according to Levi's knowledge, solidification of innate spells and ordinary spells on the Divine Tower would be much more powerful than magic rings. Therefore, Levi continued to look forward to the subsequent performance of the Divine Tower. He threw away all distracting thoughts. Levi opened the proficiency panel. Levi, Maya breathing technique, level 13, 1/400,000, can be fused. Special effect, unending body, level 1, wind abandonment. Silver Mountain Dragon breathing technique, level 13, 34,567/400,000, can be fused. Special effect, Mountain Dragon Spine, level 1, lightning remnants. A dragon and an eagle, wind and lightning. Fuse. Don't disappoint me, panel. With a thought, the seed of Maya and the seed of the Silver Mountain Dragon in Levi's heart jumped up one after another. Carrying their respective vast power, they collided with a bang. Wind and lightning surged, and the small world in Levi's body changed color. Countless lightning bolts and violent winds wreaked havoc in his body, causing Levi to convulse uncontrollably. "It feels so good," he gasped. A month later, in the cave of the Great Rift. As expected of the endurance breathing technique, it took a month to complete the fusion, the pale Levi muttered. He had personally witnessed Maya and the Silver Mountain Dragon, these two long-lasting beasts, fight for a full month without sleep or rest. The other bloodline seeds had also watched the show for a full month. In the end, the two giant beasts disappeared without a trace and merged into one at Levi's current heart. A pure white dragon with eagle wings, eagle claws, dragon head, dragon scales, and dragon tail floated in the void. The dragon body of this dragon was pure white and flawless. Its wings were wrapped in strong winds and lightning, as if it were the ultimate evolution of the Wind Thunder Winged Dragon. It had also bought the plus version of the wing fashion in the game shop. As expected, it is still the Dragon Clan. Levi breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 681. Levi sat in the quiet cavern. He opened the proficiency panel in his mind. The Sky Dragon breathing technique reached level 13. It sat at 34,567 out of 400,000. The special effects included the Sky Dragon Pillar at level 1, Wind Thunder Remnants, and 3,000 Fallen Feathers. "Sky Dragon," Levi whispered, his heart skipping a beat as he spoke the name. He leaned back and considered the implications. It seemed quite promising. He focused on the skill description. The Sky Dragon ruled the sky and acted as the messenger of lightning and wind. The power from the spine of the Sky Dragon provided the endurance and tolerance of a young Sky Dragon. The Dragon Pillar contained a trace of the Wind Thunder power of the Sky Dragon. It increased the power of his wind and lightning-related spells. The increase in endurance and the rise in power for the spells of the storm and lightning factions would be substantial, Levi muttered to himself. The spine in his body glowed with a bright silver luster, and surging energy circulated through it endlessly. The second special effect, Wind Thunder Remnants, served as a fused version of the Wind Abandonment and Lightning Remnants. At the same time, it increased his affinity with the wind and lightning elements. The third special effect made Levi smile. 3,000 Fallen Feathers allowed him to unfurl his Sky Dragon wings and expend all the Sky Dragon power to launch every feather sword to attack all targets within range. Levi arrived at the Rogue Rift. He ignored the wind disaster swirling in the rift and swam through the currents to his heart's content. He became a wind elf, barely affected by the violent gale. He attributed this resilience to the Sky Dragon breathing technique. A pair of dragon wings containing the power of wind and lightning appeared behind Levi. The dragon wings closed and wrapped around him. On the surface of the dragon wings rested 3,000 feathers as white as jade. The feathers emitted a metallic luster, resembling sharp swords. 3,000 Fallen Feathers, Levi commanded. The Sky Dragon bloodline seed erupted. The power of the Sky Dragon surged into the wings on his back. The feather swords trembled continuously and emitted a buzzing sound. 3,000 Fallen Feathers, Levi shouted as he spread his wings. The 3,000 feather swords scattered in all directions. It looked like the true return of myriad swords. Countless feather swords shot out, blasting the cliffs on both sides of the Rogue Rift until they were full of holes. Mountain rocks shook and dust flew, dissipating in the great hurricane. When the dust settled, Levi looked at the deep potholes scarring both sides of the canyon. "The power of this attack is not inferior to a ranged third circle attack spell at all," Levi said, feeling pleased with himself. This served as the spell-like ability brought about by the Sky Dragon breathing technique. Every attack compared to an ordinary third circle spell attack. The disadvantage remained that these attacks were not under his precise control. The trajectory of the attacks was too scattered and extremely energy-consuming. Once used, the Sky Dragon bloodline seed would enter a deficit state for a period of time and could not be used normally. "No matter how powerful it is, this move is really cool," Levi said with a grin. In the future, he would be a man with handsome long-range attacks instead of relying solely on transforming into monsters for hand-to-hand combat. He returned to the cave abode to rest. Currently, among the 6 dimensions, his defense, physique, speed, and endurance had all reached the small accomplishment realm. The Golden Snake, Death Ember, Scarlet Dragon, and Sky Dragon formed the embryonic stage of the 4 great dragon clans. Now, he only needed to combine the strength dimension into 4 to create the 5th dragon clan. In a short period, his goal of fusing the breathing technique would be completed. As for the 6th dimension, perception, that would have to be left to fate. Perhaps in the future, if he was lucky enough to acquire a legendary perception breathing technique, his perception would soar to the sky in a single step. Levi used the rolling crystal ball to test his blood. He discovered that other than a small number of bloodline components, the rest of the bloodline components came from the unknown dragon clan. The database created by Madame Rolling when she crafted the crystal could no longer keep up with his evolution. It was worth mentioning that Levi still possessed 95% of the human bloodline. After such a long period of mutation, he remained an absolute human. This brought him genuine happiness. "It is time to leave," Levi said. "I have had enough of this godforsaken rogue rift." He flew into the sky and looked down at the entire Great Rift. Then, he left without looking back. He was 83 years old. However, compared to his lifespan of at least 500 years, he had only walked less than 1/5 of his life. This represented the true charm of cultivation. Before leaving the Yellow Earth continent, Levi came to Mirror Lake and revisited the old place. The area remained quiet. The residents of the small city lived the same life as before, busy and calm. As for the wizard relic under Mirror Lake, Levi did not visit it again. He had already plundered all the knowledge related to the nightmare world from the relic. Regardless of whether he could use it in the future, it was better to be prepared. Not long after, Levi arrived at Lion King City. It had been more than 10 years since their last meeting, and he wondered if Emperor Mew had broken through. He reached Lion King City and stood before the Golden Lion Castle. Compared to before he left, the entire city felt even more depressing and desperate. The pressure from the Black Water Tower gave the Golden Lion Jostar family no chance to catch their breath. Hearing of Levi's arrival, a trace of spirit finally appeared on the weathered face of the old Golden Lion. "Quick, invite Levi in," the old man said as he stood up. "Sir Leon, how have you been?" Levi said with a confident smile. Now that he had advanced to the third circle, he stood on the same level as the old Golden Lion. Chapter 682. Leon stood, the weariness vanishing from his face as he gestured toward the guest chair. "Sir Levi, it has been over 10 years since we last met. Your strength has improved again." Leon studied Levi, shock registering in his eyes. He realized Levi had advanced to the third circle. Levi did not deliberately hide his cultivation level. While it was difficult for the children of chaos to advance to the third circle when one was almost 100 years old, it remained possible. Besides, other than his close friends in the Grey Tower, no one knew the extent of his talent. "Sir Leon, where is Emperor Mew?" I did not sense his aura. Levi scanned the room. Leon sighed, nodding as if he had expected the question. "Emperor Mew is missing." "Missing?" Levi narrowed his eyes. "A year ago, Emperor Mew suddenly went crazy. He attacked the people of Golden Lion Castle. I stopped him, but he proved to be no match for me. He left the castle, and his whereabouts remain unknown." "What? Emperor Mew lost control?" Levi stiffened. Could he have become a lunatic knight? That seemed unlikely. As a legendary knight, Emperor Mew should resist his beast nature. It must be the golden spine bone. Something is wrong with that thing. Levi recalled the bone. Emperor Mew had shown it to him previously. At first, Levi considered it a legendary organ left behind by the Golden Knight Gregor. Later, he realized the mistake. The legendary organ of the golden horn breathing technique belonged on the forehead, not the spine. The golden spine bone showed independent consciousness. It functioned like a parasite. It resembled the venomous microorganism Levi had obtained earlier. It parasitized the host, transformed into part of the body, and granted transcendent power. Levi had not persuaded Emperor Mew to abandon the spine. Looking at it from another perspective, Emperor Mew had finally reached the wizard world. He possessed no wizard talent and lacked a proficiency panel. He had only his knight cultivation. To Mew, this golden spine bone served as his proficiency panel. It functioned as his only reliance in this world where experts were as common as clouds. He must have known the risks, but he had no choice. "Sir Leon, is Dinos here?" Levi asked. Leon slumped into his chair, rubbing his temples. Dinos went to look for Emperor Mew. According to Dinos, Emperor Mew remains in the Yellow Earth continent. He has caused many murders and stirred panic in various places. With external and internal troubles, Lion's third circle wizard status could no longer support the family. "I understand." Levi nodded. He left Lion King City. Leon provided several clues, detailing locations where Dinos had tracked Emperor Mew recently. Levi intended to find him. His team members might have transformed into monsters, posing a threat to the mortals and wizards of the Yellow Earth continent. As their leader, he had to resolve the issue. Find Emperor Mew. If he cannot be saved, kill him. Levi sighed. 3 months later, Levi found Dinos chasing Emperor Mew in a small city in the middle of the Yellow Earth continent. The place, Sand City, fell under the control of the Black Water Tower. Dinos stopped, joy flooding his features as he spotted Levi. The young man's hope returned. "Captain, you are finally here." Teacher Emperor Mew lost control. Levi gestured for Dinos to speak plainly. "I understand. It is likely the result of the parasite within him." Dinos shuddered. "I saw it with my own eyes." A hideous golden centipede rested behind Teacher Emperor Mew. The creature pierced deep into his flesh and blood, and its tentacles had bored into Teacher's head. It controlled every move he made. Levi nodded. "That is the golden spine bone. It is something Emperor Mew found where a legendary knight died. It is a transcendent parasitic creature." Dinos looked pale. "I thought it was Teacher's legendary organ. I did not expect a parasitic creature. Where is he now?" Levi asked. 3 days ago, Teacher Emperor Mew attacked a dark wizard stronghold in Sand City. He killed 3 first circle wizards and a second circle wizard. A third circle wizard who happened to pass by caught him. He should be at the Black Water Tower now. Dinos paused, his voice trembling. "I suspect Teacher Emperor Mew awakened his rationality temporarily. He attacked the stronghold deliberately so the dark wizards would capture him. He wanted to prevent further innocent deaths." Levi stroked his chin. It seemed Emperor Mew had become a legendary knight. Otherwise, he could not have killed a second circle wizard. Alternatively, the power of the golden spine bone might have awakened, granting Mew that strength. "What is the name of that third circle wizard? Where is the Black Water Tower?" Levi asked. "The man is named Yefa. He is a wizard from the Ocean School of Thought. They say he is the brother of the Tower Master of the Black Water Tower. For the past 10 years, the brothers have led the Black Water Tower and fought many battles against our 2 families. We lost more than we won. We are no match for them. Our families are planning to leave the Yellow Earth continent." Chapter 683. Dinos, go back to your family first. Sir Leon is also worried about your safety. "I will bring Emperor Mew back." Levi patted the young man's shoulder. Dino's loyalty in tracking Emperor Mew despite the danger proved his character was sound. Leader, let me go with you. I am a member of the Twilight Knights, and I want to participate in this mission. Anticipation filled Dino's eyes. You are too weak. The Blackwater Tower is full of experts. If you come, you are courting death. If I do not save you, my leadership is heartless. If I do, you become a burden. Levi spoke calmly. He refused to force his subordinates into senseless deaths. He preferred quiet growth. He hoped his group members would emulate his own habit of laying low to silently become stronger. Dino stood speechless. He lacked a retort. Levi was right. At the First Circle realm, he offered no utility against the Blackwater Tower. Go back to your family. Cultivate well. Try to break through the legendary shackles, or become a Second Circle wizard as soon as possible. I plan to attack the Blackwater Tower. I hope to obtain the help of your Golden Lion Jostar family, and the Wem family. Return and convey my thoughts to your father. If they want to uproot the Blackwater Tower, we will gather in the center of the ancient forest. Dino's jaw dropped. Captain, can you truly destroy the Blackwater Tower? The Tower Master, the 100 Poison Wizard, is powerful. They say he ranks in the top 100 of the Outer Sea region's Dark List. He is 78th. The Dark List was a bounty list created by the Star Tower, tracking the top 100 dark wizards active in the region. Most were Third Circle dark wizards. A few low-level wizards appeared, but only if they possessed heaven-defying weapons or tools. The Outer Sea region contained over 240 regions. Area 9, where Levi operated, was a tiny fraction of that total. Levi recognized the ranking. Morpheus, a Third Circle wizard, never made the list. The black-eyed crow, Modi, from Area 9, reached the rankings. He held the 8th spot, demonstrating his ferocity. The Outer Sea region maintained the Dark List, while the Inner Sea region kept the Savages List. Savages List dark wizards were intermediate or higher, leading evil forces in the Inner Circle. All held 4th Circle status. The first on the Savages List was Black Sun Adam. The second was the 100 Beast Berserk Witch. These individuals were universal criminals. Killing one earned a generous bounty from the Star Tower. Clay's 78th ranking meant he possessed real capability. Levi proceeded only after careful consideration. Dino's departed to inform his father of Levi's intentions. Levi left Sand City for the ancient forest. He remembered the witch, Elena, from his years at Mirror Lake. He wondered where she was now. I will treat this as revenge for Elena, he muttered. With his strength and his 2 clans, destroying the Blackwater Tower was feasible. The Blackwater Tower had failed to crush the 2 families in over 10 years. Clay was powerful, but clearly not overwhelming. As long as a 4th Circle wizard did not interfere, Levi could fight. Even if he could not defeat them, he could escape with the Scarlet Escape. Personal gain and saving Emperor Mew made the task necessary. Holy Brilliance Calendar, Year 1073, Month of Flowing Fire. Levi conserved his strength in the ancient forest, reaching his peak. Inside Alice's ring, the mountain giant, Bogang, the Wind Thunder Winged Dragon, Raja, the Tyrant, Il, and the other subordinates waited. Levi could deploy Gustav, Skin, Kulam, the Dragon Finch, the Saint Scorpions, the red-faced sea ghost spider, and others. Owens from the Windmill Village was also available. He left Baron Deep Sea behind to avoid exposing his Sea Clan trump card. Furthermore, the Sea Clan's strength diminished on land. Baghdad's power would be cut in half without the sea. Unknownly, I have become an army of one. With a divine weapon like Alice's ring, I can field a mobile combat force. The ring is vast, and I have nothing better to do. I should build a few battle groups. The first, the Transcendent Creatures Battle Group, will be the Thousand Beast Battle Group. The main force consists of transcendent creatures, led by the Wind Thunder Winged Dragon, Raja, and the Mountain Giant, Bogang. The second, the Knights Battle Group, has yet to take shape. The 4 fur clans are not even legendary knights. Emperor Mew and Dino's cannot live in the ring forever. Twilight Knights are not my slaves. In the future, the Knights Battle Group must rely on slave knights of the fur clans. Chapter 684. The third battle group, the Steel Battle Group, consisted mainly of alchemical creatures. When the chance arrived, he would buy more alchemical creature blueprints and hire some alchemical wizards to develop more mass-produced alchemical creatures. Different alchemical creatures would be reasonably matched to form the Steel Battle Group. These 3 battle groups formed Levi's initial plan. He did not act on a whim. The creation of the Divine Ring Tower guided his decisions. In the future, he would build his own Wizard Tower. To waste the Divine Ring Tower's trump card would be a mistake. The Wizard Tower needed the corresponding guards and strength to form a battle group to protect it. That preparation counted as a precaution. Moreover, if Levi wanted to explore other planes, he could not remain alone. To become a plane lord, one had to possess their own forces and army. Many other wizards used their families as a link. If Levi did not have a family, he would establish his own centralized battle group. They relied on battle groups to rule and manage their own plane. Levi was a plane lord. If an enemy invaded, he would give the order, and the various battle groups would attack to suppress the enemy. I can start the Thousand Beast Battle Group now. Let those transcendent creatures train and familiarize themselves with each other and learn how to fight in a team. Transcendent creatures, especially different types of transcendent creatures, fought on their own. Training these creatures to cooperate posed a genuine problem. However, Levi felt no hurry. The nurturing of battle groups and forces remained a long-term and huge project. No way existed to see any benefits in the short term. While waiting for the 2 families to reply, Levi cultivated alone in the ancient forest. At the same time, inside the Black Water Tower, in Clay's laboratory, a monster slept inside a large transparent container. The monster's human form remained vague. Its back featured hideous centipede-like scars. Two sharp tentacles pierced into the monster's head. The monster's face bore the vague features of Emperor Mew. The golden spine bone caused Emperor Mew's loss of control. Clay flipped through the information. Wizards loved to study, and Clay loved it more than most. Being able to create a venom body refinement technique explained everything. However, Clay's research remained unpopular. He held a yellowed ancient book and read the information seriously. The title of this book was The Tomb of Fireflies. The author remained unknown. He likely came from another plane. In the vast land of darkness, too many planes existed. Although the wizard civilization controlled 50 planes, the number remained only the tip of the iceberg compared to the entire land of darkness. Many planes near the human world and the wizard world had yet to unveil their mystery. Countless planes of various sizes or plane fragments remained hidden in the darkness. Clay had studied this ancient book all his life. This ancient book introduced a transcendent system that differed completely from the wizard civilization. If his venom body could be cultivated, it would remain inseparable from this ancient book. And now, he had even obtained a new spoil of war. Clay looked excitedly at Emperor Mew in the transparent container. On the surface of Emperor Mew's body, a golden centipede that looked like it was made of gold poked its head out. Its strange gaze met Clay's. A real totem insect. I did not expect there to be such a strange thing in the wizard world. Even in its original world, this was a rare totem insect. Someone gives me a pillow when I am sleepy. If I can refine this totem insect and light up my totem light, my strength will make a qualitative leap. Clay's laughter echoed in the wizard tower. Month of the furnace. Levi cultivated in the ancient forest. An aura approached. He opened his eyes and looked into the distance. Here we go. 3 powerful auras descended. They were the 3 third circle wizards from the Golden Lion Jostar family and the Wham family. Old Golden Lion looked at Levi. Sorry to keep you waiting, Sir Levi. Levi smiled. It is fine. Clan leaders, are you ready? Golden Lion nodded. Originally, we had already decided to leave the Yellow Earth continent, but it was our last resort. Now that we have your help, after our discussion, we might as well fight to the death with the other party. Now that the wizard world is in chaos, no absolutely safe place exists. If we leave the Yellow Earth continent, we have no better place to go. Furthermore, our foundation is here, and it is too difficult to leave. I heard from Golden Lion that your strength is extraordinary. Now that I see you, you should have just stepped into the third circle wizard realm. Clan leader Wem asked hesitantly. That is right, Levi said. I wonder how confident you are in taking down the Black Water Tower. Clan leader Wem asked. He lacked confidence. Seeing the confidence of old Golden Lion, he thought Levi was at least a third circle senior wizard. After sensing Levi's mental energy fluctuation, he could not deny his disappointment. If everyone tries their best, I have an 80% chance of destroying the Black Water Tower, Levi said. Chapter 685, 80%. Old Golden Lion and Wem exchanged a look of disbelief. The combined strength of all 3 of them barely matched the 100 poison wizard. If the 2 clans lacked their own trump cards, the Black Water Tower would have conquered them long ago. Levi nodded. He had only dragged the other 2 families along for the sake of stability. He could kill the 100 poison wizard alone, but that carried risk. If something went wrong, the cost would be too high. Numbers brought strength. With the addition of 2 large families, he felt confident. Old Golden Lion turned to the Wham clan leader. What do you think, clan leader Wham? He had decided to fight to the death. After such a long battle, he felt numb. Cowering offered no escape, so he chose to fight. Clan leader Wem hesitated for a moment before sighing. Let us fight. If this drags on, the Black Water Tower will wear us down to death. The Star Tower has no time to care about us. No response has arrived regarding our request for help. We must save ourselves. Wem family, we march to the Black Water Tower, the clan leader roared. Listen to my gale. Listen to my gale. The Wham family members echoed with rising fury. The Wham family members roared as their auras climbed. On the other side, the Jostar family members refused to be outdone. They had waged war between the dark and righteous wizards for more than 30 years. Regardless of the outcome, taking the initiative to attack beat sitting and waiting for death. Let us go. Levi's griffin flapped its wings and ascended into the sky. The mighty teams of the 2 families followed. Inside the Black Water Tower, Clay studied the totem insect. He intended to destroy the 2 families completely after refining it. Yefa's voice interrupted him. Brother, the alliance army of the 2 clans approaches the Black Water Tower. Clay's expression shifted. These 2 families actually dare to take the initiative to attack me. They intend to make a final struggle, he sneered. I intended to let them jump around for a while longer. Since they take the initiative to seek death, do not blame me. Prepare to fight. Clay put away the ancient book and donned his robe. In the shadows around the wizard tower, poisonous microorganisms resembling asphalt surged forward, entering Clay's body. Crackling sounds echoed as his bones shifted. His entire frame turned a black iron color, hardening into a steel body. It has been a long time since I exercised. Clay flew out of the tower. Wizards from the Black Water Tower appeared in the air behind him. These black-robed figures stood well-trained and uniform, radiating an extraordinary presence. The third circle array around the Black Water Tower illuminated the sky. Yefa stood beside his brother and calmly watched the approaching army in the distance. Clan leaders, what rare guests, Clay shouted. His calm expression suggested victory lay within his grasp. Golden Lion and clan leader Wham wore solemn faces. Let us see who is stronger. Today, either our two families die or your Blackwater Tower perishes. Golden Lion spoke with calm indifference, having accepted his fate, and ignored the prospect of death. Blind confidence equals death, Clay sneered. He waved his hand. The wizards below him cast spells in unison. Water arrows sliced through the sky, shooting toward the enemy camp. Clan leader Wham brandished his third circle wizard tool. A war drum sounded and the wind roared. The gale blew the attacks away, though some struck the camp and dissolved. Attack the attack array with all your might. Old Golden Lion raised his third circle wizard tool sledgehammer and smashed it down. A terrifying shockwave swept out, spreading to the grand array and causing it to tremble. Kill. Yefa activated his innate spell. Waves swept through the air like an inverted sea. The three scroll cloud waves erupted. Behind Clay, poisonous water surged as he extracted countless asphalt-like poisonous mixtures from his body. He transformed into a poisonous ball dozens of meters in diameter, charging through the sky. The defensive fields of the affected wizards collapsed, ready to be devoured by the poisonous water. Clan leader Wham engaged Yefa, while the two third circle wizards of the Golden Lion Jostar family fought Clay. Within the Blackwater Tower, inside Clay's laboratory, a ball of blood fog appeared in the void and condensed into Levi's figure. He had used the Hermit Rune and Scarlet Poison Body to infiltrate the area before the battle started. His primary goal was to save Emperor Mew. With the two large families dragging Clay outside, he easily located the captive. Emperor Mew sat inside the transparent container, having transformed into a monster. Levi did not open the container. Instead, he emptied the equipment in Clay's laboratory, along with Emperor Mew, and placed them into Alice's ring. Clay sensed Levi's movements immediately. Shock and fury coursed through him while he fought Old Golden Lion. He had not expected anyone to infiltrate his laboratory under his nose. Damn thief. The equipment in the laboratory, along with much of the data, held immense value for Clay. The next moment, a sight filled Clay with despair. The Blackwater Tower cracked and collapsed. Smoke filled the air and flames soared into the sky. When the dust dissipated amidst the fire, a golden giant wrapped in hellfire held a greatsword. Fused with the three-headed and six-armed phantom behind him, he stood proudly in the air. Chapter 686. My tower, Clay roared. Smoke billowed from his nostrils. He spent his time locked in battle, only to discover someone had stolen his home. Clay forced himself to calm down. He chanted an incantation. His body split into three. He transformed into three smaller venomous spheres, one large and two small. In a moment, these spheres coalesced into three identical clones of Clay. He unleashed his innate spell, the venomous doppelganger. Clay had created this innate spell by combining his venom body with the water duplication spell from the Ocean School of Thought. Relying on the powerful regenerative ability of the venomous microorganisms, he created two identical clones, each with half the strength of the original. This inevitably weakened his own strength, but surrounded by attackers, he had no choice. With the power of the venomous doppelgangers, he was more than capable of dealing with the third circle wizards from the two rival families. The enraged Clay turned his attention to the body-refining wizard in front of him. A flaming sword struck the venomous sphere. It split in half. Laughter echoed from within the mass. If that is all you have, you might as well die. The venomous sphere rushed toward Levi. It transformed into a venomous spear in Clay's grip, its tip gleaming with cold light. Clay had mastered the venom body to an extraordinary level, capable of transforming into various weapons at will using his spiritual force. A boom resonated across the sky. Levi turned into a blood fog, diffusing in midair. His laughter echoed from within the mist. Petty tricks. Clay's eyes emerged from the venomous sphere. Interesting. If you are willing to hand over your body-refining techniques, I might give you a painless death. Otherwise, a myriad of poisons will invade your body. The suffering will be quite exquisite. Clay felt delight, not alarm. As a venomous body-refining wizard, he possessed a profound understanding of the path. The wizard in front of him undoubtedly shared the same background. That is exactly what I wanted to tell you. The blood fog enveloped the venomous sphere. What are you doing? Clay's voice cracked with shock from within the sphere. Eating you. The blood fog rolled, revealing Levi's ferocious face. Black venom and blood fog entwined and clashed. Every crimson particle forming Levi's blood fog body infiltrated the mass of venomous microorganisms. At the same time, the microorganisms devoured the blood fog. Within the fog, electrical currents surged, and thunder filled the air. You actually electrocuted me. Clay screamed in pain from within the mass. Levi and Clay fought tenaciously. The battle took place on a microscopic level. To bystanders, a mass of blood fog and a cloud of darkness merged and absorbed each other. Before long, a diminished venomous cloud struggled to emerge from the enveloping blood fog. It transformed into a black streak of light, rapidly moving away. Clay's pale face appeared. His entire countenance had aged considerably. That cursed blood fog had nearly drained his stamina. The fog also contained potent toxins, wearing away many of his venomous microorganisms. Clay sensed the relentless pursuit of the blood fog. He summoned back his two clones, merging them into his main body. His figure solidified, transforming into a dark demon crafted from obsidian. A third circle defensive field materialized. The blood fog outside the field halted. The demon chanted an incantation. He cast his innate spell, the water screen prison. A cage materialized, imprisoning Levi's transformed blood fog. The fog collided against the walls, but could not break through. Clay breathed a sigh of relief and sneered. In the end, my skills prevail. The water ball formed by the water screen prison contracted, compressing the blood fog. Eventually, Levi's figure became visible within the fog. Inexhaustible compressive force pushed from all directions. He felt like food vacuum sealed in plastic. The pressure made his bones creak, and blood seeped from his body surface. No wonder he is a dark list powerhouse. Levi watched the scene without panic. He sucked in water, rapidly expanding his size. The bloodline Dharma body behind him, empowered by the 9 swords, attacked the cage formed by the innate spell. Crack, crack. Under Levi's immense strength, the water screen prison shattered. Clay's expression changed. The spell power within him circulated, and a second water screen prison took shape. However, this time, Levi would not give him another chance. The great black sky curtain unfolded and swept directly toward Clay. Clay dodged. Simultaneously, sharp spikes protruded from the surface of his demon body. Hundreds and thousands of black poisonous spikes shot towards Levi. Crackling sounds echoed as the great black sky curtain blocked the spikes. Even those that bypassed the curtain could not pierce Levi's defense. The giant descended like an overwhelming force, striking toward Clay. Clay's venomous body transformed into a black giant shield, resisting above his head. Bang! The giant shield cracked, dispersing into venom that merged into his body. Levi blasted Clay underground, creating a deep crater upon impact. Chapter 687. Corrosive venoms filled the deep crater. Swarms of bug-like creatures resembling ladybugs emerged. They took to the sky, emitting a foul odor as they attacked Levi. These were Clay's own cultivated lower-tier Zerg, the 7 poison ladybugs. They combined 7 deadly toxins he had collected, refined, and improved. According to Clay's estimate, his 7 poison ladybugs ranked among the top 120 in the Zerg hierarchy, making them exceptional lower-tier Zerg. Tens of thousands of 7 poison ladybugs obscured the sky like a vast cloud of insects. They produced a buzzing sound comparable to a locust invasion. They are actually from the school of insects. Levi's mind stirred. Most insects feared fire. Levi infused his flames with hellfire and cast a perfected second circle spell, the 5 fireballs technique. 5 suns appeared in the sky. Flames scorched the air, causing the poisonous bugs to fall one after another. With Levi's ether dominance talent and the hellfire enhancement, his 5 fireballs technique burned far more powerfully than the conventional version. The remaining poisonous bugs froze under Levi's glacier descent. Saint Scorpions appeared on the battlefield to devour the poisonous bugs. Some Saint Scorpions fell, bitten to death by the bugs, while others perished from poisoning after consuming them. By the time the poisonous bugs were all consumed, Levi's Saint Scorpions were reduced to less than 5,000. During their peak, he had commanded over 20,000 of these Saint Scorpions. Less than a quarter remained, showcasing the potency of the poisonous ladybugs. However, turning misfortune into a blessing, these Saint Scorpions quickly developed resistance to the toxicity. Some even absorbed the toxins to enhance themselves. If they survived, this would greatly assist Levi in breeding even more powerful Saint Scorpions. He believed that after this transformation, they had a chance to advance to middle-grade insects. Clay saw that even his hidden trump card, the poisonous bugs, proved useless. Desperation took hold. Today, he unexpectedly encountered another version of himself. This opponent was also a body-refining wizard, proficient in poison arts, and a handler of poisonous insects. Damn it, my Zerg. Clay shot forward, his black demon form manifesting before Levi. He descended into madness, engaging in close-quarters combat. Booms echoed through the air. Levi's golden-armored figure clashed with Clay's black demon in midair. Golden scales fell away, and the venomous body began to dissolve. As body-refining wizards, they finally unleashed their true power. Old Golden Lion and Wem watched Levi's fierce attacks in amazement. Wem finally understood Levi's confidence. The opponent proved to be a rare and powerful body-refining wizard, fully equal to the 100 Poison Wizard. Their fighting style felt unconventional to the observers. With Levi occupying the 100 Poison Wizard, they quickly surrounded and overwhelmed Yefa, who succumbed to the assault. After achieving victory, the 3 Third Circle Wizards joined the fray to attack the 100 Poison Wizard. Under the siege, Clay could not hold on for long and fell to Levi. The venom body exploded, dispersing in all directions. Destroy all of this venom, or Clay may potentially resurrect. Levi issued the order. A series of third circle spells rained down, painting the sky with vibrant colors. Levi's blood fog dispersed, covering a wide area. All the venomous microorganisms were enveloped and absorbed. Levi reappeared. Have all the other venoms been eradicated? They have all been annihilated. Old Golden Lion and the others regarded Levi with the utmost respect. Levi's intuition state activated. He frowned, sensing that some venomous microorganisms still escaped within a range of dozens of miles, hiding in concealed places. His figure disappeared. Not long after, Levi confirmed that all the venomous microorganisms were collected, and he sighed in relief. This 100 Poison Wizard is truly troublesome, Old Golden Lion remarked. Even with so many people, it took great effort to barely kill him. If not for Sir Levi, even with more Third Circle Wizards, it would have been challenging to completely eliminate him. Powerful individuals on the dark list are not easy to deal with, but they are still within my expectations. Levi analyzed this in his mind. He still had many trump cards left, such as Bogang, the Wind Thunder Winged Dragon, and the Red Lotus form. The current enemy, however, possessed special traits. Clay's mysterious abilities defied brute force. Initially, Levi planned to use his scarlet poison body to extract all the venomous microorganisms from Clay's body. Without the venom body, Clay would be just a normal third circle wizard in strength. However, Clay sensed the danger and forcefully broke through Levi's blood fog blockade, denying him the opportunity. With the leader of the Black Water Tower resolved, and the aid of Levi and the other third circle wizards, the remaining minions were completely wiped out. The tumor entrenched in the central part of the Yellow Earth continent was finally uprooted. Thanks to Sir Levi, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Although we only destroyed one Black Water Tower, addressing the symptom rather than the root cause, obtaining a brief respite is not easy. Old Golden Lion expressed his gratitude sincerely. Yes, Sir Levi. Which wizard organization are you from, and where do you practice? Clan leader Wham inquired. Chapter 688. I was once part of a wizard organization, but it has long been annihilated by dark wizards. Now, I am just a nameless wanderer, a nomadic wizard with no affiliation. Levi sighed, his gaze drifting over the horizon. Alas, this war has turned many into nomadic wizards. Countless wizard families have been destroyed, and people are scattered, seeking refuge everywhere. Old Golden Lion remarked, his voice heavy with weariness. Sir Levi, do you have any plans for the future? Wem asked. I may leave this outer sea region and head to the inner sea region, or the Star Sea to seek a way of survival. Levi replied. The Endless Sea is currently in continuous warfare. The inner sea region and the Star Sea may have even stronger enemy forces, and the situation of the war could be more severe. Sir Levi, please be cautious, Wham warned. Yes, I heard that high-level wizard organizations in the inner sea region have been annihilated. It is truly unimaginable. Only a primordial soul wizard managed to escape, leaving the wizard tower completely destroyed. A single primordial soul cannot endure for long in the material world. If they cannot find a suitable body, doom awaits him. Old Golden Lion recalled recent intelligence. His expression grew heavy and filled with resignation. For the powerful beings in the outer sea region like them, high-level wizard organizations, and primordial soul wizards were unimaginable existences. Such formidable figures came perilously close to falling, revealing the brutality of this war. This war had only just begun a few decades ago, and high-level wizards had already perished. The future might see this war persist for hundreds of years, and during this time, no one knew how many powerful wizards in the wizard world would fall. After the war, the eagerly awaited distribution of spoils followed. Levi only took Clay's storage bags. The rest, including the minions, Yefa's storage bags, and other assets of the Black Water Tower, were left for the two major families to divide themselves. The distribution of benefits was the easiest stage to stir conflicts. However, the two families had no complaints about Levi taking Clay's storage bags. After all, as long as they were not fools, they could see that Levi had made the most significant contribution in this battle. Without Levi, they would not have stood a chance against the Black Water Tower. Even if Levi took a portion from the remaining loot, they would not have objected. Actions spoke louder than words. The strength Levi displayed, even if only the tip of the iceberg, was enough to awe the two major families and earn their respect. In such chaotic times, one could not simply evade challenges. Sometimes it was necessary to flex one's muscles to avoid trouble. Evasion was not the goal but merely a means. It needed constant adjustment and progress with growing strength. The members of the two major families were decent individuals, and naturally, Levi would not act too harshly. In all things, it was essential to leave room for reconciliation and future encounters. Although Levi's current strength was not inferior to the two major families, these families had deep roots in the Yellow Earth continent, being the rulers and local authorities of the entire Outer Sea region's Area 7. Maintaining good relations with the two major families also provided Levi with a retreat route. After the distribution of spoils, Levi temporarily returned to Lion King City. He took out Clay's storage bags. On these bags, there were some complex restriction arrays. Fortunately, Levi, being a second circle array wizard, had a thorough understanding of this aspect. Otherwise, for other wizards without the corresponding spells, it might be impossible to open the storage bags. Levi felt fortunate that as his realm improved, the enemy's storage bags were often no longer standard. Many were customized with solidified miniature arrays, requiring different activation spells for each storage bag. The way of the array wizard was profound and extensive. As one's realm increased, the effects became more pronounced. Some powerful battle groups within the Penplane Wizard Council utilized massive war arrays, refined by array wizards as the foundation, forming formidable battle formations. Relying on the advantages of battle formations and overwhelming numbers, there was once a battle group that, with a demigod-level multidimensional plane master comparable to a ninth circle wizard, annihilated a battle group. Arrays, especially military arrays, were treasures that could overcome the strong with the weak. Unfortunately, my book of cipher is only the first volume. I do not know where the second and third volumes are now. Levi sighed with regret. Although he had not heard of Master Cipher, he was undoubtedly a hidden master of arrays. His book of cipher, even with just the basic first volume, provided Levi with profound knowledge and theories on array foundations, benefiting him greatly. Levi withdrew his attention. Clay had many storage items, most of which were casting and experimentation materials. Only this item with an array restriction caught Levi's interest. Upon opening it, the first thing that caught his eye was a mountain-like ether stone. So many. Levi counted them, a whopping 300,000 ether stones. Goodness, there were even 3/4 of a Rex. Levi was surprised. So far, Rex held the top spot in Levi's underworld wealth ranking, serving as a unit of measurement. Meanwhile, Clay ranked second. In terms of strength, 3 Rex were no match for Clay. However, due to Rex's role as a pharmacist supervisor, he became the wealthiest among the Third Circle wizards killed by Levi. Chapter 689. 700,000 ether stones. Just a step away from reaching 1 million ether stones. Becoming a millionaire. It was exciting. A surge of excitement rose within him. With 700,000 ether stones, he could do many things. He would not spend this money recklessly. On one hand, he needed to purchase various wizard knowledge. On the other hand, he needed to prepare for the construction of his own wizard tower. Building a wizard tower in the true sense was a massive project. It required a vast amount of ether stones. From construction blueprints, main project materials, to various energy conversion arrays, control arrays, practice arrays, defensive arrays, transmission arrays, spatial arrays, and more, it required a considerable amount of money and involved various professional fields. Many wizards subcontracted different parts of their wizard towers to specialized wizard tower construction organizations. Thinking about building his own wizard tower, a new goal appeared before him. This was similar to buying a house in his past life. Without a bit of pressure, life lacked motivation. One might as well lie flat. In addition to ether stones, Clay's storage bags contained some spell books. Following the principle of collecting and enriching his knowledge base, Levi took them all. Most of them were low-level spells. 3 Third Circle spell crystal balls caught his attention. These 3 Third Circle spells were Water Doppelganger, Water Screen Prison, and Venomous Body. 2 of them, Water Doppelganger and Water Screen Prison, were even solidified as innate spells. They were formidable. The last one, Venomous Body, incorporated venom into the caster's body, enabling toxin-infused attacks. Not even a Third Circle wizard tool. This old guy was stingy. Levi shook his head and sighed. Clay, relying on his powerful physique, did not even bother preparing a Third Circle wizard tool. What is this? A rare book sat in the corner, a volume Clay cherished. Tomb of Fireflies. Levi looked at the cover. The author of the book remained unknown. He opened the ancient book and found a memory slate sandwiched in the first page. He probed with his spiritual force. The memory slate contained Clay's reading notes and research logs. After a quick scan, a grin spread across his face. Within the memory slate sat a body refining technique that Clay had created himself. Named Mixed Venom True Form, Clay created this body refining technique by combining the Third Circle spell Venomous Body with the knowledge from Tomb of Fireflies. Clay, with limited elemental talent, aimed to enhance his strength through body refinement. Tomb of Fireflies was a book Clay obtained in a tomb in the mundane world about 300 years ago, when he was still a mortal. He carried this book into the wizard world, and throughout his life, he researched the knowledge within it. The memory slate represented the culmination of Clay's wisdom throughout his life. It was invaluable, his most precious possession. Through Tomb of Fireflies, a whole new world opened before him. It was said that in the land of darkness, there existed a plane known as Uther. This plane once gave birth to a glorious human civilization, similar to the wizard civilization, where noble spellcasters known as arcanists thrived. Later, it established a vast human empire that ruled over the entire plane, the Otharian Empire. At its peak, the Otharian Empire boasted several powerful arcanists comparable to grand wizards. The ruler of the Otharian Empire was even proclaimed the Arcane Emperor, claiming an affinity close to that of a divine being. Had it continued to flourish, the Otharian Empire might have evolved a comprehensive arcane system, akin to the wizard civilization, progressing to a realm comparable to legendary wizards. However, the glory of the Otharian Empire was short-lived. It disappeared due to a catastrophic event. A disaster swept through the empire, brought about by terrifying monsters invading from the land of darkness. These monsters were predominantly insect-like creatures, possessing peculiar and eerie abilities. The arcanists of the Otharian Empire referred to these insects as terror bugs. The terror bugs exhibited bizarre abilities. 12 monarchs ruled among them, known as king bugs, along with a singular entity referred to as the mother bug. The nascent arcane civilization had not yet fully developed when the civilization of the terror bugs extinguished it. Although the human civilization of the Otharian Empire left a spark in the subterranean world, the arcane legacy remained incomplete, leading to a continuous decline. In the era of the book's compiler, most surviving arcanists were comparable to low and intermediate level wizards. High-level arcanists, comparable to primordial soul wizards, were almost extinct, until a prodigious arcanist discovered a new transcendent path. Bug Luminist, also referred to as the Totemist. What was a Bug Luminist? This arcanist believed that only terror bugs could stand against terror bugs. Embracing these creatures into oneself, harnessing their power to combat them, defined a Bug Luminist. If one could not defeat the enemy, one could join it. With the currently incomplete arcane system, there was no doubt it could not contend with the pinnacle of the terror bug civilization. Chapter 690. He refined the arcane into a totem art. He then sought newborn terror bugs or insect eggs. Using a special purification elixir, he cleansed the negative energy from the bodies of the terror bugs. They turned into unconscious, computer program-like totem insects, also known as rule bugs by some. Relying on the art and elixirs, he transplanted the totem insects into the body. This illuminated the totem light within. Practitioners continuously used various precious materials, elixirs, and their own bloodlines to nurture the totem insects. Ultimately, they achieved the seamless fusion of totem insects and themselves. The strength of the totem insects represented the strength of the user, and the advancement of the totem corresponded to their own progress. This approach was more thorough than the spiritualism school in the wizard world. Essentially, it was akin to how a knight utilized the strength from the bloodline of a transcendent creature to gain transcendent power. After reading through the text, Levi felt a profound impact. Learning from the experiences of others enhanced his own knowledge. The totemist system provided Levi with considerable inspiration. Take the elixir they developed. It cleansed the negative energy and side effects from terror bugs, transforming them into unconscious, program-like entities with only transcendent power, the rule bugs. The purification elixir was undoubtedly a great thing. If Levi studied it, perhaps he could apply similar methods to his own bloodline. By doing so, he could rid his bloodline of the beastly nature, and any imprints the primordial ancestor hidden within the bloodline might have left. These were potential hazards of the bloodline path. Just because Levi was fine now did not mean he would be in the future. As his bloodline evolved further, there was a risk of reverting to a primal state. Would the eventual Levi still be himself? Levi did not mind turning into a monster, but he required his consciousness to remain intact. On the path of a knight, Levi's greatest concern was losing his own consciousness entirely and becoming a puppet for some primordial ancestor. Even with the breathing technique Great Fusion, after all the mutations, there would inevitably be risks. The origin of the knight remained elusive throughout. Levi sometimes felt that the path of a knight might be a conspiracy by some powerful entities. Therefore, he needed to break free and carve out his own path. The totemist path showed Levi a new world. Setting aside the mature wizardry path, his path as a knight would be based on knights. He would continuously absorb and learn from the strengths of other transcendent systems, gathering knowledge, while simultaneously refining the path of the knight. He would correct mistakes promptly and not be confined to a single approach. Previously, he had cultivated experience with single-minded focus, which was not wrong. The proficiency panel could accomplish many things. It could break bloodline restrictions, fuse the strengths of different skills, and create new abilities. However, he needed first-hand resources. The proficiency panel could achieve all of this on the condition that Levi acquired more knowledge and molded that knowledge into skills on the proficiency panel. Then, the proficiency panel could assess, analyze, and even self-evolve. Levi had a moment of enlightenment. The proficiency panel was definitely not static. How did it evolve? Levi did not understand it in the early stages, but as he progressed to the realm of a third circle wizard and a blood knight, he had a rough guess. The evolution of the proficiency panel was linked to Levi's expanding horizons, realms, and the increasing quantity and quality of knowledge he possessed. It adjusted and optimized itself step by step, resembling a growing computer program. Levi gained clarity. He still knew too little. Desperate illiteracy. That phrase perfectly described himself. In the future, he would have to spend more time on research, learning, and broadening his horizons. It was no wonder that many high-level wizards, after gaining the ability to travel between planes, chose to leave the wizard world. They risked their lives to explore different worlds, recording their observations, experiences, and feelings in various travel logs. The universe was vast, and the truth was infinite. Wizards often said the true truth is unattainable. Everything wizards do is merely an approach. It is an endless pursuit that is always getting closer, but never quite reaching. The path of a knight was no different. There was no absolutely perfect method. What Levi could do was use the panel to refine his system as much as possible. The road ahead is long, and I will seek with my own efforts. These words from the ancients were so apt. Levi put away the tomb of fireflies. What a good book, he sighed. Such a good book belongs to me by right. So far, Levi had acquired inherited knowledge from books, such as the Book of Cipher, Ruin Hunter Jones' treasure hunting log, and the Book of Starforged Runes. These are all treasures. Levi activated all the arrays in his wizard tower, opening the restrictions as well. He took out the container with Emperor Mew and the set of experimental equipment. In addition, there was another container containing a large mass of wriggling black asphalt. These were the toxic microorganisms expelled from Clay's body after his death. This type of microorganism was something Clay, the little genius, had developed based on the knowledge of a totemist. It was a low-quality version of the totem insect, cultivated by himself using various toxins and materials. Chapter 691. Clay referred to them as the toxic swarm. These creatures were communal life forms, existing in a constant state of death and division, much like human cells, metabolizing at an exceptionally high rate. Levi needed to consistently feed them large amounts of toxins or flesh to ensure the vitality of the toxic swarm. Without a continuous source of energy, these undead beings would eventually wither away. Although they were a low-quality version of the totem insect, Levi felt impressed by the power of the toxic swarm. After parasitizing a host, the toxic swarm could give birth to a venomous body impervious to blades and spears. It could transform into a terrifying poisonous cloud that devoured everything. Moreover, it could induce the host to undergo a splitting rebirth, though each regeneration required a substantial amount of energy. Clay had planned to use self-detonation to merge his flesh and soul with the toxic swarm. He intended to rely on the swarm to devour a town of mortals, then regenerate using the energy obtained from them. This would result in a decline in realms, but at least it would secure his life. It is akin to a low-quality scarlet poison body, Levi thought. Levi planned to keep the toxic swarm for an extended period, awaiting a thorough understanding of the mixed venom true form body refining technique. He hoped to subdue it, enhancing his capabilities in the process. The immediate priority was to see if he could rescue Emperor Mew from the accursed control of the totem insect. According to Clay's research, the golden spinebone was actually known as the golden aberration insect, a type of terror bug that frequently parasitized powerful organisms. This particular insect had likely been partially purified by the bug luminist, but not entirely cleansed. Levi speculated that the generations of golden blood in the golden family might be linked to this golden aberration insect. The terror bug probably parasitized the youngling of the golden horn beast, storing some golden horn bloodline in the process. Upon possessing the ancestor of the Gregor family, the golden aberration insect fortuitously endowed the Gregor family's ancestor with bloodline power. The golden horn breathing technique likely originated from that period. Thus, the golden blood was, in reality, the blood of the golden horn. The golden aberration insect played a crucial role in creating and perpetuating the golden family throughout the generations. Gregor might have realized this, setting sail into the distant seas, far away from civilization. With Gregor's demise, the golden aberration insect was buried in the deep sea, steadily weakening until Emperor Mew's arrival provided it with an opportunity to possess him. This entity undoubtedly possessed intelligence, using the allure of the golden bloodline to lead Emperor Mew step by step into the abyss, keeping him under control until Emperor Mew lost control. Emperor Mew's realm offered no chance against this golden aberration insect, even if it appeared to be weakened and in its youngling stage. According to the book, as of the time the compiler wrote it, the bug luminist civilization had evolved to the 9th level in the multidimensional plane, a standard set by wizards to assess the strength of different systems in the multidimensional plane. The wizard civilization, surpassing the 9th level due to the birth of legendary wizards, and the abyss were exceptions. Referring to the wizard civilization system, the 9th level equated to the standard of a 9th circle grand wizard. The compiler, likely a powerful, but nameless figure who had traveled from the wizard world to the Otharian plane, stated that the bug luminist categorized the strength of totem insects based on the terror bugs level system. Worker bugs, soldier bugs, general bugs, king bugs, and the superior mother bugs corresponded to the low level, intermediate level, high level, grand wizard, and legendary tiers of the wizard civilization. The golden aberration insect fell under the general bugs category, with its youngling stage starting at level 1, and its strength potential ranging from level 6 to level 8. In other words, if a bug luminist chose the golden aberration insect as their totem insect, they would initially possess strength equivalent to a first circle wizard. Through potions, materials, and totem arts, the bug luminist had the potential to advance to a realm comparable to a high-level wizard. Unlike spiritual beasts, totem insects could evolve through devouring one another. The 12 king bugs and mother bugs that devastated the Otharian Empire emerged from the carnage of their own world. For totem insects, the strength ceiling could be shattered, albeit through a challenging process. After making the necessary preparations, Levi focused his attention on Emperor Mew within the container. He opened the vessel, removing the suppression imposed by Clay's specially crafted liquid. The golden aberration insect immediately revitalized, seizing control of Emperor Mew. He leaped out aggressively towards Levi. Before Emperor Mew's fist reached Levi, Tyrant Isle swiftly caught and restrained him. Bang! Mechanical roars echoed, and flames ignited. Tyrant Isle executed a powerful shoulder throw, slamming Emperor Mew to the ground. The golden aberration insect grinned maliciously as golden energy poured into Emperor Mew, covering him in a radiant golden glow. Levi remarked, "I once thought this was the divine power of the golden horn breathing technique. Alas, it turns out you were behind this mischief." Levi intervened personally. His scaly hand gripped the golden aberration insect on Emperor Mew's back. Chapter 692. This entity rooted itself within Emperor Mew, merging with his very essence. Levi worried that directly pulling it out might harm the man. Fortunately, Clay had prepared a potion capable of separating a totem insect long ago. Levi pressed Emperor Mew against the wall with tremendous force. The wizard tower trembled beneath them. Had Levi not reinforced the structure with his own arrays, a standardized residential tower would have collapsed. He injected the entire bottle of potion into Emperor Mew. Emperor Mew screamed in agony, yet Levi showed no mercy. The golden aberration insect knew it faced dire consequences outside, so it stubbornly resisted. Levi continued the injection. He finished, sneered, and transformed into a blood fog. The red mist drifted into Emperor Mew's body. Countless golden blood vessels resembled puppeteers' strings. They lay embedded in every inch of Emperor Mew's flesh, tracing deep into his brain and heart. Levi's thought echoed within the chamber. Thank goodness my blood fog form acts as a natural surgeon. Within Emperor Mew, the blood fog transformed into extremely fine, miniature blood blades. One after another, the golden blood vessels snapped. After a time, Emperor Mew stopped struggling completely. His back featured densely packed cavities, golden light emanating from within. The golden aberration insect had nearly devoured his body entirely. Levi studied the damage. Can he still survive? The golden aberration insect lunged, attempting to burrow into Levi. Levi grabbed at midair. Levi tightened his grip. What audacity! Parasitizing my team members is bad enough, and now you dare to infest me. Annoyance flared within Levi. This creature had nearly killed one of his own. He forcefully crushed the insect. It cracked, spewing golden fluid under his immense grip. Levi glared at the mess. Get in there. Behave yourself. Once I develop the purification elixir, you will be at peace, he said sternly. Levi placed the golden aberration insect into a container prepared by clay. He sealed it along with the toxic swarm. The blood fog worked within Emperor Mew's body, repairing his internal organs. This function remained a recent discovery for Levi. He could partially transform his blood fog to mend his own wounds. Naturally, it could also enter another body to facilitate repairs. For legendary knights of Levi's constitution, such injuries remained inconsequential. They healed easily. However, Emperor Mew acted as a strength-type legendary knight. Though much tougher than the average person, his survival remained uncertain after such severe trauma. Regardless, Levi administered his best potions to Emperor Mew. Such care for his members remained rare in a team leader. After completing these tasks, Levi settled Emperor Mew. He began his own cultivation while awaiting the man's recovery. At the very least, Emperor Mew showed signs of vitality. Levi believed he could pull through. Upon waking, Emperor Mew might feel relief and confusion, finding the support of his golden spine bone gone. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, Levi split his time between cultivation and studying Clay's notes and the Bug Luminist's book. He focused on the formula for the purification elixir. Some ingredients were common in the wizard world, but the rest seemed exclusive to that distant realm. This dampened Levi's enthusiasm. He had intended to thoroughly research totem insects, but now it seemed he had to postpone that plan. In the 1074th year of the Holy Brilliance calendar, the month of grass arrived. 6 months after the fall of the Blackwater Tower, the Black Sun Steeple dispatched no new dark wizards to the Yellow Earth continent. Their resources stretched thin. They no longer felt determined to conquer the Yellow Earth continent. As a result, the Yellow Earth continent and Area 7 remained temporarily secure, avoiding the fate that befell Area 9. Within Lion King City, the once despairing atmosphere dissipated. The old Golden Lion hosted several banquets to express gratitude to Levi. Levi easily obtained a copy of the Golden Lion breathing technique from the Golden Lion Jostar family. However, this breathing technique was clearly not the perception type Levi urgently needed. Nevertheless, collecting a breathing technique that could advance to legendary status remained a positive outcome. By the end of the month of grass, Emperor Mew finally woke up. Chapter 693. The laboratory within Levi's wizard tower stood in Lion King City. Emperor Mew squinted at the white wolf girl standing before him. Confusion clouded his gaze. Algerta, why am I here? I remember being controlled by the golden spine bone. Wait, where is my golden spine bone? He shot upward, but pain surged through his frame, forcing an uncontrollable moan from his lips. Algerta hurried forward to steady him. Your injuries have just healed. Master stitched you up quite a bit. You cannot move, or the wounds will open again. What happened to me? Emperor Mew forced himself to breathe deeply, his frantic energy receding as he waited for an answer. You will know when Master arrives. Algerta gestured toward the door as Levi stepped into the room. Commander. Emperor Mew scrambled off the bed and hurried to Levi's side. Levi raised a hand, gesturing for him to stay still. You have not fully recovered. Do not agitate yourself. Tell me what questions weigh on your mind. Commander, did I lose control? Emperor Mew asked, his voice low. That is right. You killed someone in the Golden Lion Castle, and Sir Leon pursued you until you vanished. It seems you truly recall nothing of those events. Levi spoke with a calm, steady gaze, recounting the history of the past few months. Emperor Mew let out a heavy sigh. There is indeed a problem with the golden spine bone. I sensed the danger before, but I hoped for a stroke of luck. It seems that relying on external objects is an unorthodox path. I have already removed the golden spine bone and secured it in a special container. It is best if you never touch it again. This object possesses a strange nature. I see that you are close to breaking through the shackles of the legendary realm. You need only complete the transformation of the life seed to begin your new journey as a knight. Cultivate in peace. If you lack resources, tell me. Levi noted. He had taken items from Emperor Mew, and it would be unreasonable to leave him without compensation. Thank you for saving my life, Commander. I was blinded by the golden spine bone and committed a grave error. I wonder if the Wizard Council will punish me. Emperor Mew fretted over the innocent lives he had taken. He could be ruthless, but he was no indiscriminate killer. That is acceptable. The Golden Lion Jostar family can help settle the matter. Moreover, you have killed many dark wizards. You have compensated for your mistakes. Levi replied after a moment of consideration. Thank you, Commander. Emperor Mew bowed. Continue to recuperate. Levi left the laboratory. 3 months passed. Emperor Mew's injuries healed completely, and his strength returned to its peak. On a sunny afternoon, after finishing his cultivation of the breathing technique, Emperor Mew felt as though a layer of shackles shattered within him. A surge of enlightenment rushed through his mind. Thick, golden fur sprouted wildly across his skin before receding back into his pores. The Saint Ape seed within his heart transformed, becoming a bloodline seed. He had finally broken through the bloodline shackles and stepped into a brand new realm. Levi learned of the news and immediately sought out the newly ascended Emperor Mu. "Commander, give it a try." Excitement illuminated Emperor Mu's face as he unleashed a torrent of energy from his palms. The wind howled, and the clouds shifted color. Good timing. Levi caught Emperor Mu's palm with a light touch and exerted force. Emperor Mu flew hundreds of meters through the air, crashing into the training ground wall and leaving a massive indentation. Emperor Mu sat in a daze. Confusion gripped him. "Commander, I must confirm something. Are we in the same realm now?" Emperor Mu looked as though his entire worldview had fractured as he posed the question. "No, my realm remains above yours." Levi offered a mysterious smile and turned to leave. He had visited mainly to assess the changes following the breakthrough. The life seed had transformed into the bloodline seed, and the bloodthirst ability had taken form, exactly as he expected. Emperor Mu watched Levi walk away, lost in thought. He stood up. "Why should I compete with the leader? I am a member of this team. I should compete with Dinos. I will challenge Dinos now." Emperor Mu had sorted out his priorities. He sought out Dinos, who trained diligently in the yard. When Dinos saw the high-spirited Emperor Mu, his expression shifted. "Teacher, you broke through." Emperor Mu smiled with confidence. "Come, try it for yourself." Dinos' golden mane erupted, transforming him into a majestic lion. A flurry of attacks swept toward Emperor Mu. Emperor Mu shouted, exerting his full strength, and struck out with his palm. Dinos flew away like a kite with a broken string. "Did you see that? This is the power of breaking into the legendary realm, the Bloodthirst Knight." Emperor Mu felt excitement radiating within him, though he masked it with a calm facade. In the eyes of others, breaking through to legendary seemed impossible. Now, Emperor Mu had become the second knight to achieve that milestone. Dinos refused to accept the reality and attacked Emperor Mu again. Dense shadows of fists covered the sky. After breaking through to legendary, Emperor Mu's physical fitness improved in every aspect, particularly his raw strength. He easily deflected the attacks and sent Dinos flying once more. Dinos finally understood the truth. He felt immense excitement. This meant he could also break through the legendary barrier in the future. "Of course, it is fine as long as our Twilight Knights and your father know of this. As for the others, there is no need to publicize it. We remain a startup team. Tall trees catch the wind. You understand what I mean, do you not?" Emperor Mu said. Chapter 694. Teacher, I understand, Dinos said with a smile. After showing off to Dinos, Emperor Mu returned to consolidate his realm. He had always thought he needed the golden spine bone to break through the shackles of the legendary realm. In truth, that bone restricted him. It trapped him. Now that he had broken free from the shackles and gained enlightenment, he felt refreshed. Emperor Mu laughed, the sound carefree and booming. "This is really something worth laughing about. I cannot fall behind either." Dinos returned home and immediately went into seclusion. Holy Brilliance Calendar Year 1075, Month of Germinal. The Endless Sea lacked 4 distinct seasons. However, in the human realm of the Peacock Kingdom, the month of Germinal meant grass grew and birds flew. About 50 years ago, in the year 1038 of the Holy Brilliance Calendar, a terrifying dark event struck the Emerald Kingdom. The faith of the kingdom faltered. The 7 deadly sins were born and rampaged across the world. Demons arose, and blood flowed like a river through Emerald King City. The arrogant and extravagant Emerald Kingdom died during the demon invasion. Its fortunes had run out. The Church of Holy Light took over the government. Eventually, a Grand Duke family in the south defeated its competitors and seized the capital. In the year 1040 of the Holy Brilliance Calendar, the era of the Peacock Kingdom began. The founding monarch of the Peacock Kingdom, the Great Duke of Peacock, died of a serious illness in the year 1070 of the Holy Brilliance Calendar. The eldest son, Boyka, succeeded to the throne and ruled until today. Emerald King City had long been renamed the Peacock Capital. The statue of the Emerald Dragon in the center of the capital had been replaced by a 5-color peacock, spreading its wings to soar into the sky. It was the symbol of the peacock family. The 5-color peacock. Legends claimed the 5-color peacock's body shone with a sacred 5-colored light. Wherever it passed, it illuminated everything. The Emerald Dragon, known as the multi-element green light, was not worth mentioning before the 5-color divine light. The Peacock family clearly adapted this myth to promote their orthodox position as replacements for the Jade Dragon family. Whether the tale held truth or not mattered little. The Peacock family dominated the gossip. 10 years ago, a legendary knight appeared. She might be the only legendary knight born in the past 100 years, spanning from the end of the Emerald Kingdom to the establishment of the Peacock Kingdom. Furthermore, this legendary knight was a woman, much like the goddess knight who vanished nearby. This legendary knight was Denise, sister to the Peacock King. She was the legendary Divine Light Knight. Unlike her brother, Denise had no interest in politics. From a young age, Denise traveled the 7 kingdoms with a Grand Knight Master to cultivate the path of a knight. Because of her seriousness and talent, she broke through to the legendary level, becoming the only legendary knight in the history of the Peacock family. At that moment the sun set. A faint golden afterglow washed over the city walls of the Peacock capital, dreamy and charming. On a small road in the suburbs outside Peacock City, a group of people stood to send her off. King Boyka, dressed in casual clothes, looked at his valiant sister and sighed. "If I did not lack talent as a knight, I would rather let you be the king, and I would be the legendary knight," Boyka said. "As a great man, it is a good thing to become a legendary knight. Boyka's expression was complicated, a mix of envy and unwillingness. Denise wore the mithril armor named Immovable King by Master Golden Warhammer. At her waist rested the scimitar Flying Yiksha, crafted by Master Golden Warhammer, and mixed with luminant gold. Denise patted her brother's shoulder. Brother, govern the country well. The Peacock family has never known its current glory. I believe in you. Sister, are you really going abroad? They say terrifying existences from the outer realm lurk in the sea. Danger hides everywhere. Even a Grand Knight might die if he rashly steps into those waters, Boyka asked. His position would remain more stable with a legendary knight nearby, so he hoped she would stay. But Denise showed no willingness to remain in the capital for another moment. When I traveled around the Seven Kingdoms, I heard many stories about legendary knights. The Snowflake Knight, the Flower Knight, the Golden Knight, the Lionheart Knight, the Ash Knight. These names shone like stars in the history of the 7 countries. I have followed in their footsteps since I was young. I longed to become a legendary knight. It was not until I reached this level that I realized being a legendary knight does not seem to be the end. My brother, you were born to be a king. I am different. I am just a woman. My ambition lies elsewhere. Father left the country to you. I hope you do not disappoint him and become a great king supported by his people. Denise, the Divine Light Knight, turned and rode away without hesitation. She turned her back to the king and waved. Your Majesty, please leave. Denise's teacher was a veteran knight. Once an unknown top-notch Grand Knight finished speaking, Denise spurred her horse forward, and her teacher followed close behind. King Boyka watched his sister's back as she left. He looked a little sad. Let us go. Leaving this place serves as a form of protection for my sister. He looked at the cathedral in the center of the Peacock capital, with a complicated expression. In the wilderness, Denise and the old knight passed by Flower City. After disguising herself, she went to the Shining Tavern and rested for the night. Chapter 695. It is uncomfortable to stay in the capital, Denise muttered to herself. Ever since she learned that the disappearance of those legendary knights in history might have something to do with the church, urgency gripped her after she advanced to a legendary knight. Her goal remained simple. Stay away from the church. Find a quiet place to cultivate peacefully. She wiped her precious armor and scimitar. This set of equipment, the Immovable King armor and the Flying Yiksha blade, represented the last masterpiece of the Golden Warhammer master. She spent a large amount of money to buy it at the auction. It was the masterpiece she took most pride in. Although she did not understand the meaning of Immovable King and Flying Yiksha, it did not matter. The name Golden Warhammer carried weight. According to unreliable news, Master Golden Warhammer had already passed away. 60 years ago, he was already famous in the human world. At that time, he was a master. This meant he was likely around 50 years old when he became famous. Now that time had passed, and he was more than 100 years old. Even a Grand Knight's life neared its end. In this era, famine, plague, natural disasters, and man-made disasters kept the average lifespan of mortals below 40 years. When Denise traveled around the 7 kingdoms, she contacted a legendary knight of the East Pole Empire, Hogg. The family of Knight Hogg once held the title of the famous Ash Knight of the East Pole Empire. From Knight Hogg, she learned something else that shocked her. Knight Hogg once received guidance from a peerless expert. It was precisely because of that expert's guidance that he broke through to the legendary knight realm. That expert killed the powerful primary blood clan as easily as slaughtering chickens and dogs. That expert had cultivated the path of knights to an unprecedented level. He had broken the shackles of legendary. This shocked Denise, who had just advanced to legendary, and felt quite proud of herself, and it further confirmed her guess. A legendary knight was not the peak of the path of a knight. Denise asked Knight Hogg how she could find this senior. Hogg shook his head in an unfathomable manner. Senior is elusive, he said. He never reveals his true form to the world. It is impossible to meet him. If fate is on your side, you can naturally meet him. However, if you want to find an opportunity to break through the shackles of a legendary knight, my answer is on the sea. Follow Storm City and walk forward on the sea to find the giant whale. Enter the Devil's Sea. You might gain something there. Knight Hogg's words imprinted themselves deep in Denise's heart. The answer is out at sea. In the mysterious and vast outer sea region, an unknown secret lay hidden. Legend had it that due to the convergence of the heavenly spheres, a rare event in 10,000 years, many creatures from foreign planes, such as the Blood Clan, Blue Frost, werewolves, and sea monsters, began to appear and caused disasters on the sea. In the human world where wizards were extinct, these things caused trouble for the Church of the Seven Nations. Some evil god churches also appeared one after another. On the Seven Kingdoms continent, the Church of the Moon God, the Death Society, the Werewolf Brotherhood, and others emerged. In a city near the Outer Sea region, a faction called the Holy Snake Guild had also appeared. This faction believed in a god from a different plane. The believers of this god were lizardmen and nagas. They had already infiltrated the Outer Sea region and caused panic. Denise might face risks if she went to the Outer Sea region. However, this could not stop her. I must find the place that Knight Hogg mentioned, the Dreamland of Knights. Outside the window, the moon was cold. 10 years ago, the city lord of Flower City, Baron Levi, passed his title to his son, Baron Reed, because his life neared its end. He traveled alone. Currently, Baron Reed sat in the castle, munching on a piece of bloody bread. Baron Reed was Andrew. This ensured the residents of Flower City did not grow suspicious. As the war between the dark and righteous wizards broke out, Andrew had not mailed a letter to Levi for a long time. He had accumulated a lot of breathing techniques. Although he could not mail them over, he still helped his master collect breathing techniques in various ways as usual. This had become Andrew's habit. It was hard to change. The next day, Andrew read the latest documents as normal. The sheriff rushed over. City Lord, a murder happened in the city last night. It is suspected to be caused by dark creatures. Now that the human world faced attacks from unknown monsters, everyone grew used to it, be it the Blood Clan, werewolves, undead, ghouls, or others. The church classified these horrifying creatures as dark creatures. I will go take a look. Andrew's expression turned serious. In the past few years, under his governance, Flower City remained one of the cities with the least attacks from the dark creatures in the Peacock Kingdom. Storm City was the same. However, it did not mean that there were none. Occasionally, some ignorant monsters came to Flower City to cause trouble, and they fell to Andrew. If Andrew could not win, he summoned the Blood Knight and Black Knight. The two of them had both broken through the legendary barrier, and remained top-level powerhouses hidden in the human world. There was nothing they could not solve. Chapter 696. The ceiling premise was to exclude giants like the church. In a mansion, a family of 3 lay dead, killed by the dark creatures. Their corpses were incomplete, reduced to bones stained with flesh and blood. Andrew searched for clues. Finally, he found a strand of curly black hair in a crack in the ground. Were they werewolves or ghouls? Either creature might drop fur. It could not be ruled out that humans had done this. Andrew identified the scent and left, his expression darkening. Damn it. There is a smell of urine. Who dropped this fur? Depression settled over Andrew. He quickly threw the curly hair away and went to wash his hands. He continued searching for clues. He had to find that murderer. Werewolves and ghouls were terrifying monsters, each possessing the strength of a legendary knight. Some powerful entities rivaled the primary Blood Clan in terror. A month passed. It was another quiet, peaceful night. In a dilapidated aristocratic mansion on the outskirts of Flower City, a foul smell permeated the air. On the surface, this mansion looked ordinary. Inside the basement, beyond a dark and deep tunnel, a catacomb lay hidden with ghost fire flickering. Green candles burned throughout the catacombs. Many naked men and women held an unsightly gathering here. White flesh swayed and bumped, while a pungent smell filled the air. Everyone, stop for a moment. Cease your activities. Bats flew over, gathering to form a young Blood Clan man. The men and women stopped as the Blood Clan man appeared. A haggard old man rose from a beautiful woman and donned his wizard robe. The old man smiled strangely. We can have more gatherings like this in the future, he said. I, Blackbone, like it very much. He was a wild wizard from the School of Death in the human world. Having returned from the wizard world long ago, he now lived among the dark creatures. Werewolves, ghouls, Blood Clan members, and evil witches mingled there. None of them were ordinary. The young Blood Clan was Marshall, a primary Blood Clan of the Felmacity family, and the organizer of the gathering. Their organization was called the Dark Fairy Tales Tea Party. These supernatural beings were the evil villains of fairy tales. Because of the church's suppression, we live in the darkness. Now, the dark wave has recovered further, and our era is approaching. My tea party exists to let us minorities form an unbreakable alliance. With the Demonic Feast Alliance as the core, we will gather everyone and fight against the damned church, and those meddlesome human knights and rangers. We are vilified by them as dark creatures, but no one was born to be dark. We were forced to hide like street rats in a dilapidated ancient castle, in the basement, in the dirty and smelly sewers. We were treated as villains in fairy tales by those weak mortals. We are the noble transcendent existences. We should be the masters of this world. This world was wrong. It needed to be adjusted to the right track. The lives of minorities are also lives. The evil witch of the Black Forest once wanted to be the kind Snow White, right, Snow White witch? Marshall turned his gaze to the black-robed witch in the corner. Teresa, a witch from the Frost faction, wore crystal high heels and draped her slender white legs over a male prostitute. The witch licked her red lips and smiled. Isn't that so? Teresa was the illegitimate daughter of a king of the Gaia kingdom. She had a miserable past. Later, she accidentally inherited the Frost faction and became a witch. Therefore, we need to cooperate and not fight alone. That way, we will never be able to defeat the church. Next, the Church of the Moon God will carry out a series of activities in the 7 kingdoms. Those who are willing to join us can stay here. Marshall smiled like a gentleman. Those who do not want to, leave on your own. Today's gathering will be a memory for the future. The Snow Witch, the Black Bone Wizard, the Werewolf, and the Ghoul remained. That is great. I am very happy that we can reach a collaboration. Everyone can also introduce some like-minded friends to join us and work hard for our great career. Marshall frowned just as she finished speaking. Suddenly, the door to the catacombs slammed open. A cold-looking Blood Clan appeared. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I did not expect to catch a bunch of big fish just by catching a small shrimp. Andrew threw a young werewolf on the ground. The body was a dried corpse. Where did this inferior Blood Clan come from? Marshall turned toward the dead young werewolf on the ground, then glanced at the werewolf who was gnawing at a prostitute. He was a werewolf from the Walter family, Gil, whose strength was comparable to the primary Blood Clan. This is Xiaofu. You killed Xiaofu? Gil stared at Andrew, his expression changing to one of rage. Chapter 697. He is not even fully grown. He causes trouble and eats people in my territory. If he does not die, who will? Andrew gripped his blade. He is still a child. What is wrong with eating a person? Gil bared his fangs. His 3-meter-tall werewolf form erupted from his clothes, muscle, and fur stretching the fabric to its limit. His King Kong wolf claws shimmered with cold light. Walter, do you mind if I kill this overconfident secondary blood clan? Gil turned to the vampire. Fear of accidentally killing one of Marshall's subordinates forced the question. I do not mind. You can do whatever you want. I still have something on, so I will not accompany you. Marshall felt a prickly sensation in his gut. A mere secondary blood clan dared to barge in here, and that meant he had something to rely on. Marshall burst into a swarm of bats and vanished into the shadows. Walter turned into a black afterimage. He slammed into Andrew, sending him flying. The Snow White Witch and the Blackbone Wizard continued to enjoy themselves. They used spells from time to time to spice up the night. An ignorant skeleton rose from the ground to join their threesome. Walter alone possessed enough strength to handle a secondary blood clan hothead. Andrew revealed his true blood clan form. He clashed with Walter. Red and black lights collided, and the air billowed with force. Andrew parried, retreating with every calculated strike. Suddenly, the sound of horse hooves echoed from afar. The Blood Knights must have arrived, Andrew decided. He glanced over. A handsome silver-scaled white horse approached on the snow. On the back of the horse, a female knight in light armor held a scimitar. Five-colored light flowed along the blade. In front of the female knight, a young werewolf ran wildly. Father, save me. Someone wants to kill me. The young werewolf shouted. Gil, still locked in battle with Andrew, focused on the little werewolf. The female human imite drew closer. Rage boiled in Gil. He flung Andrew away and leaped high into the air. The light from his King Kong wolf claws cut through the night sky. Die. He possessed only 7 wolf cubs. He had brought 2 out to train today, but he had not expected one to die. 7 wolves had become 6. If his wife found out, she would never let him babysit again. Flowing light slash. The female knight sent her scimitar across the sky. Illusory 5-colored wings spread from her back. 5-colored light flowed along the flying yiksha blade, turning into a brilliant stream of radiance. Boom. The shockwave from the collision swept across the room. Gil flew backward, his expression turning grave. Legendary? Other than wizards, only legendary knights could withstand his attack. Human, do not force me. Gil spoke coldly as a black aura wrapped around his werewolf form. The female knight opposite him ignored the threat. She rushed forward on her war horse. The 5-colored saber beam collided with the King Kong wolf claws. Sparks showered the floor. Roar. The wolf fur on Gil's body turned into steel needles that scattered in all directions. Ping. Andrew watched the exchange. The Blood Knights had not arrived. Instead, a legendary imite stood in the room, a stranger to him. Werewolf Gil became more courageous as the battle progressed. The little werewolf hid at the side, bits of human flesh clinging to the corner of his mouth, as he offered a cruel smile. Father, do not beat her to death. I want to enjoy her beautiful body first before I eat her. On the other side, 3 figures walked out, seemingly surprised that the battle outside still raged. The Blackbone Wizard, the Snow White Witch, and a pale male noble emerged. These 3 possessed the greatest strength in this group, aside from Gil. The pale male aristocrat was a ghoul, and this mansion served as his lair. Ghouls were dark creatures from other dimensions. Now that the dark wave had revived, they were gradually waking up. Gil, do you need our help? The ghoul noble sneered. Get lost. Gil roared. Suppression by a legendary knight was a great humiliation. The ghoul shrugged, content to watch the show. The Blackbone Wizard hugged the Snow White Witch. That was a wonderful feeling. Yeah, it is just too short. Do you mean the duration, or my length? Both. Ahem. Let me capture this secondary blood clan. It is not bad to make him my wizard slave. The Blackbone Wizard stopped looking for trouble and chuckled. He chanted a death sect spell to summon skeletons. The black door opened, and skeleton warriors in strange clothes crawled out, emitting a sinister cold aura. Go, take him down. The Blackbone Wizard gestured casually. Andrew retreated, his expression tightening. Human knight over there, retreat first. Andrew shouted. The knight Denise looked at Andrew. She had not expected a blood clan to care for her safety. That blood clan apparently belonged to the human camp. This was strange. However, she knew that continuing the fight would turn the odds against her. She had not expected that chasing a werewolf would lead her straight into the monster's nest. She shouted, and her 5-colored wings emitted bursts of divine light, forcing Werewolf Gil back. The strange horse under her retreated quickly. Her teacher in the distance rode forward to receive her. Denise, do not find trouble like this next time. You cannot kill all the dark creatures. Your life is more important. The teacher advised. I know, teacher, but I saw a little girl being grabbed and eaten by an ugly werewolf. If I do not do anything, my conscience will not be clear. Denise sighed, her tone heavy with helplessness. Chapter 698. Her strength was still too weak. Not enough, not enough. She wanted to be stronger. Interesting. Is this a place where you can come and go as you please? I will let you know what a wizard is. The Snow White Witch chanted these words, her red lips moving slightly. She waved an ice-blue magic wand. In the blink of an eye, ice cones formed and attacked Denise. Although my strength is limited in the human world, a mere legendary knight dares to be so presumptuous. She is simply courting death. From the perspective of most wizards, knights were born to be servants or laborers for wizards. The icicle pierced through the 5-colored light. Denise flinched as the sharp cold bit at her. The immovable king armor blocked the further attack of the icicles, but the tremendous force almost knocked Denise off her horse. At the command of the Blackbone Wizard, another terrifying ghost servant appeared. It was a first-ring spell, the summoning of ghosts. The ghost moved with blistering speed. A sharp howl attacked the mind, a simple method to deal with knights. Soon, the ghost loomed behind Denise, ready to strike. A black figure descended from the sky and landed on the ground with a heavy thud. The black ox-head phantom stepped on the ghost with its hooves. The ox-head spat out a mouthful of black gas and sucked the ghost away. Delicious. A knight wearing pitch-black armor and a minotaur mask smiled beneath his visor. Black Knight. Andrew ran over to the Black Knight's side. Andrew, I am sorry I am late. The Black Knight kept his movements slow and deliberate. I did not expect there to be such an evil lair in the suburbs of Flower City. A blood-colored light descended from the sky and stood beside the Black Knight. It was the Blood Knight. 2 dark wizards and 1 ghoul. The Blood Knight clenched his fists and placed a gauntlet hand on the blood-red sword. Denise halted her horse, stunned by the display. Denise, come on. The teacher gestured urgently toward the road. Teacher, this is a legendary knight. A legendary knight like me. No, I feel that they are stronger than me. Denise spoke in disbelief. The teacher's expression tightened. He looked over the approaching pair. 2 knights, 1 black and 1 red. The black and red auras around them soared into the sky, as if they were burning with black and red flames. Which powerhouse is this? Her teacher possessed vast knowledge and had traveled the world, but he had never seen such an extraordinary person. I am not sure. I suspect this is the group of people that Nighthawk mentioned. Denise muttered the words to herself. Humans always like to poke their noses into other people's business. The ghoul nobleman's clothes suddenly tore apart. In the blink of an eye, he transformed into a pile of rotten meat monsters that resembled a small mountain. He stood as the strongest existence among them, possessing strength approaching that of a second circle wizard. Wizards, let us do it. These 2 people are something. A buzzing sound erupted from the rotten meat. I do not need you to tell me. The Black Bone Wizard and the Snow White Witch both chanted spells. More skeletons appeared. Ghosts lingered in the sky, and the aura of ice filled the air. I will deal with these 2 wizards. You deal with the ghoul. The Black Knight spoke calmly. He suddenly rushed forward, and a minotaur phantom waved its chain hammer. The earth trembled beneath his charge. Boom. Skeletons flew across the grass, and ghosts were crushed by the weight of the minotaur phantom. An ice arrow whistled through the air, only to be swatted away by the chain hammer. The 2 wild wizards realized their predicament. What is going on? Is a knight that strong? If you ask me, who should I ask? Retreat. The 2 wizards triggered their escape lights and prepared to flee. The minotaur's chain hammer shifted into a massive greatsword. Terrifying black flames wrapped around the steel and transformed into a black sword light spanning nearly 40 meters. The defensive spells around the 2 wild wizards shattered instantly. Under the sword light that split the sky and earth, they reduced to ashes. In front of the Blood Knight, the pile of rotten flesh burned away under the intensity of blood flames. The Black Knight and the Blood Knight rushed into the ground of the mansion, accompanied by the sounds of wailing. Not long after, silence returned to the world. Well, Denise's teacher stood shocked, speechless. As a legendary knight, Denise fared no better. Is this a knight? Is it really not some kind of wizard? Denise's teacher asked in confusion. Another nest has been destroyed. Recently, the activity of evil beings has become more and more frequent. After easily killing a group of monsters, the Blood Knight showed no signs of excitement. That is right. We cannot contact the leader either. We do not know how the wizard world is doing. The war between the dark and righteous wizards is very cruel, the Black Knight said with a worried tone. With our leader's strength and personality, it should not be a problem for him to survive. The Blood Knight replied. They walked to Andrew's side and glanced at Denise. Divine Light Knight Denise. The Blood Knight asked for confirmation. Yes, Senior, are you a Blood Knight? I was, but I am Anderson now. That is the Black Knight. The Minotaur behind the Black Knight disappeared as the warrior spoke softly. I am your admirer, Denise. Denise smiled excitedly. We cannot stay here for long. Let us go and talk somewhere else. The Blood Knight suggested. After cleaning up the battlefield, they brought Denise and her disciple to a stronghold in Storm City. I did not realize the 2 of you are still alive, Denise said. We are just old farts. The Blood Knight mocked himself. Chapter 699. In truth, they originally wanted to visit the Divine Light Knight, when they had the time. If there was nothing wrong with her character, they would invite her into the Dusk Holy Temple. However, they had been busy cultivating. In addition, the Divine Light Knight traveled everywhere, making her difficult to find. Unexpectedly, they met the woman here. Do the 2 of you live in the Outer Sea region? Denise asked. The Blood Knight nodded, a slow smile forming beneath his visor. How do you know? When I was in the East Pole Empire, a legendary knight told me that there were knights who were even stronger than legends in seclusion in the Outer Sea region. It is Nighthawk, right? Yes, how did you know? Because he is also a member of our organization. Senior, I also want to join your organization. Do you have any requirements? Denise asked, her voice blunt and direct. There will be a period of assessment, but judging from your temperament and character, there should not be any problems with the assessment, the Blood Knight said. In the blink of an eye, half a year passed. When Denise finally passed the assessment and rode the giant whale to the rarely seen Devil's Sea, a hidden island emerged from the fog. On the island, a holy temple stood majestically among the mountains. The clouds parted, water flowed through the high mountains and valleys, and birds circled overhead. Young knights in plain clothes sparred on the mountain training grounds. Divine Light Knight, welcome to the Dusk Holy Temple. From now on, you are a member of the Twilight Knights, the Blood Knight said. Denise glanced around the training yard. The knights naturally have a commander. Who is the commander of our knights? Is he in the Dusk Holy Temple? She suspected this leader was the elusive, peerless expert that Hogg had mentioned. The commander is no longer in the human world. He has long stepped into a supreme realm that we cannot imagine, opening up a wider path for us knights. The Blood Knight gestured toward the horizon. If you are fated to meet him in the future, you may call him a Supreme Knight. A Supreme Knight. Denise whispered the title. Holy Brilliance Calendar Year 1076, Month of Flowers. The 40th year of the Great Expedition. Flames of war raged on the endless sea. Yellow Earth continent. In Lion King City, Levi woke from his meditation. He held the Klein crystal ball. Spiritual force, 105. Spell power, 4200. It gets slower and slower. I must prepare the ingredients for the third circle meditation supplementary potion, Levi muttered to himself. He possessed a potion formula that belonged to Rex. However, there were no meditation supplementary potion ingredients in Rex's legacy. Rex had consumed the final few ingredients. 86 years old. I rushed down the path toward my 100th year. The end of my first century approaches. Levi stood up. During his time in Lion King City, he had mastered the mixed venom true form that Clay cultivated. Levi checked his status. Mixed venom true form, level 4, 1 out of 20,000. Special effect, mixed venom, level 4. According to Clay's notes, the level 4 mixed venom true form body tempering technique was already comparable to a first circle body refining wizard, which equaled a legendary knight. Why does this body tempering technique feel so simple? Levi wondered. This was Clay's proudest technique. Clay had used nearly 100 years to cultivate it to level 6. Levi, on the other hand, had reached level 4 in less than 2 years. The only explanation is that my night realm is too high. It is not difficult for me to cultivate such a similar body tempering technique. Levi willed it, and black venom emerged from his skin, enveloping him. The asphalt-shaped toxic swarm had been completely tamed by Levi, becoming a part of his strength without any discomfort. Is this symbiotic? Levi murmured. The venomous microorganisms on his fingertip condensed into a sharp black blade. He checked the special effect on the proficiency panel. Mixed venom, level 4. Your body has a special mixed toxin. The effect of this toxin will increase as you absorb more types of poison. It is similar to my scarlet poison body. I wonder if this can fuse with my scarlet dragon breathing technique. Levi looked at the scarlet dragon breathing technique. So far, there was no reaction. They are all body tempering techniques. If I cannot fuse them now, I should be able to in the future. In any case, it was not difficult to learn this mixed venom true form. He planned to practice it in the future. Moreover, even if it could not be fused, cultivating the mixed venom true form to Clay's realm would make him very powerful. Coupled with the cultivation of a third circle senior wizard, he could be considered a top-notch expert below the fourth circle. It is time to leave. It is already difficult to improve in the Outer Sea region, Levi sighed. He had become a top-notch combatant in the Outer Sea region. Putting aside those fourth circle wizards, he was powerful enough to be a king. Unfortunately, this was far from enough. Even a primordial soul wizard will die. What right do I have to be complacent? Levi remembered the high-level wizard who had escaped with only his primordial soul. Right now, my path as a knight is still missing the most critical 4-in-1 strength dimension. The difficulty of the 4-in-1 is the dragon demon breathing technique. Chapter 700. The dragon demon breathing technique required transcendent creatures with the blood of the musk bull and the ostrich mountain bird. These creatures did not exist in the outer circle area. He needed to travel to the inner sea region to find them. He also required a transcendent creature with the undying bird bloodline. The black flame demonic bird barely qualified as a first circle creature, and it could no longer support the cultivation of his death ember breathing technique. Regarding the other techniques, the sky dragon had the third circle wind thunder winged dragon, the scarlet dragon had the level 2 blood clan skin, and the golden snake had Gustav, and the three-horned dragon king. These sources provided enough for his current cultivation. The outer sea region remained too barren. Levi reached his limit while attempting to collect these resources. He had to leave the outer sea region for another reason, his spells. Although Levi reached the third circle, his spells remained at the second circle. Only the Glacial Sword Finger reached the third circle. He obtained 3 third circle spells from Clay, but he ignored them all, except for the water screen prison. Learning new spells wasted his mental energy. Third circle spell constitutions were massive and complicated, far beyond the scope of low-level spells. Even if Levi utilized low-level spell synthesis, he required a massive database of low-level spells to succeed. He could not cook without rice. As for his original spells, they demanded significant time, and time was the one resource Levi lacked. He required sufficient strength before he could safely experiment with creating his own spells. Levi lacked an innate spell and a third circle defensive field. He also had to travel to the inner sea region to find the medicinal materials to purify the golden aberration insect. It is time to leave. He told the fur clansmen to pack their belongings and prepare to move. Golden Lion Castle. Sir Levi, I do not know when we will meet again. I fear we will not be able to repay your kindness to the Golden Lion family in this lifetime. Leon wept as he looked at the man he idolized. With such a powerful protector, how could he not cry when he realized Levi would leave Lion King City? Levi turned to Leon. Sir Leon, you do not have to take it to heart. I have been indebted to your family for a long time. I believe in treating others sincerely. Friends exist everywhere in the world. How can the family left behind by the Lionheart Knight be ordinary? I wish the Golden Lion Jostar family a prosperous future. Dino stepped forward, his expression solemn. Senior, I will not trouble you further. I will work hard to cultivate. If you require me in the inner sea, Dino's Jostar will return to your side. No problem. I hope you can grow up as soon as possible. I will see you in the inner sea region in the future, Levi replied. He then left the Golden Lion Jostar family. Commander, try my newly comprehended body technique. Emperor Mew called out. He descended from the sky, hands gathering energy as a terrifying golden fluctuation brewed. Levi smiled and raised a hand. Emperor Mew flew backward and crashed into the sea before them. The warrior emerged from the water. Although that failed, I still have to say the name of this move. What name? Levi asked. 8 King Airwave Palm. Isn't that just vibrating the bloodline power between your palms at high speed and forming an air cannon? Levi chuckled. Yes, as expected of the regiment commander. Sigh. Emperor Mew hung his head. Why do we not change it to a nicer name? Levi smiled playfully. What name? Leader, tell me. I will name someone useless, but it still depends on you. You are a cultured person, Emperor Mew asked expectantly. Turtle sect energy art. Levi waved his wizard robe, and the griffin descended. He sat on the creature and took to the sky. I hope that the next time we meet, you can reach my current realm. I have a feeling that the era of the Twilight Knights has begun. Emperor Mew watched his commander disappear into the distance. Turtle faction Kagong. No, turtle does not sound good. I am a Saint Ape. From now on, I will call it Saint Ape Kagong. Holy Brilliance calendar year 1076. Month of flowing fire. Riptide City. Nearly 20 years had passed since the shift in power in Riptide City. In the human world, 20 years could result in a change of dynasty. In the wizard world, it remained a short span. The Blue Dragon Lady reported Sorit's seizure of power to the Wizard Tribunal. After a long trial and many obstacles, the judgment arrived. It was ruled a misunderstanding. It was understandable that he made a move, because he thought the Blue Dragon Lady hid a demon. Of course, Sorit's actions violated the rules regardless of his reasoning. The tribunal ordered Sorit to pay a huge fine, and deprived him of his political rights for 100 years. They suspended him for 10 years in the end. The Blue Dragon Lady felt helpless. A mere 5th Circle Thunder Dragon family possessed such extraordinary means in the Inner Sea region. It was enough to make the Wizard Tribunal disregard the law. The power behind the Thunder Dragon family must have protected him. Even though she felt indignant, the Blue Dragon Lady could do nothing. The Dragon Descendant Priory could not interfere with the internal affairs of the Endless Sea. Besides, although the Dragon School of Thought consisted of elites, they remained a niche faction. Compared to the Ocean School of Thought, they were nothing. Fortunately, the Wizard Tribunal deprived Sorit of his political rights for 100 years. This meant Sorit lacked the qualifications to run for the Star Tower or any official organization in the Wizard Council for the next century. He returned to the Thunder Dragon family and focused on the family. Now that he was the clan leader of the Thunder Dragon family, his status remained high. To be continued. Hope you liked today's video. Join the community by subscribing and dropping a like. I'll be back with another update as soon as possible. See you then.